This guy loved a game, so much that he played it 1,000 times, training 1,000 S-rank heroes. He thought he was about to run out of things to play when suddenly the publisher sent him an email. The content inside was, "Congratulations on being the first person to train 1,000 heroes. You've specially unlocked a special quest. Prevent the world's destruction S-rank difficulty." The guy got excited to have something to do an S-rank quest, no less. I thought S-rank was the highest in this game. His blood was pumping. He immediately moved the mouse to accept, forgetting to notice the bright red note below. Warning, this is a transmigration type quest. And then the inevitable happened. The guy got thrown right into a forest. But with the mindset of a master who had once trained 1,000 heroes, he wasn't too worried and started his usual routine. First observe the surroundings, check for any danger, and then check his own stats. Through the system. What the hell? All his stats were 0. All he got was a copy skill like some slime and a trash tier enhancement skill. For a quest this difficult, the guy had to grit his teeth and accept it. He continued to scroll through his required quest list. First, he needed to survive for 10 minutes to receive basic equipment. He looked around and declared, "Easy. There can't be any strong monsters here." No sooner had he said it, the wind blew, the grass rustled, and from above, 2 Dragon Kings were battling all the way over here. 2 S-rank bosses in the tutorial area? Is this because it's an S-rank quest? I'd better get out of here first. The crimson magic circles in the sky spooked him. If I get hit by that, I'm dead for sure. Wait a minute. Isn't this the perfect chance to use copy? To copy, I have to witness the moment the skill or trait is activated, as well as identify the target's name and rank. That's too easy for me. An entire forest was set ablaze. The silhouette of the dragon appeared in his eyes. The system immediately popped up. Target trait S-rank elemental resistance has been saved. Kim Ho looked at the dragon feeling pretty happy. Awesome, I'm done. I can't believe I got an S-rank trait this early. I'm so lucky. And the system gave another notification. S-rank elemental resistance drastically reduces all elemental damage. He touched the air with a smile on his face. Although I wanted a skill too. I can't use it without a mana core. Oh well, I'll have to be satisfied with an S-rank trait for now, huh? The wind is blowing the other way. The fire dragon took a deep breath. Even its opponent was stunned. Kim Ho sensed danger and ran as fast as he could. Dragon's Roar, that's the strongest dragon skill. Even with elemental resistance, the fire dragon quickly unleashed its ultimate move. But if I get hit by that move at this distance, I'll die. Then the system appeared with a new notification. Tutorial Mission 1 complete rewards. Dragon Slayer Academy Uniform Student ID Card Train Ticket. Tutorial Mission 2. Board the train to Dragon Slayer Academy. There were many people standing at the station. The train to Dragon Slayer Academy. Hyunwoo appeared very polite, asking for permission. "Excuse me, miss. Sorry to bother you, but there are no other seats. May I sit with you?" But his words were met only by the girl's silence. Hyunwoo was quite flustered by this. "Are you asleep? Sorry for bothering you. I'll be on my way." Kim Ho walked in looking tired. "Is this seat taken?" He pointed to the girl next to him with an apologetic look. "Ah, well it is, but she's not responding." Just then Solyeon woke up and lifted her head. Kim Ho pointed to the empty seat beside her. "May I sit here?" Solyeon seemed a bit dazed. "Oh, sure." He acted very friendly. "Thanks, I'm Kim Ho." She only introduced her name briefly. "Solyeon." Only then did he turn to the other boy. "You should sit too, it's okay." The boy replied politely. "Thanks, I'm Go Hyunwoo. Really thank you both. If you two had refused, I would have had to stand for a whole hour. I'll definitely repay this favor." Kim Ho looked at his actions and thought to himself, this guy looks just like the protagonist of a martial arts novel. His demeanor and way of speaking are just the same. He asked the person across from him, "So why were you late?" Hyunwoo recounted with a very excited expression. "I saw 2 dragons on the way and got too caught up watching them. By the time I noticed it was already late." He also laughed in a very embarrassed way. "Me too, I almost died." The wheels started to turn. The train is moving. Inside Kim Ho's mind, thoughts were racing. Dragon Slayer Academy? The place I always return to, whenever I'm raising a new hero. I know this place like the back of my hand, so much so that it's become boring. But this time something's different. Go Hyunwoo Solyeon. The other students and even the train staff. They are all unfamiliar faces. This world has the same setting as Dragon Slayer Academy, but the cast of characters has completely changed. Which means the upcoming events and quests might also be different. I need to keep an eye out for any new differences. Kim Ho broke out in a sweat as Solyeon looked at him. But why has she been staring at me this whole time? Solyeon has a pair of special eyes. Eyes that help her analyze everything. For example, the friend sitting in front of her. His status window is very normal. Completely normal. Hyunwoo was still smiling brightly. Status window. Skill Heavenly Windsword Style D. Trait Swordsmanship C Heart Meridian E. Then she slowly analyzed Kim Ho. But Kim Ho was a little unusual. Status window. Trait Monarch's copy. He's pretty special. The number of times she'd seen a status window like that could be counted on one hand. Kim Ho couldn't hide his curiosity and turned to her. Why do you keep looking at me? Seolyan remembered the advice she got before she left. If you see someone interesting, try being nice to them. She decided to pull up her suitcase. There was a bag of cookies inside. Seolyan offered a cookie to Kim Ho with a deadpan face. Want one? He was also taken aback by this situation. Oh, thanks. Did you make these yourself? She answered bluntly. Yeah, they're pretty good. While eating the cookie, Kim Ho asked his new friend, You said your name is Go Hyun-woo. Right, I've been wondering, is that thing next to you a longsword? Hyun-woo couldn't help but compliment him. You've got a sharp eye. This is a sacred relic of my school. Unfortunately, I don't meet the conditions to unseal it yet, so I still have to keep it wrapped up like this. Until then, this wooden sword is my companion. But don't worry, I haven't backed down from anyone yet. Kim Ho laughed at his words. Is that so? But wouldn't it be better to use a more durable weapon? Just then, Byung-chun stood leaning against the door, laughing loudly. Whoa, everyone! Sorry to interrupt. Mind if I sit here for a bit? Hyun-woo wasn't bothered at all. Go right ahead. Shin Byung-chun was still grinning from ear to ear. Thanks for the warm welcome. I'll only be a minute. Kim Ho quietly observed the newcomer. So noisy, but I didn't hear his footsteps at all. Looks like I know who this is, he asked him directly. You don't look like you want to sit down. If you want something, just say it. The guy just scratched his head and laughed awkwardly. Busted. Actually, no matter where you are, just give Shin Byung-chun a call. We are the Academy's delivery service. Dragon Slayers, we can find anything, as long as you pay a reasonable price. Anything? Exactly. Kim Ho's eyes widened as he looked at the paper. Even if it means breaking the Academy's rules. Byung-chun, in a fit of excitement, replied quickly. That's right, you name it, we get it. Kim Ho's expression didn't change as he continued, so that means you're currently being chased for one of those jobs? Right. The guy who was so excited suddenly froze. Of course, huh? What was I that obvious? Kim Ho analyzed based on what he saw. You look tense. Plus you keep glancing out the window, and a foot appeared outside the door. I'll explain the details later. Byung-chun's eyes widened in terror. Chun-hee, followed by a few friends, had a tense look on her face. Come on out, we know you're in there. He scratched his head and forced a laugh. The disciplinary committee showed up fast. The Student Disciplinary Committee, a student-run organization responsible for maintaining order in and around the academy. First-year members of the disciplinary committee are granted early admission, guided through procedures, and immediately deployed. Just like this. She seemed to have run out of patience and shouted, Hand it over! You're not allowed to keep it. Byung-chun was zapped by a few bolts from Chun-hee. Why are you chasing me like a debt collector? Lightning-type magic, that's rare. Kim Ho looked at the cookie and thought to himself, Lucky me, my copy skill still has an open slot. Maybe I should pick up a useful skill while I'm at it. Cookie, sorry about this. But Byung-chun was also very stubborn. He retorted, This is bad. I'm terrible at direct confrontations. Chun-hee put on her gloves, ready for action. Looks like you're not going to hand it over willingly, huh? Then I'll have to suppress you. She just snapped her fingers and lightning appeared. A bird flew straight towards him. Thunderbird. Byung-chun just closed his eyes, waiting for death. Just then a hand reached out. That hand caught the bird. The lightning bolts didn't harm the person at all. Chun-hee was very annoyed by this. You have an accomplice. Kim Ho quickly stepped forward. You're wrong, that was my cookie. And you people made me drop it. Hearing him say that, she froze. A cookie. At that moment, the system also announced, Acquired lightning-type magic skill Thunderbird. Kim Ho pretended to blame them. And you people made me drop it. I was enjoying my cookie. You've really ticked me off. Johan angrily charged forward, wanting to punch his opponent. How dare you make baseless accusations? While we're still being civil, you'd better back off. Hyun-woo was not to be outdone, ready to fight back. I think you should be more careful with your actions. If you're going to draw your sword, then I'm not just going to stand by and watch. The tension between the two groups was palpable, making Byung-chun nervous. This is bad. Chun-hee raised her hand to stop her friend. Hold on. We'll send you a discount coupon for dessert at the student cafeteria. Is that okay? Kim Ho immediately looked satisfied. Yeah, that's fine. Byung-chun saw she was about to attack and his whole body trembled. What about me? He acted rather indifferent. That's not my problem. Because now Kim Ho had gotten what he wanted. Thanks for the skill. I'll make good use of it. Chun-hee had retrieved the item she wanted. He stole a wig from the station employee. That kind of joke is going too far. Yeah, he really deserves a beating for that. Hey, let me give you some sincere advice. It's best if you don't get involved with Shin Byung-chun. Kim Ho waved goodbye very politely. I'll decide that for myself. See ya. Johan was still very annoyed with him. I'll remember your face. Hyun-woo looked at Byung-chun with a sympathetic gaze. Are they members of the Student Disciplinary Committee? He was happy that everything had been resolved. That's right. Only the best of the best get selected. For that. The one who just used Thunderbird was Song Chun-hee. Hyunwoo was amazed when he heard that information. Wait a minute. You mean from the Song family of the Jade Magic Tower? The royal family, Byung-chun affirmed very strongly. That's the one. She's the granddaughter of the Lightning King Song Ki-eun. The other three are no slouches either. Dubaek is the disciple of the Fist King. Han Seokmi is trained by the Sword Queen. And Jin Yohan is the sole heir of the Golden Lotus Pavilion. Although he's not as strong as the other three, he can't be underestimated. After saying that, he also left, not forgetting to say goodbye. Anyway, it was nice meeting you guys. Next time we meet, be sure to say hi. See ya. See you later. Hyunwoo was quite impressed by this guy. He's really enthusiastic, isn't he? But hey, Kim-ho, did you really step in just for a cookie? Kim-ho replied nonchalantly. Honestly, I just wanted to see what rare lightning-type magic was like. His head was full of question marks. But didn't you block her move? He quickly asked about the situation. So, Hyunwoo, do you know anything about that Thunderbird skill? Hyunwoo replied with a thoughtful expression. That was my first time seeing it too. It was so fast my eyes couldn't keep up. But it seems like instead of dealing damage, it's more for paralysis, or locking down the opponent's movement. The two continued with this topic. You're half right. Then what's the other half? Kim-ho excitedly demonstrated the Thunderbird skill. The skill's name is Thunderbird, because it mimics the flight pattern of a bird, specifically a hummingbird. Its effectiveness changes, depending on the user's proficiency. The Thunderbird was soaring through the air, so you can tell their skill level by the way the move travels. He recalled the situation and continued to explain. If Song Chun-hee was really experienced, then when I intervened, the Thunderbird's flight path should have changed, but it flew straight into my hand. Right, it means she still lacks control, or combat experience. Hyunwoo was visibly excited. Just one move revealed so much information. Is that so? He just looked at his hand and smirked. That's not all. She used an E-rank skill, but its power was on par with a D rank. It could be because she has a strong trait or a large, innate mana pool. Either way, the granddaughter of the Lightning King certainly doesn't disappoint. I need to find a way to get closer to her. He immediately put on a thoughtful look. We've only just met, but I've already learned so much. Maybe this is fate. That attitude made him laugh. Fate is a bit of an exaggeration. I'd share this stuff anyway. Hyunwoo clasped his hands in a respectful manner. You're very generous? If you need any help in the future, just let me know. I'll do my best. Kim-ho quickly had a favor to ask. Really? In that case, could you follow me for a bit? Oh, and can I borrow 1 silver coin? He was quite bewildered by the request. What for? Kim-ho decisively pulled off the cover cloth. Inside was an arcade machine, with the words out of order displayed. Kim-ho sat down on a wooden crate opposite the game machine. This ship was originally used for tourism, and this area used to be a casino. As you can see, it's a bit dusty now. Hyunwoo still didn't understand what he wanted. But isn't that machine broken? Kim-ho inserted the coin into the machine. Maybe. It looks that way, but you never know. Immediately after the game machine started working normally, hidden event the seemingly broken prize pusher machine. He started pulling the lever on the machine. Definitely can't pass this up. A bottle of water rolled down into the tray below. Out of 2,000 water bottles and still nothing. Oh well, I wasn't expecting much anyway. Hyunwoo couldn't hide his curiosity and spoke up. Hey, why did you need me to come with you? Kim-ho explained the reason clearly. Actually, this is also against school rules. The problem isn't the machine, but the items that drop from it. He quickly understood Kim-ho's intention. So I just need to stand guard for you, right? He looked at the tray, feeling disappointed. Nothing again. Oh well, it should be fine. The people from the disciplinary committee rarely come here. They're probably heading in a different direction now, so don't worry. A first-year member of the disciplinary committee, Han Seokmi suddenly spoke up. Hey, what are you two doing here? Her appearance made him break out in a sweat. Now I'm scared. Speak of the devil, Seokmi gently reminded them. Students aren't allowed to use that machine. Breaking the rules will get you demerits. Kim-ho whispered to a worried Hyunwoo. Can you stall her for a bit for me? He whispered back. I'll try. I'll check something while I'm at it. Seokmi noticed something. She advised, helping someone else break the rules is also a violation. Didn't you know? But Hyunwoo replied calmly, I'll take responsibility. This is my choice. Hearing that, Seokmi puffed up her cheeks in anger. He had already drawn his sword. I heard that Lady Han here was trained by the Sword Queen. Is that right? Could you give me the opportunity to witness your swordsmanship? Seokmi also held her sword ready. What's your name? He replied very politely, I am Go Hyunwoo. I look forward to your guidance. Seokmi quickly rushed in front of her opponent. All right then. Hyunwoo struggled to block with his sword. Immediately after he slashed downwards, Seokmi seemed quite surprised by that strength. right after she dashed away very quickly. This time he still managed to block the sword strike. In terms of internal energy, he doesn't stand a chance. His heart meridian is just average, but it's not entirely hopeless. There's still something I want to see. Just hold on for one more minute. As expected, Hyunwoo had become much quicker. Kim Ho returned to the game machine to continue his work. The prize pusher is one of the most iconic games in a casino. Most players wouldn't want to waste money on this kind of game of chance, but they don't know that. This machine has a guaranteed prize mechanism, a hidden pity system. At the start, a player can only insert 5 silver coins. And now is the 5th pull. The last time? He looked at the coin in his hand with great confidence. If I put in the borrowed silver coin, then on the 6th pull, I'm guaranteed to hit the jackpot. 100% chance to receive the highest tier reward. An item fell into the tray below. Seokmi was holding her sword, charging straight towards Kim Ho. All right, Hyunwoo. Even though his sword had broken, he still tried to defend him. It's not over yet. Effect F for freezing. I've seen enough. Both of them were shocked to see Kim Ho pour the entire contents of the vial into his mouth. Huh. Hey, if you eat that, freezing effect has been applied. Seeing him looking like he'd been poisoned, they were terrified. Kim Ho, a freezing effect has been applied. Suddenly, he stood up full of joy. It's okay, I'm fine. Both were surprised again. Huh. Then what was in that vial? Kim Ho replied completely normal. Simply put, it's like a type of elixir that helps recover mana extremely quickly. One of the guaranteed rewards from the 6th pull, black ice crystal. For a beginner, it's like a potent poison. Just a small piece is enough to freeze the entire body. But it's different for me. It's all thanks to my S-rank elemental resistance trait. The system continuously sent notifications. Freezing effect has been applied. Kim Ho was telling himself, even though the cold is gone, the ice energy is still left inside me. Hyunwoo still felt uncertain. So will Lady Han believe that explanation? No way. If she really believes that she's an idiot, beyond saving, Kim Ho tried to convince her. You must have seen it wrong. However, Seokmi was very certain of her belief. No, I'm sure I saw it. He had regained his happy demeanor. I'm glad I could help you. Thanks to you, I had the chance to fight Lady Han. And I even learned some valuable things. Seeing him like that, Kim Ho was also very happy. You helped me a lot too. And I still owe you a silver coin? Hyunwoo took this opportunity to ask for a little more. If you don't mind. Could I see that skill again? He politely declined. Next time. I can't use it frequently yet. Kim Ho also had his own calculations in mind. Besides, that skill still has a 1-hour cooldown. I can't show all my cards right now. Although he was disappointed, he still acted understandingly. I guess I have to. After all, a skill that powerful must have its limitations. As he answered him, Seolyeon had woken up. Today won't be the last time. We'll definitely need it again. The ship was sailing on the deep blue water. We're almost there. Dungeon Island, the final stop of the journey. True to its name, this place has many dungeons. In the past, this was a lawless region filled with criminals. Until one day, a hero, the first dragon slayer, set foot on the island. He wiped out the criminals, conquered all the dungeons, built a city and established the academy. And thus Dragon Slayer Academy was born. Calls to each other echoed throughout the school grounds. Hey, first years over here, don't go that way. Don't follow the upperclassmen. Hyunwoo couldn't help but grin. It's so lively. A girl yelled at her friend when she saw a tiger cub pouncing forward. Hey, hold him back. Seeing that scene, Kim Ho agreed with his friend. It really is crowded. While they were still looking around, there was a call. Hey! Chun-hee looked at him with a sharp gaze. Please come with me for a moment. The two of them arrived at the Student Disciplinary Committee office. Please have a seat. This was a room that no one ever left the same way they entered, the room of truth. Si-han began to question Kim Ho. I heard you ate something that came out of the prize pusher machine, is that correct? But you don't seem to have any problems. Even the scanner didn't detect anything. He didn't answer. The man just thought to himself. Of course, the freezing effect has already been removed. That person gradually dropped his suspicions of Kim Ho. It seems it really wasn't a prohibited item. But Mr. Kim Ho, allow me to make one thing clear. Whether you were told or not, failing to comply with the requests of the Student Disciplinary Committee can also be grounds for punishment. Since no one was hurt and this is your first time, I will let you go without any demerits. But I hope this is the last time I see you here. All right, have a good semester. Kim Ho bowed to him before leaving. Yes, senior, yes. Se-han took a sip of water. He said to the girl who was observing the situation, it seems Chun-hee doesn't like this decision very much. He couldn't help but suspect him. No matter how you look at it, he's very suspicious. If the prize wasn't a prohibited item, then there's no reason for him to use that machine. And there's no reason for him to swallow the item on the spot like that, Chun-hee said with a very stern expression. Actually, I think so too. He might have gotten his hands on some forbidden skill. If we use the analysis glasses to check his current skills, we might find something. Sahan seemed to be questioning Chun-Hee back. Could be, but what if we don't find anything? If we use the analysis glasses and still come up empty-handed, what's our move then? The question flustered her, making her bow her head in apology. About that, and I'm sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Sahan slowly stood up and offered some advice. Chun-Hee, I get that you're passionate, but with things like this, we have to be patient and see the whole picture. Now you better get a move on, or you'll be late for the entrance ceremony. Just then, Kim Ho reached his two friends. Thanks for saving me a spot. At that moment, the system displayed a notification. Beginner Quest 3 complete. You have arrived at the entrance ceremony on time. Reward E-rank weapon selection ticket 5 silver coins. Kim Ho was pretty pleased with the reward. It might just be an E-rank weapon, but hey, it's better than nothing. Plus I made back the money I blew on the gacha machine. The entire hall immediately started buzzing. They're here. Is that the principal? Why doesn't he look all that special? Word is he used to lead a dragon hunting squad. According to the tradition of the Dragon Slayer Academy, the principal is always a hero, who has retired from the front lines, and the title of hero is only given to one person, among countless other S-ranks. Even though he looks ordinary on the outside, he wields an immense amount of power. The students kept chattering about the principal. But didn't the Saintess turn him down like 4 times? Nah, I heard it's 5 now. He just got shot down again. Hearing this, Kim Ho was laughing so hard he was crying. For real. The principal cleared his throat and said wearily, Ahem. Welcome, new students. Congratulations on being accepted into the Dragon Slayer Academy. A long time ago, the Dragon Slayer Academy was established to prepare for the war against the Dragon Clan and to train Dragon Slayers. The first hero was adamant about keeping the word Slayer in the name, wanting you to deeply contemplate the true meaning of being a Dragon Slayer. So what is a Dragon Slayer? You can't be called a Goblin Slayer if you've never killed a goblin, and you can't become a Dragon Slayer if you've never killed a dragon, right? The crowd was like a deflated balloon. Geez, he's rambling. The principal continued his long-winded speech. Taking a life is the fate and the essence of a Dragon Slayer. Do not turn a blind eye to that truth, but also ask yourselves, why do I want to become a Dragon Slayer? Why do I want to take a life? I hope that after graduation, each of you will find your own answer. Just one last thing. The students below were all knocked out. Please make it stop. Mom, my head is killing me. The secretary beside him also signaled to remind him of the time. I hope that you will all become heroes in your own right during your time at this academy. That is all. Hyun-woo, on the other hand, was refreshed, a stark contrast to everyone else. What a truly meaningful speech. Kim Ho looked at his friend, surprised. You weren't bored. He smiled brightly again, bored. Every word was the gospel truth. In fact, my master used to drill the exact same things into my head every day. He was totally bummed out. You really heard that stuff every day. The girl with the glasses made an additional announcement. Allow me to reiterate one thing to all of you. This year's list of prohibited items has been updated. If you are found in possession of these items, they will be confiscated immediately, and the violator will face disciplinary action. Furthermore, until further notice, all new students will only be permitted to participate in combat evaluations on the ground floor of the dungeon. The students were a bit spooked by that. The pressure is insane. This is terrifying. From the stage, she continued her warning. If you go down to the lower floors on your own and stir up trouble, your family magic tower or guild could also get dragged into it, so be careful. Don't let a moment of curiosity bring disaster upon everyone. Make sure you understand and follow the rules to avoid any unnecessary punishments. This concludes the entrance ceremony. Remember to return to your dorms on time. Kim Ho nudged Zen to wake her up as everyone was leaving. It's over already. That was short and sweet. Just then a voice startled them. Hey, you guys! Let's go eat. Hyun-woo was surprised to see Byung-chun. Shin, what happened to your face? He pointed to the scratches on his face and laughed. Ah, this. It was just a little mishap. Don't worry about it. Oh, and everyone should eat a big meal today. Hyun-woo was baffled by this. Why? He put on a mysterious air. Tomorrow's the first day of class. There's going to be a huge event. That evening in the men's dormitory, Hyun-woo waved enthusiastically at Kim Ho. We're right next door. What a coincidence. He, however, wasn't feeling the excitement. I'm not exactly thrilled. Later. Bye, Kim Ho. Sleep well. Kim Ho walked off, shrugging off his jacket. As if I'm going to go to sleep with free time like this. Time to create a mana circuit. To use any skill that consumes mana or internal energy, you need a power source. That's what a mana circuit is for. This is my first time making one, but I've got a pretty good grasp of how to do it. I absorbed the black ice crystal, so I've got plenty of mana now. I can pull this off. At the same time, in Go Hyun-woo's room, he was also meditating. Hansami is the strongest opponent I've ever faced since I left the mountain. Sure, we were both holding back during our match, but even if we had gone all out, the outcome would have been a toss-up. If Kim Ho hadn't been there, To close the power gap for Go, Hyunwoo would have probably been defeated before the slaying sword shattered. A master. That was the word Go Hyunwoo always associated with Kim Ho since the first time they met. A calmness that only the truly strong possess. Eyes that seem to see through everything. He looked at his sword wondering, should I ask for his help? No, he's my first friend. I'll do my best with what I've got. The next day, in the temporary classroom, everyone was chatting. Zen walked into the classroom with a sleepy yawn. Hyunwoo was relieved to see her. There you are, I was worried you'd sleep in. Kim Ho could only manage a wry smile. It was a close call. The professor's podium was still empty. Yo, where's the teacher? Beats me. The bell rang, but there's no teacher in sight. I wonder who our homeroom teacher is, that they'd be this late. Oh, there he is. Their excitement quickly turned to shock. Sudok appeared looking extremely menacing. Judging by your reactions, I must be pretty well known. Huh. A pleasure to meet you all. I will be your homeroom teacher for this year. My name is Lee Sudok. He pointed at a female student and asked coldly, You there, tell me what do people call me? The girl jumped, startled. Yes, sir, the villain hunter. Not that one. The butcher of men, sir? Kim Ho was silent as it dawned on him. So that's it. In this world, there are countless deviants who have surpassed human limits. And among them, there are those who use their power for their own twisted desires. Lee Sudok is the one tasked with hunting down and apprehending such individuals. The nickname Butcher of Men implies that he has executed more criminals than he has captured alive. Sudok's expression remained unchanged as he spoke loudly. Frankly, I didn't want to be here either. But the principal asked, so I had no choice but to accept. Of the countless missions I've been assigned, I'm proud to say I have never failed a single one. I hope none of you tarnish that perfect record of mine. I'd rather kill you than let you fail. The whole class trembled in fear at his words. He started writing on the board. Now let's get down to business. I'll briefly explain the grading system. The written exam will be worth 30%. Next up is conduct, which is worth 10%. Just behave and don't cause trouble and you'll get the points. For some of you, this is basically free points. Your conduct grade can drop below 0%. It can even drag down your scores. In other sections, I'll be keeping a very close eye on the troublemakers. Who knows, right? We might just meet again after graduation. Perhaps. Sudok's voice droned on from the podium. Next and most importantly, the practical exam. The practical exam will be divided into two formats. Dungeon raids where you'll clear out dungeons, and sparring matches, where you will face other students head-on. Scores will be based on a comparative ranking system, meaning you'll have to outperform the students around you. Both of these sections will account for 30% of your total grade. Any questions? No one? Then let's head to the arena. Two students were battling it out fiercely. Byung-chun and Hyunwoo were having a lively discussion. It's time for the placement test. This is the big event I was talking about. So this is what you were talking about yesterday. To help students get used to different situations, the rules for sparring will change frequently. And the rule for today's placement test is deathmatch. The match only ends when one person is exhausted, unconscious, or surrenders. The guy with the bowl cut couldn't take it and raised his hand. I surrender. The time limit is 5 minutes. If time runs out and there's no winner, the judge will score it or declare a draw. Byung-chun was still busy explaining the rules. Each person will fight 3 randomly assigned first-year male students. Winning gets you extra points, 300 points per win. Hyunwoo was also very curious about this. What if it's a draw or a loss? Kim Ho quickly answered 0 points. But you don't lose any points either. Just then, the system screen lit up, catching his attention. It displayed another notification. Side quest placement test objective. Achieve an average or higher ranking in the test. Win at least one sparring match one want. Rank in the top 50% in the dungeon raid section. Current rank NA. Reward +1 skill copy slot. Kim Ho already had his own plans in mind. So, I just need to win at least one sparring match, and rank average in the dungeon raid section. Huh. After reading the message, he thought to himself, but what's more important right now is the placement test. It's the perfect time to observe the other students. A chance to spot anyone with the potential to become S rank, or to take note of students with skills or traits worth copying. A moment later, the announcer's voice boomed. Kim Ho Hong Jonhwa, please step forward. Hyunwoo cheered enthusiastically from below. You got this, Kim Ho. Kim Ho and the red-haired girl stood facing each other. He carefully observed the girl holding the staff. My opponent is from the Crimson Jade Tower. Huh. The Crimson Jade Tower specializes in fire magic, famous for its powerful firepower and battlefield control. I used to pick them all the time in the game. Kim Ho also flashed a confident smile. Sorry, but you'll have to bear with me for 5 minutes. Junhua was getting annoyed with her opponent. If I want to build a reputation, I need to take down someone with a name for themselves. But Kim Ho, who the heck is this guy? And what's with that weapon? No self-respecting mage would touch that E-rank Earth Staff. And an E-rank Earth Staff at that. It slightly boosts Earth and defensive magic effects. A mystical light radiated from Kim Ho's entire body. He's definitely not from the 6 Gems Tower, so he's not an Earth Mage either. He's probably just using that staff for some support. Magic. The length of the staff suggests he's more focused on power than speed. The announcer's voice counted down 3, 2, 1. That means he's the type of mage who stands still and casts support spells. A flame erupted from Jianhua's staff. Begin. Fireburst skill. In that case, I'll end this match quickly. Everyone was buzzing with excitement. Did you see that move? Something just flashed, right? As expected from someone from the Crimson Jade Tower. But something made her jump. The scores of the two fighters appeared instantly. Hong Jianhua 100%, Kim Ho 100%. She looked at the scoreboard in utter disbelief. 100%. No way. I didn't think I'd be able to take him down in one hit. But why? Why didn't my attack do any damage? At all. Jianhua still had the tip of her staff pointed at him. She was sweating, her eyes narrowed. My attack didn't work at all. Don't tell me he used Dispel. If so, try blocking this one. No way. You're blocking this with just Dispel. A magic circle and flames were surrounding him. Go ahead, try to move. The moment I see an opening, I'll strike immediately. Huh. What the hell? Why is he just standing there like a statue? Seeing his attitude, she grew even more furious. If you're that confident, then try blocking this one pillar of fire. The flames shot up high, forming a vortex. Even those standing nearby were affected. That's the Crimson Jade Tower for you. Jianhua seemed to have seen something. She looked at Kim Ho still standing firm like a mountain and was secretly amazed. He blocked the magic of the future master of the Crimson Jade Tower without a scratch. Kim Ho just coolly unleashed his own move. It's come to this. I have to use my trump card. Jianhua was going from one surprise to another. That's a Thunderbird. She quickly dodged the attack. But the second attack hit Jianhua's shoulder. The system announced paralysis effect has been applied. She couldn't stay on her feet any longer. Kim Ho finally spoke up. Let's end it here. You should save your strength for the next matches. Think about the remaining fights too. The scoreboard had changed. Hong Jianhua lost versus Kim Ho win. Everyone immediately started buzzing. What Hong Jianhua lost? How did he take that hit without a scratch? Who is that guy? He doesn't look like a promising first year at all. How come there's no info on him? He glanced at the crowd gossiping about him and thought to himself, looks like I've drawn more attention than I planned. Gotta be more careful from now on. Just then the announcer's voice rang out again. Next up, Kim Ho. Hearing that, he broke into a sweat. What, me again? Can I get a little break, please? The announcer called out his next opponent, Song Chun-hee. The audience was buzzing with gossip again. Song Chun-hee from the Jade Tower. Yeah, I heard she joined the disciplinary committee right after she enrolled. Chun-hee stepped into the arena full of determination. Looks like today's my lucky day. There are a few things I need to confirm. Kim Ho just looked at her without saying a word. Then he spoke up very calmly. I forfeit. She was also surprised by his action. Huh. Sudok, after a moment of silence, also spoke up. But why? Kim Ho pretended to rub the back of his neck, feigning exhaustion. I'm not feeling well. It would be tough to continue fighting right now. He still tried to persuade him. Don't you think you should take this opportunity to rack up some points? You still want to forfeit. But Kim Ho's mind was made up. Yes, so be it. Chun Hyun's hand trembled with anger as she listened to their conversation. Your third match will also be counted as a forfeit. Got it. It'll count as a loss then. She couldn't hold it in any longer and yelled right at him. You're pathetic! You should always be ready for a fight. My grandfather always said that only those who don't waver, even in a tight spot, and always fight to win until the very end, can reach the top. He wasn't bothered by her words at all. Now that I think about it, isn't her grandfather the Thunder King? Like grandfather, like granddaughter, I guess. That would be helpful advice. For anyone who wants to be a hero. But I couldn't care less. Kim Ho turned and walked away, tossing a nonchalant comment over his shoulder. Yeah, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Consider it your win. Chun-hee turned away, looking annoyed. How disappointing. I was a fool to have even a sliver of hope in you. Kim Ho called out, oh, by the way. She flinched slightly and turned back to look. What? Kim Ho flashed a very bright smile. You said you'd send me a dessert coupon. Right, I'm still waiting. The familiar announcer's voice rang out again. Next up, Song Chun-hee Jang Ji-hong. Ji-hong appeared with a loud laugh. You're from the Jade Tower. Looks like you'll be a worthy opponent. Chun-hee, channeling her earlier anger, unleashed her power. All right, get ready. He was startled by what he saw. The moment the word was spoken, she had already landed a powerful blow on her opponent. Begin. Byung-chun was shook just watching. Looks like he got burned pretty bad. Kim Ho maintained a rather indifferent expression. Yeah, he did. He was still terrified. Good thing you forfeited. Otherwise, you'd probably be toast right now. He decided to play along. You're telling me. Lucky me. Chun Hyun glared at him with furious eyes. Byung-chun glanced worriedly at Kim Ho. Hey, did you see the look on her face just now? As expected of the Thunder King's granddaughter. What an impressive debut. Kim Ho smiled, looking down at the arena floor. Great, someone else is drawing all the attention for me. Two students behind them were gossiping about Kim Ho. Geez, who forfeits in a placement test? He probably got scared because his opponent was Song Chun-hee. So does that mean his win against Hong Jianhua was just a fluke? Isn't he just a coward? He wasn't angry at all. In fact, he was quite pleased. A lucky coward who managed to beat someone from the Crimson Jade Tower. That's exactly the kind of reputation I'm looking for. The announcer's voice quickly rang out. Next up, Song Chun-hee. Byung-chun looked down nervously. Starting right away. I wonder who the next unlucky person is. Zen appeared with a gun in her hand, looking very serious. Hey, what about Zen? He had to stop writing and frowned. Wait a minute. She's a shooter. That's a surprise. Kim Ho's eyes widened. Yeah, for real, I just found out too. The murmurs of gossip started up again. Looks like things are starting to get interesting. Aren't shooters the natural counter to mages? Maybe Song Chun-hyun will lose this one. Kim Ho was eagerly awaiting this match. Not necessarily, we'll have to wait and see. He, on the other hand, had complete faith in Zen. Come on, if a shooter plays it safe, how can they lose? Kim Ho quickly held out 5 fingers. Wanna bet 5 silver coins? It was like he had an itch that needed scratching. You're on. Both girls were very serious about this fight. Duyan quickly aimed at her opponent and fired. Begin! Chun-hee held out her hand to cast a spell. The bullets were blocked by that hand. Byung-chun couldn't believe his eyes. Huh, she blocked it. Meanwhile, Kim Ho sighed. Just as I thought. Song Chun-hee's mana pool is vastly superior. Even an E-rank Thunderbird spell looks like a D-rank spell in her hands. The Thunderbird flew through the bullets heading straight for Zen. She quickly dodged the attack. On the other side, Chun-hee snapped her fingers and the flock of Thunderbirds charged towards Zen again. This time she was hit. Zen was also struggling to dodge. Byung-chun was getting worried and started taking notes faster. If she takes a direct hit from that, the match is as good as over. Kim Ho was analyzing the situation. Even though she dodged it, her movements seemed to have slowed down. Chun-hee remained cool and continued her assault. With that electric jolt, the next attack is guaranteed to hit. As expected, Song Chun-hee will win this easily. However, she reached into her bag for something. Then she threw it towards Chun-hee. A cloud of smoke quickly billowed up. He was surprised from the stands. Huh, a smoke bomb! Byung-chun was getting excited. Nice move. A regular bomb would have been blocked. Now the tables have completely turned. This is where a shooter really shows their strength. Chun-hee was still fumbling around in the smoke. Soon after, she was hit from behind. She looked behind her, annoyed. I blocked it with a magic shield. But that impact almost made me lose my balance. At this rate, I'll be in trouble sooner or later. Byung-chun was sweating just watching. She must be loaded, right? Using an invisibility cloak as a first year, and switching to a rifle, was a smart move too. Chun-hee grimaced despite dodging the bullet. While Chun-hee was looking around to survey her surroundings, I can't just keep defending. Zen's rifle was aimed at her from a distance. The bullet flew right past Chun-hee. I have to predict the mana bullet's trajectory. The bullet seemed to be phasing through her protective barrier. Chun-hee quickly counterattacked. Right now, she was now face-to-face with her opponent. Duyan had to jump up to avoid the attack. Chun-hee smiled smugly. Gotcha. Don't even think about dodging this one. Zen, caught off guard, was hit by Chun-hee's attack. The time for the match was up. According to the scoreboard, the score was Song Chun-hee 85% versus Sel Zen 68%. Time remaining 0 minutes. Zen still couldn't get up. Meanwhile, Kim Ho let out a sigh of relief and thought to himself, just as I thought. Byung-chun held his head in his hands, disappointed. No way, Selzen lost. Chun-hee took off her gloves with a very cool expression. No first-year student can fight her. Score song. Chun-hee win versus Selzen lost. Zen calmly brushed the dust off her pants. But the fact that Zen could hold her own against Chun-hee until time ran out is pretty impressive. Byung-chun dropped the silver coins into his hand. Here's the 5 silver coins as promised. But hey, how about we bet again? A man's got to go at least 3 rounds, right? Kim Ho was annoyed by his behavior. Are you a gambling addict or something? Once is enough. What's the point of doing this over and over? Just then, Hyunwoo appeared in the arena. Hey, you might change your mind when you see this. Because the next opponent, for Go Hyunwoo, is the disciple of the Fist King, Dupeok. Byung-chun looked at him with a very challenging gaze. Who are you betting on this time? He answered in a very nonchalant way. Well, the Fist King's disciple will probably win. He pointed his pen at Kim Ho and laughed loudly. Then I'll bet against you. And I gotta say you're pretty heartless to your friend. He replied very calmly. I'm just telling the truth. Besides, I never said Hyunwoo would lose. Byung-chun was even more confused after hearing that. Huh, what do you mean? Kim Ho let out a sigh. You'll see soon enough. Hyunwoo glanced at his friend, thinking to himself. Kim Ho is watching me. I have to show him my victory. But it looks like this won't be easy. Jo Baekok was curious about his actions. Why don't you draw the sword on your back? Hyunwoo slowly replied, it's not time yet. Joe Backok clenched his fists. What a shame, but I won't go easy on you. He got into a ready stance. Bring it on! Along with the scoreboard, a familiar shout was heard. Score. Go Hyunwoo, 100%. vs Joe Backok, 100%. Begin. Joe Backok quickly lunged at his opponent, attacking. His fist was like a blazing flame, truly a disciple of the Fist King. There wasn't a single wasted motion. Even though Hyunwoo used his sword to block, he was still affected. The force of the blow was so strong it sent him flying. Hyunwoo was startled by that power. Even after reducing the impact's force, I was still pushed back this far. It seems just using basic swordsmanship won't be enough. In that case, I'll end this in one move, Blue Stream. Both sides charged at each other simultaneously. But his opponent's fist shattered Hyunwoo's sword. He didn't want to fight anymore. It seems I can't continue. I admit defeat. Joe Backok greatly respected his decision. I hope we can have a rematch soon. The scoreboard appeared. Score. Go Hyunwoo lost, vs Joe Backok win. Kim Ho continued to watch the two figures as they left. As expected, that iron sword couldn't take it. I had my doubts the moment I saw it on the train. Just as I thought. He uses iron swords like they're disposable. One-time use. Pyo Eung Cheon was bewildered after watching the second match. No way! How did you guess so accurately? Kim Ho patted his shoulder as a reminder. Ahem, now for the main event. 5 silver coins, please. He broke out in an awkward sweat. I don't have any money right now. Kim Ho gave him a way out. It's fine. You don't necessarily have to pay with money. Hearing that, Pyo Eung Cheon brightened up a bit. Really, then what do you need? Kim Ho casually pointed at his notebook. Pay me with the information you have. The matches had ended. After lunch will be the dungeon raid test. Remember to gather at the dungeon building on time. All right, okay, dismissed. Groups of students were gathering together. Oh, this is delicious. I wonder which dungeon we'll be raiding this time. I'm so curious. Pyo Eung Cheon stuffed his mouth full of food. He spoke incoherently. What do you want to know? Kim Ho was annoyed by his talking while eating. Finish your food before you talk. It's disgusting. He tried to finish eating quickly, then asked, Sorry. So what information do you want to know? The information Kim Ho wanted was simple. Just tell me about the most promising students in the 4 major factions. That's all. Pyo Eung Cheon winked mischievously. Sure thing. I'm an expert when it comes to this stuff. The 4 major factions, besides official groups like the Student Disciplinary Committee. Dragonslayer Academy also has 4 major factions. The Martial Arts Alliance, the Guild Alliance, the Magic Tower Association, and the Knight Order. Among them, if I had to list the most promising talents from each faction, there's the Sword Saint's grandson, Moyong Huisung. Martial Arts Alliance, the one with a high chance of becoming the future master of the Ruby Magic Tower. From the Magic Tower Association, Hong Jonghua. From the Guild Alliance, the one who always carries a cat on her shoulder, Beknari. There's another promising prospect, but she's not well known because she's still hiding her true strength. And finally, the son of the Sword Master from the Knight Order, Lee Seong-hyun. He said as he flipped through the pages. Well, these are the ones I consider to be truly powerful. They're all really outstanding individuals, huh? By the way, where's Hyunwoo? Oh, right, the club president. It totally slipped my mind. I gotta go first. Sorry. Kim Ho was speechless with this guy. Yeah. See you later. He's a busy guy, huh? He glanced over at Rin, who was eating. She seemed to be deep in thought. Maybe because she's the first connection I've made in this world. I can't just leave her with such a sad expression on her face. He quickly spoke up to start a conversation. About those cookies I dropped on the train yesterday. Well, Chun-hee gave me this dessert coupon. Since they were your cookies, you get a share too. Let's go eat together. Rin only replied politely. Thanks. He turned back to look at her, startled. Huh? Rin voiced the question on her mind. Why did you think I would lose to Song Chun-hee? Kim Ho began to analyze it in detail for her. It's hard to break a magic shield with just mana bullets. At that level, with such superior mana, it's understandable that she was stronger than you. However, if you train your mana to reinforce the bullets, the result would be different. She asked back very casually, mana training. What do I need that for? Her question left him speechless for a few seconds. What? Don't tell me. You've never done mana training before, Rin answered very innocently. Never. His next question confused her even more. Then how do you create mana bullets? So you've never even practiced mana bullets? She still answered very naturally, yeah. I've never learned how. A genius. Kim Ho was startled as he looked at the girl in front of him. Mana bullets are a fundamental skill for any marksman. Could it be that all this time she's only been fighting on pure instinct? To think she could give Song Chun-hee such a hard time without any formal training. In that case, he appeared very enthusiastic. If you don't mind, I could help you out? Rin didn't bother objecting and nodded. Okay. Kim Ho quickly stood up. Once you start mana training, And learning skills things will get much easier. There's the bell, let's go. It's time for the next placement test. Sudok stood at the front, exuding a stern aura. Dungeon Hall. Now that everyone is present, I will explain the dungeon raid test. The test will take place inside the dungeon, through the portal behind me. Foggy Forest. Rule 1, 10-minute time limit high score. Rule 2, F rank level locked area. This dungeon has 2 special rules. First, high score. You will gain points based on the number of monsters you defeat within 10 minutes. The goal is to defeat as many monsters of the highest quality as possible. Second, F rank level locked area. In short, this is a level restricted area. Equipment skills. And your traits will all be restricted to F rank. He further emphasized the risks they would face. And don't forget, your mana core will also be lowered to F rank, so be careful with your mana control. Carelessness will bring you disaster. All right, when I call your name, step forward and enter the portal. The ones who entered first were trembling on the ground. Complaining about something this minor? Truly pathetic. Sudok glanced at the remaining students. The students with a bit of potential are only Han Seomi, 928 points. Rank 1, and Choi Jongbi, 5 at 30 points, top 20%. Only those 2 students. Just thinking about how to train the others is already giving me a headache. He let out a weary sigh and called the next names. Say Rin, Kim Ho. Before entering, Kim Ho advised her, wait a moment, Rin. You should probably use a rifle this time. Her face was expressionless. Okay. Chun-hee watched the 2 of them intently. If controlling your mana is too difficult, then when the enemy gets close, just aim straight for the head and shoot. Okay? She was very curious about Kim Ho. He's not even a marksman, so why is he giving advice? He waved goodbye before stepping into the portal. All right. See you later. Entering the level-locked zone. He had entered a familiar area. The Foggy Forest, huh? It's been a while since I've been back here. Adjusting level for skills, traits, and equipment. He was so busy looking at the notifications that he didn't notice what was behind him. I'll take this opportunity to see what my current level is. All right, let's get started. I'm remaining 1000. A green shadow lunged straight towards him. The goblin was feeling very excited. Begin. Time remaining, Nod 59. Kim Ho immediately extended his staff. The goblin, following its momentum, bit hard into the staff. Kim Ho flung it far away, causing it to drop its sword. In the Foggy Forest, monsters will appear randomly as soon as you enter, but there are still some fixed spawn patterns. Considering the position where the goblin just appeared, this is pattern C, which means the next one will appear over there. He threw a dagger in that direction with all his might. The dagger embedded itself right in the goblin's eye. He sighed as he watched it fall backward. Looks like I don't even need this staff. Anyway, there are weapons scattered all over the place. I can just borrow one from the orcs or goblins. The goblins started appearing in increasing numbers. All right, time to start earning points. Screams and sprays of red blood filled the forest. In the distance, 2 minotaurs were charging. Time remaining 7:02. Kim Ho already had a weapon ready in his hand. 2 minotaurs were charging from behind. Wait a second. I shouldn't be saving this replay, should I? I almost forgot. If the system records how I move and hunt monsters, I'll definitely be misunderstood. It's best to delete it right now. 683 points in 3 minutes, huh? Current score 683. I've taken down quite a few. The side quest objective is complete too. If my score is too high, it'll draw unwanted attention. Well, it's probably best to stop here. As soon as he stepped through the portal, he saw a familiar head of hair. Rin walked out looking quite drained. Say Rin, 781 points, a top 21%. He looked at her with a slight smile and asked, "How was it, you okay?" Rin replied with a weary sigh. "That was tough." Kim Ho complimented his friend. "Is that so? Your score isn't bad at all?" Sudok judged him with the scornful look. "That student, he's the one who gave up in the first sparring test, right? I bet he gave up again. With that cowardly mindset, does he really think he can kill a dragon? Wait a minute, mid-high rank. How did this kid get so many points? In such a short amount of time. Something like this has never happened before, right? Kim Ho, I need to keep an eye on him. Next go Hyunwoo," he cheered him on. "Be careful." Hyunwoo was full of determination and confidence. "I'll be back soon." He looked at the scoreboard, analyzing the situation. That's Lee Song-hyun, son of a swordmaster. And Moyong Huisung is the grandson of the sword saint, right? If the top students are only on the same level as Han, Seomi then go Hyunwoo has a chance. Just as I thought. He really did get first place. The moment he stepped out, everyone started murmuring. Isn't that the guy who fought against the Fist King's disciple? No wonder he performed so well back then. I can't believe he actually managed to score 1,000 points. Kim Ho welcomed Hyunwoo with congratulations. "You did great," he replied humbly. "It's all thanks to you. Letting me rest after the sparring match really helped me get this score." He couldn't even manage a smile. "You're thinking way too much." 2 guys in the back were feeling resentful. "What the hell, that coward? Is he sucking up to the high rankers now?" Yeah, that's right. He even gave up during the sparring test. Hyunwoo couldn't hold back his anger. Hey, but Kim Ho quickly stopped him. It's fine. Just let it go. Hyunwoo was still fuming. But Kim Ho, he quickly winked to signal him. I said it's fine. He let out a sigh to calm himself down. All right, if that's your decision. After that, they both looked up at the scoreboard. So that's it. Right, why haven't we seen Chun-Hee's score yet? Kim Ho glanced towards the portal. It's not over yet. Inside, Chun-Hee was still fighting fiercely. This is nothing. What the hell? I knew my power would be reduced, but I can only slow them down a tiny bit. She suddenly remembered the words Kim Ho had said to Rin. If controlling your mana is too difficult, then when the enemy gets close, just aim straight for the head and shoot. Come to think of it, I hate to admit it, but his advice keeps replaying in my head. With limited mana wide area skills are not effective at all. In that case, I'll pour everything into one extremely powerful shot. The system immediately made an announcement. Song Chun-Hee, fill 1 points, top 47%. At that moment, Chun-Hee stepped out of the portal. Kim Ho's group glanced at her for a moment. Oh, she's back. Chun-Hee bit her lip, her face flushed with embarrassment. Why is the score displayed in front of everyone? My score is so low, this is so embarrassing. Sudok still looked at the students with a cold gaze. Today's placement test ends here. The results will be announced tomorrow. All of you return and get some rest, all right. Dismissed. Later at the library archives. Yes, come in, Instructor Lee Sudok. What brings you here? He stated his purpose directly. I want to review the replay of student Kim Ho's dungeon raid test, Class 1-3. The other guy was a bit surprised. Are you interested in that student? He seemed very impatient. That's not important. Hurry up and show me the replay. The student also became flustered. Ah, yes. Let me check. It took the young man a moment to check. Student Kim Ho's replay was not saved, so it can't be viewed. Hearing that, he became even more agitated. What about the dungeon entry time? Is it recorded in the system? The student looked at the screen in surprise. If it's about that, let me check the dungeon entry log. This is... Sudok broke out in a sweat. Just as I thought, this kid... He deleted it on purpose. At this speed, it's clear that he could easily score over 2,000 points in just 10 minutes. But why is he hiding his true strength? Don't tell me. Dragon Slayer Academy has as many enemies as it does allies. Followers of the Dragon Tribe, apostles of the evil god. If one of them has infiltrated the academy, then the wisest course of action right now is to come up with a countermeasure. Immediately, the other student felt very worried. Should we report this to the principal? He was still analyzing the situation. However, upon hearing the student's question, Sudok shook his head. No, for now, let's just continue to observe. If this information leaks without solid evidence, they will only hide themselves better. Sudok turned and left, thinking to himself, if he really is a threat, sooner or later he will show his fangs. For the time being, I will continue to monitor him. Kim Ho's group was at the Dragon Slayer Academy placing an order. Cafeteria, 1 coffee, please. I'd also like to try that drink called coffee, and returned with her usual sleepy demeanor. I'm going to find a seat. Kim Ho watched her as she walked away. Looks like it's just the two of us drinking then. The two sat down and talked. Take out the catalog we were given after class just now. Take it out. Ah, that thin booklet. Hyunwoo scratched his head, looking helplessly at the booklet. I read it, but I didn't understand a thing. Kim Ho slowly sipped his coffee. That's why I suggested we get coffee. Today we'll just go over the important parts. First, take out your student ID card. He stared blankly at the thing in front of him. This thing called points didn't exist before. Kim Ho gently explained it to him. The number displayed on there is your current points. That's the currency used within the academy. You can earn them, mainly through dungeon raids. Like the one just now, you can use them to buy items, or use the facilities. But right now there's a particularly important way to use them. You probably received a notification about the replay before you left the dungeon. Right. Hearing this, Hyunwoo was startled. Oh yeah, I remember agreeing to something like that. I think. Kim Ho was holding something in his hand. You can buy back the recording from that time. You can also buy the replays of other students. He couldn't believe his eyes. This is Hanseomi's dungeon raid test replay. Kim Ho also pointed to his friend, adding more information. Because you placed first in the test, your replay is probably selling like hotcakes right now. He couldn't help but be amazed. My points are going up so fast, but if the replay is selling well, that might not necessarily be a good thing, right? Kim Ho sighed, showing his agreement. That's right. Others will definitely scrutinize every weakness to find a way to counter you. You were lucky. Because this dungeon had a level lock rule, you were able to secure first place. But if it were a sparring match, especially a mana-based one, they would find out just how weak your mana core is. Even so, considering the points, it's worth it. You can use them to enter the mana training room at the training center. The most important place there is the special training room. The mana concentration in there is much denser than normal, so it will also help your internal energy develop faster. Hyunwoo got so excited he stood up and slammed the table. A place like that really exists. Kim Ho replied very calmly, of course. But getting in isn't easy. He calmed down and pulled his chair back to sit. It must cost a lot of points, right? He quickly confirmed. Exactly, 500 points for 6 hours. He was in a complete mess. So if I go once a day? He closed his eyes and said with frustration, then you won't have any points left for anything else. Hyunwoo's shoulders slumped a bit in disappointment. Is there no other way? Kim Ho responded with the bright smile. There is, it's the season pass. But it's only available to members of the top clubs, and to get it, you'd have to take Moyong, Huisung's spot in the swordsmanship club. He also understood his own capabilities. But right now, I'm not skilled enough to do that. For now, I'll just have to use my points wisely. Kim Ho was again very calm. I'll get one for you. As long as you promise to repay me. He probably felt a bit impatient as well. What do you need my help with? He spoke with a very serious expression. After you become stronger, join me in the final dungeon. If you compare it to the foggy forest today, that place could be fatal. So still want to help me? Hyunwoo showed his strong willpower. As a martial artist, I always crave to become stronger. Now that you've shown me a path, there's no way I'd refuse just because I'm afraid to die. Of course I accept your offer. The two continued their discussion. Good, for now just spend your points freely and practically live in the special training room. I'll get the season pass for you within 2 weeks. 2 weeks, sounds good, I'll be waiting. Meanwhile, Kim Ho also had his own business to attend to. All right, while Go Hyunwoo is training, I'll go take care of my own things. He pushed open the door of workshop number 4. Hello? The man who was researching something asked, Who are you? Kim Ho acted very politely and stated his intention. Hello, senior. I came to learn about the Magic Engineering Club. He remained very focused and replied coldly, Why didn't you visit workshop number 1? Kim Ho also explained his reason. I already did. They told me to come into workshop number 4 first. He seemed not at all pleased. Honestly, just take a quick look and get out. I'm very busy. Don't bother me. He smiled because he had achieved his goal. Thank you, I'll just take a quick look. Magic engineering skill must be B rank. Use copy. First objective complete. Now for the next objective. It must be around here, found it. He picked up the cube and pretended to ask innocently. Hey senior, this looks really valuable. He turned his head to look at it nonchalantly. The blueprint for the 10x10x10 cube, ugh. That thing had ridiculously high expectations. But no one has ever successfully used it. It's just trash. Although he wanted to take it, he restrained himself and acted as polite as possible. I find it quite interesting. If you guys don't need it, can I take it? But I feel a bit bad just taking it for free. So how about I trade you this for it? The young man had noticed the item. Thermal catalyst solution. It's nothing special. But in magic engineering, you can never have enough of it. He took the item very naturally. Just this once, okay? Don't tell anyone about this, Kim Ho replied joyfully. Thank you, senior. He held the item extremely pleased. Great, I saved 1,000 points. Kim Ho glanced back, smiling to himself. Well, he just sold a piece of trash for 1,000 points. Of course he's happy. But is it really trash? The system also made an announcement. Side quest, The Mysterious Cube. You have discovered a blueprint of a very special design in the Magic Engineering Workshop. Objective, examine the blueprint. Reward, unlock quest chain. Kim Ho gently touched the system panel, silently complaining. These quests are the real trash. Finishing all of that would take at least a whole year. Who has the time to do all these quests? The final reward of the quest chain is an S-rank item, the Cube of Life. He slowly stepped into the training room. As someone who has nurtured countless S-rank heroes, in the past, I already know how to craft it without needing to do the quests. All right, let's begin. He started to rotate the cube. Then he pulled out one of the blocks. At this rate, it will probably take about 3 days to complete. 1 minute passes so quickly. When this skill's level is low, I can't modify the cube for long. Until then, I'll meditate to refine my mana core. So, 1 hour of meditation for 1 minute of modifying the cube? That event will start on the first Friday, so I must complete the Cube of Life. Before then, the morning sun's rays shone down on the school. The sun's up, time for school. When he entered the classroom, Rin was already sitting there. Hey, you're here early, she replied simply as always. Yeah, I woke up early. While he was lost in thought. Go Hyunwoo isn't here yet. Rin tugged on Kim Ho's sleeve. Huh. She handed him a bag and said nonchalantly, here, cookies. He seemed very happy with this gift. For me, thanks, are these dinosaur-shaped cookies so cool? Hyunwoo had also arrived at the classroom. Kim Ho say Rin, good morning. Rin puffed out her cheeks in a pout. It's supposed to be a bear. Kim Ho saw his friend and asked, oh, you're here. So what do you think of the special training room? You could see the sparkle in his eyes. It's the first time I've seen my internal energy increase so fast. I just need to push a little harder. and I'll have a breakthrough. The two continued their cheerful conversation. That's great. I'll try to get you a season pass as soon as possible. Thanks. Just then, Instructor Shu walked into the classroom. Everyone be quiet and return to your seats. Before we begin class, I have an announcement. Starting today, we will be holding matches in the arena. The time limit will be increased to 10 minutes, so prepare your strategies carefully. All first-year students must participate in at least 3 matches this week. If you avoid it, you will get points deducted. That is all. Kim Ho smiled smugly. So it's starting. I have to win this time. He patted Hyunwoo's shoulder full of excitement. Let's go to the arena. The replays from the first day will sell the best. Just then, Jean grabbed his sleeve. Okay, then let's go. Kim Ho was startled by her action. I'm free today. The surrounding students were totally shocked. Huh, what? Even he was confused. You mean the mana bullet training that we talked about before, right? You want to learn today? Jian nodded without hesitation. Yeah, Kim Ho smiled back. All right. See you later then. Jian nodded again. Okay. They were at the arena that afternoon. As soon as Kim Ho stepped out, people noticed his name. 2 people on the floor were talking about him. Do you know him? Isn't he the one who forfeited against Song Chun-hee? So he's the coward everyone's been talking about. Hyunwoo couldn't stand it. He spoke up against their words. Don't you guys have any manners? Talking like that right in front of him. That's so rude. Kim Ho, on the other hand, acted very friendly. Did you do well on the placement test? I got 300 points. What about you? Ji Hong answered, then felt a bitter taste. 300 points too. What? So you have the same score as a coward? A weakling like you thinks you're on my level? If I hadn't faced Song Chun-hee in the second match, Kim Ho didn't yell, but his words were sharp. Song Chun-hee, oh right. The guy who got struck by lightning and had to be carried out. That was you, wasn't it? The guy gritted his teeth in anger. What a coincidence. We have the same score. Get down here, you coward. I'll show you the gap in our skills. The two were now standing face to face. Ji Hong got into his stance with an angry face. I'll finish you in one blow, Kim Ho, however, remained calm. All right, let's end this quickly. He grabbed his spear and quickly charged forward. Begin, Kim Ho didn't move an inch. Looks like you're not very smart. Just as he got close, he was paralyzed by Thunderbird. What the hell is this? Kim Ho raised his staff, his expression unchanging. Sorry, I guess I can't finish it in one blow like Song Chun-hee did. Ji Hong was now terrified. Wait! Along with his scream came the system notification. CO Ji Hong loss. VS Kim Ho win. Kim Ho couldn't help but laugh. Looks like this coward won. The guy was still fuming. I was just careless. Let's go again. I'll definitely win this time. Kim Ho was of course ready. Oh yeah? Then let's do it. He shouted as if to empower himself. It won't be so easy this time. Begin. The scoreboard remained the same. CO Ji Hong loss. VS Kim Ho win. He looked at his flattened opponent, feeling bored for him. How come you're still not any better? Ji Hong, lying face down, could only curse helplessly. Damn it! I'll definitely win next time. Give me a break. Kim Ho turned and walked away coolly. I'm tired. Let's end it here. He looked at the system panel, lost in thought. Anyway, I need to complete 3 matches. But first I'll pretend I don't want to. Oh, but if you want, I can teach you. But you have to pay the tuition first. Ji Hong glared daggers at him. This money grubber. This is a spirit pill made by my family. I'll give it to you, okay? Kim Ho looked intently at the item. Deal. But there's one more condition. No saving the replay. And no one can know about this. The guy agreed. Fine. It wouldn't be good for me if this got out anyway. He happily took the item. All right. Since I've received the tuition, I'll fight you until you're satisfied. No matter how many matches they had, the result was the same. That's enough, right? Good job. Ji Hong was beaten to a pulp, so he had learned to behave better. Wait, I want to apologize for being rude. I judged you too quickly. You're not a coward. Kim Ho didn't think much of it. No, for now, just let me be the coward. The guy was quite surprised by this statement. Just let it be, I understand. I won't ask any more questions. Anyway, I can't be the only one who suffers. Right, Kim Ho met up with his friend. Hyunwoo, I'm done. How about you? He also looked excited. I've won 2 matches. I'm going to fight my 3rd match before I leave. You can go ahead, Kim Ho. Kim Ho parted ways with his friend there. All right, good luck. Kim Ho headed to his 2nd training session in the mana room. Have you been waiting long? Have a seat. Jen remained expressionless. Okay. The two sat cross-legged facing each other. Now, we'll begin special lesson number 1 on mana. Bullets. First, try creating a bullet. He looked at what she created, quite surprised. Huh, this is unbelievable. With just a simple mass of mana like that, she was able to fight on par with Song Chun-hee. Kim Ho began the lesson. Today we'll learn about allocation. The first step is to control the amount of mana for each bullet. And for step 2, Jian aimed her gun straight at the opponent. Kim Ho created a protective layer around himself. A sniper hiding with an invisibility cloak, huh? Then I'll use the terrain to hide. Go ahead and search all these sand dunes if you can. But in Jian's eyes, the flow of mana was clearly visible among the sand dunes. Ji Cheon was feeling extremely confident. Even if she destroys them all, she can't possibly penetrate my shield. Just then a bullet pierced right through him. I have nothing to fear. A sniper who can't even penetrate Song. Chun-Hee's shield. What the hell, Jian on her side smiled. The guy's confidence was now gone. Come on. Instructor Shu was analyzing Kim Ho's abilities. The movements of his Thunderbird are strange. His control is truly outstanding. It was the same in the second match. He was completely toying with his opponent. But that's not the only thing to note. Then he started analyzing Jian. Regarding Jian's placement test, the mana bullet back then was just a crude mass of mana. And yet in today's video, it has become a complete mana bullet. In just 2 days for someone to change that much. He also saw the conversation between him and her. You mean the mana bullet training that we talked about before, right? You want to learn today? All right, see you later then. Instructor Zhu seemed very angry. It's that kid again. Kim Ho, who is he really? Meanwhile, he was examining the cube. The cube began to transform. It's done, finally complete. Life Cube B. Increases the effectiveness of items, of the stored life system by 1.3 times. Thanks to my skill level increasing after the mission, I managed to finish it just in time. Also, I was able to raise my mana circuit to D rank through meditation. Every time I wanted to use a skill, it would consume a large amount of mana. But now I can breathe a little easier. Of course, it's also partly thanks to that spirit pill. So all the preparations are complete. Time for a little promotion. Just then Kim Ho saw Nari walking past him. What a lucky break. Just the person I needed to see. The promising talent of the Northern Guild Alliance. Nari, excuse me, but I need to ask you for a little favor. Her cat was immediately drawn to the cube. Animals are very sensitive to life force. Not a single one passes by without reacting. Nari was terrified by her cat's behavior. Ben, what's wrong? This was going exactly according to Kim Ho's plan. Just as I predicted, Nari held out her hand to call the cat back. I'm so sorry, I'll take him away right now. Bane, you get out of there. Kim Ho also looked at the girl. As expected of a druid, it seems she can sense the life force. Time to put on a little show. Kim Ho acted as if he was short of breath. I'm in a bit of a hurry, so could you please take him away? Nari picked up the cat who was trying to cling to the cube. Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know why he's acting so weird today. By the way, you're in class 3, right? He was slightly startled and replied, yeah. Nari still felt a little guilty. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry about what happened earlier. Kim Ho also felt very satisfied. The news will spread to the Nature Club now. I'll get a season pass soon. Now for the main event I've been waiting for. The teacher was lecturing the students. We'll encounter in many different situations. The clash between goblins and a swordmaster, page 76. Kim Ho was counting down every second, every minute. Just one more minute until lunch break. 59 seconds. The teacher closed her book and announced the end of class. 32 seconds, 0 seconds. Byung-chun stretched to relieve his fatigue. Finally done. Huh. What was that? A surge of red energy attacked them. The group still didn't understand what was happening. What the heck? Nothing happened. He was still in shock. What was that orb just now? Was it a barrier? That was scary. People started pointing at each other. Hey, what's that number on your forehead? You have one too. A surprise inspection has begun at the academy. Satyong's prohibition wave. The academy will use a special type of magnetic field to detect prohibited items, as well as list items that are inappropriate for students on the prohibited list. This wave will target students who possess prohibited items. Kim Ho was also sweating and thought to himself, so it has begun. That sound is terrifying. That sound must be from a Dobyok. Hyunwoo, on the other hand, was quite calm about it. Interesting. He sighed in relief, looking at his two friends. These two weren't affected from the start. The problem is him. Byung-chun was extremely annoyed by this. Damn it, what the hell is going on? Kim Ho walked over to him and said, Hey, didn't your club president tell you there would be an inspection? Byung-chun was still resentful. Well, yeah, but not like this. Crap, what do I do now? If I get caught with this stuff, I'm screwed. Kim Ho knew how to seize the opportunity. Need help. He was still on the verge of tears. From you. He pretended to be offended and walked away. Fine if you don't need it. The guy grabbed his sleeve. I need it. Please save me. I'll do whatever you want. Kim Ho looked at him meaningfully. Then you owe me a favor, okay? Byung-chun bowed deeply and shouted, Of course. Kim Ho took out his cube. Stuff all the prohibited items in here. Prioritize the small and high-value ones first. The guy was still skeptical. Will it be okay if I put it in there? Kim Ho had to urge him on. There's no time to explain. Believe it or not, just put it in. Listen to the footsteps. They're almost here. Byung-chun was scared out of his wits. I'm putting it in right now. The disciplinary team appeared with serious expressions. Everyone freeze. You two over there. What are you two hiding, huh? Kim Ho immediately stood up to defend himself. We were just taking a break. Chun-hee looked very suspicious. Is that right? Byung-chun jumped in to back him up. It's true, we were just resting. She glared at him annoyedly. All right, hand over all prohibited items. I don't know how you two managed to dodge the prohibition wave, but just hand it over quietly. This crystal. Ball won't miss any tricks. She was surprised to see he was still fine. Impossible, it should be reacting. He calmly asked, can I go now? Chun-hee, though very annoyed, had no other choice. All right, go back to your seat. He calmly sat down in his seat. This is why I wanted to finish it before Friday. An item that can bypass the prohibition wave. Wait, if anyone knew its true value, they'd be dying to get their hands on it. All right, time to make a deal. Byung-chun looked at him with grateful eyes. I'm truly grateful to you. If it weren't for you, all that stuff would be gone, and I would be dead for sure or maybe worse. He winked at him. I'll collect the debt later. For now, just consider that you owe me. Byung-chun pounded his chest to show his resolve. Of course, there's no way I'd skip out on it. The two chatted happily. Let's go to your club to unpack the prohibited items. Let's go. All right. The club president is waiting to see you. From trading prohibited items to causing chaos everywhere. They were the academy's resident troublemakers. The thieving club. As soon as he poked his head in the door, he acted respectfully. Sunbae-nim, we're here. The girl in the room was very annoyed with him. I told you to be careful this week. Were you even listening? Didn't I tell you this was very important? Huh. He could only cover his head and take the beating. I'm sorry. Stop hitting me. Kim Ho nodded slightly and bowed to the girl. Hello, Sunbae-nim, I'm Kim Ho. The girl stopped and turned to look at him politely. I'm Kang Gujang. You probably already know, but I'm the president of this club. I heard about what happened today from this guy. You have an item that can bypass the prohibition wave. Right, let me see it. Kim Ho happily showed it to her. With pleasure. She couldn't help but be impressed. It's real. Honestly, I was still skeptical just now. But an item that can fool the prohibition wave, it almost makes me want to steal it right here on the spot. Kim Ho spoke calmly but with a hidden meaning. You'd get caught as soon as you stole it. There's no way the president of the thieving club wouldn't know about the anti-theft system on magic tech items. Right. Gujang turned away pouting. Wait, this is a magic tech item. Anyway, you came here because you need something. Right, Kim Ho quickly replied. I knew you'd figure it out. She pointed around the room and spoke wearily. As you can see, our club is broke. We have nothing of value to trade. But what he wanted wasn't like that. Don't worry. This is something you guys can easily handle. She was getting very curious. Tell me, what is it? Kim Ho stated his intentions without hesitation. It's about the temporary storage. I want to go with you. Gujang didn't seem too happy. Hey, what are you plotting, the temporary storage? The place where items confiscated by the prohibition wave are kept before being destroyed. Usually, the inspection is finished before the end of the week. After that, the prohibited items are moved to a secret warehouse that no one knows about. However, Kim Ho made his own assumption. I'm guessing you'll be going tonight or tomorrow night, right? But she was suspicious of his motives. Answer me. Were you sent by the disciplinary committee? Right, he immediately denied it. What, no way. I'm not close with them at all. Let's just say there's something I need in there. Gujang also had her own principles. Thanks for your help, but don't expect a free ride. We've already prepared everything, so we can't just let you jump in and reap the benefits. Kim Ho placed his hand on the cube and spoke clearly. The temporary storage will be guarded by the disciplinary committee. Right, sneaking in is already hard, but getting out after you're done is even harder. But what if I can take care of the escape part? That should be worth the spot on the trip, right? That moved her a little. Come to think of it, if we move the important items into that cube, he immediately continued her sentence. It's basically guaranteed that we can get them out. There's no way she'll refuse this deal. So will you let me join? The whole group was watching from a distance. Gujang was the first to speak. Is everyone here? A guy from the group replied. Yes, everyone's here. But who's that other person? She pointed at Kim Ho and introduced him. We'll have a new person joining us to assist with this mission. Everyone say hello? Everyone immediately looked skeptical. Letting a newbie join such an important mission. Is this okay? Can we trust him? Can we really trust this guy? Byung-chun rushed forward and winked. It's nice to meet you, don't mind them. Let's work well together. A girl was looking at a map. Then she spoke up. Sunbae-nim, 1 minute left. Gujang assigned roles to everyone. All right, Dabin will handle support from outside. The rest of you get ready. She turned to remind him, hey, try to be as stealthy as possible. Once we're inside, prioritize taking the small and rare items first. Everyone started running. All right, let's move out. Kim Ho looked at the girl and started to assess her. Silent steps rank B. Since the life cube is complete, I probably won't need to. Use magic engineering for a while. Kim Ho reached out and touched Gujang. Using skill copy, stored skill silent steps B. Skill copy 221. Thunderbird E. 2. Magic engineering B. Silent steps B. Silent steps B. Silent steps. Your footsteps will become faster and quieter. Just then Johann noticed something strange. Huh, there are some butterflies flying around. One of them landed on his shoulder. Why are there butterflies here all of a sudden? Immediately after Johann was attacked. Shadow butterfly dance. What the hell? He had been subdued by Gujang's people. One person from their group has infiltrated the 3rd floor of the old building. This is such a hassle. Just how many anti-theft charms did they set up? A student from the disciplinary team spotted someone. The other guy frowned. Damn it, what bad luck. The other student immediately sounded the alarm. Intruder! But the other guy was subdued. Byung-chun spoke up to remind the student. The more you struggle, the more uncomfortable it'll be. Gujang shouted to remind everyone. The temporary storage is just around that corner. First, let's check the situation before breaking in. She held up a mirror to check. In the reflection was Sihan guarding the door very seriously. Oh crap. Of all people, why did it have to be that guy guarding the door? It'll be a bit difficult for me to handle him alone. Kim Ho also caught a glimpse of that person and thought to himself. A 3rd-year student with a pair of axes. The executioner's axes. Looks like Kang Gujang won't get past him easily. Initially, I was just planning to get this done quietly. But I might have to step in and help. He whispered to Gujang. Sunbae Nim, you know how to use Butterfly Dream, right? She was very surprised by the question. How do you know that? Kim Ho brushed it off without explaining. There's no time to explain. You know how to use it, right? Gujang frowned slightly, but I haven't mastered it yet. It's only rank C. Kim Ho decided to give her a little boost. That's enough. Her skill increased from rank C to rank A. Gujang couldn't believe her eyes. What? How did you do that? Kim Ho pointed and urged her on. There's no time, hurry up. Gujang frowned at him, confused. Who is he really? But she quickly pushed aside her doubts to cast the spell. But Shadow Butterfly Dream. Sahan also noticed something unusual. Damn it, intruders. He quickly swung his weapon at it, but there were still a lot of butterflies. The two were hiding in a corner, watching as Sihan was swarmed. She was also sweating. Took down that guy with the thing with just one move. That's the power of rank A. Gujang turned to remind him. Hey, we need to have a private talk later. For now, let's just focus on finishing the mission. Everyone, grab what you need and let's get out of here. The two guys immediately replied, Roger. Kim Ho, holding the cube, thought to himself. Now it's time to go shopping. At Satyong Academy, the criterion for an item to be banned is because of its side effects. If it causes physical or mental harm, it will be placed on the prohibited list. Among them, I need to find items that were banned because of the elemental penalty, lightning stone, penalty paralysis. Because with S-rank elemental resistance, I can neutralize that penalty. That should be enough stuff. Now to find some skill books. After all, skills with elemental penalties are usually quite powerful. Let's see, there's definitely something useful here. He was also quite surprised with himself. I can't believe I found it here. I don't have any combat skills, so just in case I'll learn this too. Shungi walked in and said calmly, working late into the night like this? You guys seem to be working very hard. Satyong Academy. 3rd-year Student Council President Song Chungi. The semester has just started and you're already stealing Kang Gujang. Gujang was caught between a rock and a hard place. The Student Council President is also stepping out to support the disciplinary committee. First it was Wax Gung Ji, and now note Wax Kung Ji is unclear leaving as is. It's President Song Chungi too. He spoke to them with the serious expression. That's enough talking. Put everything down and come with us to the disciplinary office. But she was still trying to find a way out. The longer we drag this out, the harder it will be for us to escape. In that case, everyone run. They were all enveloped. Shadow Field creates a dome of darkness to conceal allies. Duration 5 minutes. The shadows immediately darted away. Sungyin looked into a communication orb. The intruders have left the temporary storage. Don't let anyone escape, understand? Meanwhile, Kim Ho was running very fast. Something flashed past. It slammed right into the wall next to Kim Ho. Sungyin appeared right behind him. You dodged that? Not bad. He was also surprised by the appearance. Sungyin. When did this guy get here? His face has a rather dangerous look to it. I'm pretty familiar with the faces from the thieving club, but I've never seen you before. Are you a freshman? Not answering, so I don't reveal my voice. Pretty smart of you. Looks like you have no intention of surrendering, huh? As the opponent attacks, he counters. He's very surprised, but also full of anger. Lightning Bird useless. The two sides' techniques clash loudly. This fight is tough. I've never seen this level of control before. If I hadn't put up a defensive spell beforehand, I'd probably have been knocked out. Kim Ho quickly dashes past. Sungyin is a little startled. For a freshman, you're not half bad, but there won't be a second time. A series of gun barrels are aimed straight at him. Sungyin shouts, "This is the end." A hail of bullets follows, attacking him directly. His eyes are full of confidence. This arrogant brat, no one has ever taken that hit, and suddenly the temperature here is rising, huh? What is this? Why is it so hot? Kim Ho has decided to use a skill to counter. Sung-yeon recognizes the skill at a glance. Could it be that skill? He struggles to cast Triple Stone Wall in response. That's definitely a forbidden skill. Only a madman would dare to use it. Damn it! Just then, Kim Ho got into position. An Inferno Fist is immediately unleashed. It punches right through Sung-yeon's stone wall. Kim Ho looks astonished. He looks at his own fist and exclaims, "Harder to control than I thought. Power of this magnitude really isn't easy to control," he thought to himself. Luckily, no one was seriously injured, so the Academy probably won't interfere. But Sung-yeon is from the Six Treasures Tower. Moreover, the disciplinary committee will definitely get involved. They will probably turn everything upside down to find me. What a pain. But they won't be able to find me anyway. Just then, a loud voice echoes from the hallway behind. "This way, I just heard a loud noise over there." Kim Ho is startled. He immediately looks over. Damn it. I've got to get out of here before I'm caught. Just as he leaves, Chun-hee arrives with her people. She calls out in alarm, "Sunbae, get him to the infirmary quickly." A while later, at the disciplinary committee room, the Room of Truth, Kang Gu-chang sits in the chair yelling in frustration. "How much longer are you going to keep me here? If you're going to deduct points, just do it already so I can go home." Chun-hee doesn't want to talk anymore and turns to leave. "My work here is done. I'm leaving first. I'm sick of this kind of stuff." But Osahan forces a smile. All right. Take a look at this first. If you cooperate, you'll get to go home soon." As he speaks, he holds out a stack of papers to her. This is the head of the disciplinary committee, Oh Si-han. She takes the papers. She asks blankly, "What's this?" She thinks to herself, "Looks like he has a good eye for things." All small but expensive items. Across from her, Oh Se-han continues speaking. "Gu-chang, you know about this, right?" "I don't know how you guys did it, but the Academy lost a lot of items this time." Kang Gu-chang shrugs. "How would I know? This is the first time I've ever seen these items." Oh Se-han reminds her helplessly, "If you keep denying it, everyone will have to take joint responsibility." Hearing that, she reluctantly agrees. "Ugh, fine. I'll take the fall." Oh Se-han can finally breathe a sigh of relief. "I knew it!" The official punishment starts tomorrow. Kang Gu-chang cheerfully walks out. She even turns back to give a wink. "All right, I'm off." As soon as she steps out, a group of people rush forward and ask worriedly, "Are you okay? What about the punishment?" She replies cheerfully, "You all worked hard. Let's talk more back at the club room." "Wait, why are there only 4 of you? Where's the other one?" Chun-hee lets out an annoyed sigh, playing innocent until the very end. "You've got some nerve." Kang Gu-chang is still confused. Why are you being so tense all of a sudden?" Chun-hee can't hold it in anymore. She immediately turns and yells, "A member of your club used Inferno Fist. Senior Seo Young-jae is in the infirmary right now. It was almost a major accident." Hearing that, her smile immediately becomes stiff. What Seo Young-jae was taken down. In her heart, she exclaims, and with Inferno Fist 2 back in the room, Kang Gu-chang's panicked voice rings out immediately. "Hey, Kim Ho, is your hand okay?" "Not a single scratch." "Didn't you use Inferno Fist?" He smiles and rotates his wrist a few times. "I wouldn't use it without a safety measure." Kang Gu-chang frowns helplessly. "I see. You're pretty calculating, huh? All right, are the other items okay?" He replies and immediately summons them. "Yeah, here they are." As soon as she sees it, Kang Gu-chang's eyes light up. She grins so wide she's practically drooling. "Oh my God! They're so beautiful. How can their colors be so gorgeous?" It turns out, inside the box were countless sparkling item gems. They shimmered and shone. Kim Ho pours out the gems and asks, "So our deal is done right?" She immediately replies this was a sweet deal. Hearing that, Kim Ho immediately turns around. "Then I'll be going." But she quickly calls him back. "Hey, wait a minute, Kim Ho. Do you want to join our club? I'll treat you well." He smiles and asks, "Is this an invitation?" At that moment, Kang Gu-chang, without any hesitation, points straight at him and says, "I've been watching you." That kind of arrogance and greed. "One look and I know you're a real thief." To this statement, he can only force a smile. "Are you trying to recruit me or just messing with me? Either way, I refuse." Kang Gu-chang immediately jumps to her feet, exclaiming, "Huh? Why?" He holds out the box to her and asks, "You're inviting me because of this life cube?" "Right, I'm planning on selling it." Hearing that, her movements freeze. "What?" He explains, "I need season passes for the special training room." About 4 of them. The corners of Kang Gu-chang's mouth twitch repeatedly. 4 passes for being able to evade the forbidden waves, that's a bit too expensive. Kim Ho replies nonchalantly. Evading the forbidden waves is just a secondary function. The main function is what's valuable. She's a little curious. "The main function, what is it?" He says, "I'll show you the item description, but in return I need you to do something for me." Kang Gu-chang can't help but frown. "Oh boy, what's the condition now? Spit it out." Kim Ho maintains a confident smile and says, "Just send a message for me to the head of the Magic Engineering Club. saying that a freshman has perfected the 10x10 cube. 10. Kangoo Chang nods. That's easy? All right, show me the item description. And so a moment later she exclaims in shock, what it increases. The effectiveness of stored life system items by 1.3 times. An item like this actually exists. So this is the life cube B. Increases the effectiveness of stored life system items by 1.3 times. Kangoo Chang rubs her chin, pondering. I admit it's worth the price you're asking. Kim Ho smiles and asks, so that's settled, right? I'm leaving now. But just then she adds, Kim Ho, even without this item, my invitation still stands, so think it over carefully. Kim Ho lets out a helpless sigh but replies politely, yes, Sunbae. A few days later on the Dragon Slayer Academy campus, they are getting ready for class. As he walks, Kim Ho turns and asks Celine, how was your weekend? She replies wearily, it was okay. He asks again, what kind of okay makes you look so worn out on a Monday morning? Just then, he feels something is off and glances behind him. Is someone following me? Probably someone from the Six Treasures Tower or the Nature Club. I could just ignore them. But this is going to be a pain if it keeps up. Maybe I should just deal with them first. With that thought, he tells Celine, you go on ahead. I have something to take care of. I'll catch up with you as soon as I'm done. Looking back, Young Suji and Seo Young Jae are still following. Celine agrees. Immediately after, Kim Ho turns around and asks them bluntly, hey, you two have been following me for a while now. What's up? If you have something to say, just spit it out. Sungyeon sighs and says with a bitter smile, great. This saves us both some trouble. We're from the Six Treasures Tower? Is that a good enough answer for you? Young Suji is a little surprised. He just revealed it like that. Then she forces a smile and says, our captain wants to meet you. Would you please come with us? Kim Ho replies firmly, I have nothing to do with the Six Treasures Tower. If they want something, tell them to come find me themselves. Sungyeon then chimes in, talking is useless. Guys like this only understand fists. Kim Ho replies coolly, I think you're right. Immediately after, a lightning bird suddenly zips towards him out of nowhere. With a zap, he's knocked out by Kim Ho. Young Suji, standing beside him, exclaims in shock, lightning bird! Kim Ho then holds out a hand towards them. He frowns. If you want to fight, then hurry up. I don't have time to play around with you. Young Suji quickly backs down with a conciliatory smile. Ah, no, sorry to bother you, she thinks. That level of control over Lightning Bird? He's definitely a pro. It's best not to get involved in unnecessary trouble. With that, she kneels beside Seungyeon. I'll take this guy back. You can go on ahead. Kim Ho immediately turns away, leaving a nonchalant comment. Good thing at least one of you knows their place. As Young Suji helps her friend up, she asks, hey, the rumor about him being a coward must be wrong, huh? Seungyeon clutches his chest, gets up, and yells in frustration, wrong my ass. That guy just got lucky with one hit. Next time I'll definitely... But before he can finish his sentence, a bullet is fired from behind. Young Suji turns in horror. A sniper! Where did that come from? But there's another bullet aimed straight at her head. She's shot and falls backward, completely indignant. Why me too? And in the end, both of them are knocked flat on their backs. Inside the classroom, the professor's voice drones on. The reason the dungeon is designed so complexly is to drain your resources before you reach the center. If you use everything up before you get there, the raid is a guaranteed failure. Kim Ho then turns to look at Celine, who has just walked in, and asks, why did you get here after me when you left first? Did you go somewhere? Seeing that she doesn't answer, he turns back to continue listening to the lecture. So this raid is a time trial. You can practice in the dungeon as many times as you like. However, the official result will only be counted once. To be considered complete, within 5 minutes, you must reach the totem and destroy it. Therefore, it's best to find the optimal route during practice, before you go for the scored run. The teacher is lecturing about the Goblin Swamp map. Time trial rules. 5-minute limit, 1 or 2 person dungeon. All right. That's all for today's class. As soon as he hears that, Shin Byung-chun leans forward. He cheerfully suggests, Go Hyun-woo, let's do the 2-person dungeon together. He's a little surprised. He stammers, with you, Kim Ho waves his hand. It's fine. You two go ahead. Hearing him say that, Go Hyun-woo says a bit shyly, if Kim Ho says so, then, I'll go with Shin. Kim Ho turns and thinks, good, then I'll go with... Before he can finish the thought, Celine turns to him and says, go with me. A moment later, in another room, Sungyeon is pinned against a bookshelf. An angry voice rings out. How humiliating. Your older brother, a member of the disciplinary committee, was defeated by a thief. You two brothers are a real disgrace to me. Didn't you say that guy was just a coward? And what was that about how even if he had a ton of support, he still couldn't beat you? You're pathetic. After saying that, he turns and throws Sungyeon to the ground. He walks back to his chair, sits down, and sighs. I had a bad feeling about this from the start. The person next to him adds, either way, we should probably meet him once. She is the head of the Nature Club of the Guild Alliance, Ha Soyeon. and the person beside her is the Six Treasures Tower's MANHWA. He replies seriously, I suppose we'll have to, because of that guy. The reputation of the Six Treasures Tower has hit rock bottom. The mysterious box that he possesses isn't enough to settle this. He must pay the price for looking down on us. Sungyun struggles to get up and says with a trembling voice, I will atone for my mistake. But MANHWA just asks back indifferently, what right do you have to speak here? Sungyun quickly makes an excuse, I was just careless that time. Please give me one more chance. The atmosphere around MANHWA suddenly turns dark. He lowers his voice. If you lose one more time, you're out of the club. Do you still want a chance? Hearing that Sungyun quickly seizes the opportunity. Of course I believe I can do it. Hearing that he replies, all right, I'll lend you my golem. This time you must crush him. Sungyun immediately bows respectfully. I will definitely win. A while later at the Goblin Swamp. As Kim Ho speeds up, he tells Celine, this is just practice. No need to rush. She replies, okay. He calculates in his head, to get the best rewards. For both the solo and duo dungeons, I have to complete both within 1 minute. Beside him is a notification panel. It reads as follows. Side quest week 2, strategy match. Objective. Complete the strategy dungeon, solo dungeon, due dungeon, deadline Sunday midnight. Reward depends on remaining time. Looking at the scene ahead, Kim Ho thinks to himself, the solo dungeon should be fine. But the problem is the duo dungeon. If I tell Celine the attack patterns, it'll be very easy, but she won't be able to grow that way. I need to let her learn on her own through practice mode. Just then, a powerful monster appears before them, the Goblin Executioner. He immediately stops short. Then he turns and asks Celine, should we avoid it like in the first practice run, or try to take it down? She looks at the goblin for a moment, then asks back, if I take it down, will I get more time? Right. He answers a powerful monster adds 120 seconds. Hearing that, Celine becomes much more confident and replies, then I'll try to take it down. She immediately springs into action. Kim Ho replies, okay, I'll back you up, and unleashes a lightning bird at the goblin. But unfortunately, with just a swipe of its hand, it deflects the attack. But in a flash, Celine appears right next to the monster and quickly fires a shot at it. But it's unharmed. In fact, its face becomes even more vicious. It winds up, spins around, and charges towards them. It swings its blade straight down at Celine. She's slightly stunned, but quickly regains the upper hand. Just then, someone uses reinforce. A hand extends accompanied by a firm voice. Don't even think about it. Level up Lightning Bird, EC. With a few zaps, the monster is knocked off balance, and the one who used that move was none other than Kim Ho. Now Celine takes aim again accurately. The info panel immediately appears. Total time remaining, 18 seconds. Goblins defeated 2. Powerful monster defeated plus 120s. Total time remaining 2 minutes 29 seconds. 149 bonus points, completion 500 points. Total 649 points. Kim Ho looks at the panel and tells Celine, we've shortened our time. Compared to the first try, let's try even harder next time. She replies with a, Hey, can you give me another lesson on mana bullets? Kim Ho smiles and lets out a breath. He thinks to himself, she really is competitive. It seems like struggling against that strong monster hurt her pride. Then he makes a suggestion. So let's stop practicing and head to the training center. She immediately replies, yeah, that's a good idea. After a moment, the scene shifts to the training center. The shooting range. Kim Ho's voice rings out. Today I'll teach you a skill called force projection. Right now your mana bullets and your gun are perfect, but you're still just using them as tools. Let me demonstrate to make it easier to understand. Imagine your hand is a magic gun, then focus your mana and release it at the exact moment you snap your fingers. That's the basics of force projection. It's quite similar to creating a mana bullet. Okay, try doing it with your hand first. First, concentrate mana at your fingertip. Celine immediately follows. He says again, then, before he can finish, the bullet flies backward straight into his head. Kim Ho forces a smile. Why did it shoot backward? Now try again without using a mana bullet. As long as you can project the mana outward, it's considered a success. Keep practicing like that. Let me go buy some things for dinner. Hearing that, Celine immediately speaks up. Wait, hold on a second. He immediately turns back with a huh. Celine holds out a card to him and says, use this. Kim Ho's movements freeze instantly. A black card. Rich girls are on another level. Down in the cafeteria, he orders a small donut. And at a nearby table, Chun-Hee is happily chatting with a friend. It really is the limited edition, huh? Handsome laughs in reply. Yeah, it was worth the wait. And when she sees him, she cheerfully calls out, hey! Chun-Hee immediately turns and asks, who's over there? Kim Ho politely waves back, hello. As soon as Chun-Hee gets a clear look, her face shows her annoyance. She mutters, why is it that guy? But then she thinks, no, this is good. I have something I need to confirm. She shoots up from her seat and says, excuse me, but can I see your hand for a moment? Hearing that Kim Ho is a little bewildered, why do you suddenly want to see my hand? Chun-hee silently analyzes the mysterious thief used Inferno, Fist at the temporary storage, someone who can control Lightning Bird at a professional level, is acquainted with members of the thieving club. It's highly likely it's him. She smiles and says, "It's just like a palm reading. I want to check for a certain sign." In her heart, she speculates, if he used Inferno Fist, there would definitely be burns on his hand. Over on the other side, Kim Ho feigns surprise. "I didn't know you could read palms." Chun-hee smiles confidently. Just as expected, he's getting nervous. She asks again, "So you're not going to show me, is there a reason?" But contrary to her thoughts, Kim Ho holds out his hand and replies nonchalantly, "Here, take a look." Seeing this, she is bewildered. "Huh, I want to see the other hand too." Kim Ho immediately holds out his other hand. "Huh, you're very thorough." Chun-hee's heart is suddenly in turmoil. "No way, how is it perfectly normal?" After a moment, Kim Ho has to speak up. "Can you let go of my hand now? How much longer do I have to do this?" Realizing her gaffe, Chun-hee immediately looks away and says loudly, "I apologize for the disturbance," but Kim Ho speaks up, "Wait, you have to tell me my palm reading results. So is there any romance in my future?" Chun-hee turns back and snaps loudly, "You're going to face many difficulties ahead. A great many." Then she storms off. Kim Ho watches her go and can't help but chuckle to himself. Looks like they're still looking for the culprit in the storage incident. But it seems I'm in the clear for now. The next day, Kim Ho is training with Celine again. He says loudly, "Just do it like we practiced." She replies, "Got it," and gets into position. Celine draws her gun and fires a few shots. The goblin, of course, can't dodge and takes the full hit. Another one is in worse shape, shot right in the chin, and finally, they have chased the goblin, leader. Boom. Unexpectedly, Celine's bullet shatters the goblin's blade. The notification panel immediately appears. Time remaining 1 minute 20 seconds, goblins defeated 28. Powerful monster defeated plus 120s. Total time remaining 3 minutes 48 seconds. 28 bonus points, completion 500 points. Total 728 points. The two immediately give each other a cheerful high five. Kim Ho turns and smiles, saying, "Nice work. Looks like we're reaping the rewards of yesterday's training, huh?" But when he sees Celine's beaming face, Kim Ho can't hide his surprise. Is she smiling? After that, they get ready to enter the practice match again. Before going in, Kim Ho carefully reminds Celine, the solo dungeon probably isn't too hard, but just to be safe, try the practice mode a few times before you go in. She replies, "Okay." Watching the girls slowly walk away, Kim Ho smiles faintly. "Since I've cleared the duo dungeon, I should be able to do this on my own now. Finally, I can concentrate on my own mission." Right after that, a notification appears, entering Goblin Swamp. Very quickly, he goes through the portal and enters the practice match. As soon as he's inside, Kim Ho can't hide his excitement. "All right, let's clear this place out quickly." He immediately gets into a stance, then unleashes an attack straight ahead. The monsters can't avoid it and are swallowed by his flames. In no time, the path ahead has been cleared. Kim Ho smiles awkwardly. He thinks to himself, even though I know it's an artificial dungeon, I think I might have overdone it a bit. As expected, controlling the power of this skill is really difficult. Maybe I should delete the replay before I leave. Beside him is a notification panel with the following content. Time remaining 4 minutes 42 seconds. Goblins defeated 71, powerful monster defeated plus 120s. Total time remaining 7 minutes 28 seconds. 448 bonus points, 500 completion points. Total 948 points. Looking at the total score, Minho thought to himself, anyway, since I took down a strong monster and got bonus points, the reward should be top tier. Just then, the system displayed another notification. Side Quest Week 2 Strategic Match. Objective complete. Dungeon cleared. Single dungeon time remaining. 7 min 28 sec of 5 min. 2 dungeon time remaining. Min 48 sec 5 min. The reward will be upgraded. Please select your reward. 1 Seed of Prosperity. Increases the effectiveness of recovery and enhancement skills. The Phantasm increases the effectiveness of debuff skills and illusion skills. The Blessing of the West Wind increases the effectiveness of wind element skills. Minho immediately selected the reward, thinking, there's no need to overthink this. I took on this quest from the beginning, with this trait as my goal. This is the perfect trait for the path I'm planning to take. An all-around supporter, both powerful and useful in a support role. Instantly, a system notification appeared. Obtained the Blessing of the West Wind trait, Minho affirmed to himself. Now I'll be a wind element supporter. Soon after, he stepped through the spatial gate. Just then a voice called out, "You're Kim Min-ho." "Right, I'm Mo Donghua, representative of the Hexahedron Tower." The person next to him also spoke up. "I'm Ha Soyeon, president of the Nature Club. Can we go somewhere else to talk for a moment?" "No, let's go to a cafe." She immediately bowed her head. "First of all, I want to apologize for what happened the other day," Minho replied politely. "I also acted rudely because I was in a hurry. I apologize," she continued. "Anyway, I heard you have a special item. Is that right? He replied. I figured you two came here for it. She made another proposal. Can we see that item with our own eyes? Minho immediately took out the cube and replied cheerfully, of course. Just then a tiger spirit suddenly appeared and quickly jumped into the cube. Its owner saw this and tried to call Biome, but it was no use. Mo Donghua witnessed the scene and couldn't help but be amazed. So it's real. The tiger's owner urgently called, Biome, get out of there now. But Minho said, it's okay, just leave it be. Ha Soyan, however, looked astonished. Biome seems to really like that thing. Just by sensing its energy, you can tell. This is a powerful life element relic. May I see the item description? We promise. We'll protect this information with the honor of our club. Minho didn't hesitate to reply. If you two say so, then all right. Looking at the description, Mo Donghua couldn't help but exclaim, increases the effectiveness of stored life element items by 1.3 times. Ah Soyan was just as shocked. What an absurd item. Would you be willing to sell this cube? Minho immediately crossed his arms, pretended to think for a moment, and then replied, I don't know. After all, it's an extremely good item. Mo Donghua quickly chimed in, an item's true value only shines in the hands of someone who knows how to use it. Don't let it go to waste. Hand it over to us. Minho snorted, inwardly delighted. You guys being this proactive, I honestly appreciate it. Outwardly, he remained calm and replied, I understand what you mean, but I'm still a bit hesitant. Ha Soyan immediately offered, name your price. We'll do our best to meet it. Hearing this, Minho couldn't contain his joy. He thought to himself, yes, that's more like it. He held up 4 fingers and said confidently, in that case, 4 season passes for the special training room. To be precise, 1 season pass, and items equivalent to the other 3 passes, and I want a blank skill book. Hearing this, the two of them were startled. Mo Donghua slammed the table and stood up shouting, that's absolutely absurd. Don't you think you're being too greedy? Ha Soyan was calmer, but still said, the season pass is fine, but a blank skill book is a bit much. Minho also stood up, feigning regret. In that case, let's just pretend this exchange never happened. I'll be on my way. But just then a voice rang out. Hey! The girl stood up and shyly walked over. I was listening from the back. I have a blank skill book. Ha Soyan asked worriedly, are you sure about this, Nari? She answered honestly, I haven't been able to use it yet, because I haven't thought of a good skill. If I just leave it, it'll probably stay in my inventory forever. Besides, look how much Biome likes it. Hearing this, Biome immediately purred happily. Ha Soyan sighed and looked at her helplessly. All right, if Nari really wants to, then fine. She immediately beamed with a radiant smile. Thanks. They immediately took out their items and began the exchange. Now that the conditions are met, let's not waste any more time and make the trade, Minho replied cheerfully. I like working quickly like this too. It was a good trade, wasn't it? Now our business here is done. But just then, Sung-jae suddenly slammed the table, stood up and shouted, wait, I still have other business with you besides that cube. Kim Minho, I want to challenge you to a duel. But he simply replied nonchalantly, no thanks. Hearing this, he exclaimed in astonishment, what? Minho retorted, you think I have to come when you call and fight when? You want me to? Sung-jae gritted his teeth and growled, a duel is an honorable thing. Someone who values honor like you was planning to jump me with your crew before. Hearing this, they were all startled. That was... Minho, however, casually walked away, adding, I have no intention of wasting my time on something not worth it. Sung-jae's movements immediately stiffened. Wait, Minho said again, I'll say you won. So you can go and brag about it. Just then, Mo Donghua held out a production VIP pass and said seriously, in that case, what if I put up a reward for this match? Is this enough to make it worth your time? Minho turned back. Oh, he said to himself. Now we're talking. He smiled and replied, all right, I accept. Sung-jae pointed straight at Minho and said, I'll let you decide the date. He thought for a moment and replied, 2 days from now sounds good. Sung-jae raised an eyebrow slightly, asking, why in 2 days? He replied, I need to master this thing first. Hearing this, Mo Donghua looked helpless. He shook his head, looking incredulous. Create and master a skill in just 2 days. All right then, let's see you try to learn it. But Minho just smiled and replied, just you wait. 2 days later at the arena, Kang Gujang arrived and immediately asked, Kim Minho that guy? Why did he accept the challenge? Song Chun-gi saw her arrive and smiled, asking, you came too senior. She added, that sly fox. Mo Donghua is definitely hiding all sorts of tricks. But he comforted her, saying, he accepted because he believes he can win. And he probably has his own plans. Kang Gujang was still extremely worried. She sighed, yeah, maybe so. But something strange, she thought to herself. I have to watch very carefully to see if he tries any funny business. Down below, Sung-jae put on his gloves and said sarcastically, I'll give you credit for not running away. Minho replied calmly, with a VIP pass on the line like that, how could I refuse? From up high, Mo Donghua also called down. This match will be recorded, and anyone can watch it. Do you both agree? Both of them answered in unison, agreed. Hearing this, Mo Donghua immediately announced, "Then let's begin. Both of you enter the field. Map rocky terrain, rule deathmatch. Time limit 10 minutes. Kim Min-ho versus Yi Seungjae, 100%. Begin." As soon as he entered, Seungjae immediately got into a stance and said confidently, "You were lucky last time, but this time will be different. I'll show you the difference in our levels." But Min-ho was completely unfazed. On the contrary, he calmly performed a spell. Seeing the gesture, his body immediately froze. Earthbind what? In no time, he was knocked down. Min-ho asked nonchalantly, "So what were you going to show me?" "It's just a dirt floor. It doesn't hurt, you're overreacting." As soon as Seungjae got up, he immediately cast the spell Earth Sphere. He roared in anger, "Let's see how long you can stay calm." Then he immediately threw the sphere towards Min-ho. But even as the ball of earth was about to hit him, Min-ho didn't even bother to dodge. He just needed to flick it and the rock was deflected. Seeing this, Seungjae couldn't help but gasp in amazement. What, he's pulling that trick again? How in the world? And then he was hit by a staff again. He scrambled to get up, clutching his back. He gritted his teeth in anger, thinking, "Damn it, I can't let this continue." As he struggled to his feet, he said, "All right, I admit you're not a coward." But inwardly he thought, "I didn't want to use this. But the winner of this match will be me." With that, he placed both hands on the ground and shouted, "Now watch this." Instantly, a monster appeared. It was a wood golem. A golem, refined by borrowing the power of the forest to give life to an ancient tree. Kanggu! Zhang, watching from outside, gritted her teeth in anger. "These bastards, this is going too far. What's a level 3 golem doing here? Mo Donghua, you shameless bastard." Mo Donghua was also extremely surprised. He frowned slightly. I was hoping he wouldn't use it, but oh well. Kang Gujang felt uneasy. She thought, with this many people watching, he won't dare use his fire fist. Isn't anyone going to stop this? Meanwhile, Seungjae was gloating, laughing loudly. "Let's see if you can escape this." Golem unscathed. Say goodbye to your showboating. But faced with this, Min-ho just remained silent without a trace of emotion. 2 days ago, special training room. Min-ho was studying a book asking himself, what kind of support mage is the most useful? The answer to that question depends on the situation. That's why there are many types of support like healing buffing and debuffing. But for a versatile type, no skill is better than this one. Back to the present. Seungjae continued to gloat, shouting, "I'll crush you in a single blow. Now show me your tricks." The golem on the other side heard the command. It immediately raised its hand high, winding up. Slam. Its giant arm came crashing down, but Min-ho jumped up and dodged it. As he moved, he assessed the situation. For someone aiming to be a wind element supporter like me, this is the most optimal skill to create from a blank skill book. In a single blow, Min-ho knocked the golem backward. It let out a roar, while Min-ho felt incredibly refreshed. Instantly, a system notification appeared. Wind Force infuses physical power into wind. Enhanced by blessing of the west wind. Enhanced by enhancement. Back to the stands. Everyone immediately shouted, "Nice job, that was impressive. They made you fight a golem. And you still won?" Meanwhile, Mo Donghua was trembling with anger, but he finally had to hold out a ticket. "Here, the VIP pass as promised." Min-ho accepted it cheerfully. "Thanks. Can I suggest one more thing? It won't hurt you guys. How about we keep the replay of this match private? I'm sure Hexahedron Tower doesn't want to publicize this match, right?" Mo Donghua gritted his teeth, but still had to force a polite tone. "You're quite clever. So what do you want in return?" Min-ho winked. "I don't need anything right now, but I might need a favor later on." He immediately turned away. "Fine." Watching his retreating figure, Min-ho thought, it may sound generous, but I actually want to keep this a secret too. The news about my new skill Wind Force, I want it to spread as slowly as possible. At that moment, Go Hyunu walked over and praised him. "Kim Min-ho, you did great." Min-ho immediately turned and offered him the pass. "Ah, perfect timing. This is your season pass." Seeing the pass held out before him, he was so surprised his jaw dropped. "You got it!" Min-ho immediately winked at him. "Didn't I say I'd have it in 2 weeks?" Kang Gujang also came over and put an arm around his shoulder, asking, "Hey, what kind of deal did you make with Mo Donghua?" "You're a real hustler." Min-ho could only manage a wry smile. "Nothing gets past you, senior. We'll talk about that later." "Ah, and about that favor I asked for the other day." Kang Gujang let go of his shoulder and asked blankly, "You mean the Magic Engineering Club? They seem to want to meet you soon." That's all Min-ho needed to hear to light up with joy. "That's great, let's go meet them." Shortly after, at Magic Engineering Workshop number 1. As soon as the door opened, Min-ho was completely amazed. "So this is Workshop number 1, it looks so fancy." He announced, "Excuse me." Then he added another comment. "It's completely different from Workshop number 4 where I got the cube." Just then someone from inside stepped out and asked, "You're Kim Min-ho?" "Right," he immediately replied. "Yes, hello, senior. You are..." He immediately introduced himself. "Bong Jae-sok. I heard about you from Kang Gujang." He was Bong Jae-sok, a third-year president of the Magic Engineering Club. He turned and told Minho, "Let's go to the club room to talk. Follow me." Minho immediately followed. But he thought to himself, he seems to be in a real hurry. As soon as they were inside, Bong Jae-seok began. "So, you really completed the 10x10x10 cube? Right then I'll be blunt. Technically speaking, that cube belongs to our club, but I don't want to cause any trouble. Anyway, besides you, no one else could complete it. I just want to take a look at it. So if you just show me the completed cube, we'll call it even." Hearing this, Minho just replied nonchalantly, "Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore." Hearing that, he was so surprised he blurted out, "Where is it?" Minho answered honestly, "I left it with the nature club." Bong Jae-seok turned away slightly and sighed. "What a drag, such a waste of time, I'm leaving." But just then, Minho held out a stack of papers. "Did you think I came empty-handed?" He was a bit baffled. "What's this?" Looking closely at the contents, Bong Jae-seok yelled, "No way is this its blueprint. I can't believe someone was crazy enough to record its entire structure. Wait a minute. This version is cut off in the middle. Do you have the rest?" Minho smiled and let out a sigh of relief. "Of course. I'm keeping it safe." Bong Jae-seok immediately said urgently, "Name your price, just say it." Minho's eyes immediately lit up. He raised his hand and said, "I want to use the equipment in workshop number 1. Bong Jae-seok immediately made a proposal. "We need to use it during the day, so you can only use it from midnight until morning." "How does that sound?" Minho immediately replied, "Deal." Hearing that, Bong Jae-seok immediately reached out and grabbed the stack of documents. He said loudly, "Then give me the rest. Oh, by the way, do you want to join the club?" Minho smiled and replied, "Thanks, but I'll have to decline." Bong Jae-seok stood up, seemingly a little disappointed. "A shame, but anyway, just use the scrap materials in the workshop if you need to. Just keep bringing me blueprints, like this one." "All right, I'm heading out." Faced with this situation, Minho could only manage a wry smile. "Thanks, that was quick." When he was alone, Minho thought seriously, so the basics are done. Now let's start preparing to craft my weapon. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Seungjae was following Mo Donghua, constantly pleading. "Senior, please reconsider." He asked coldly back, "Why?" He explained, "You can't completely blame my brother. How many freshmen can fight against a golem, especially a level 3 golem?" He said coldly. "Even so, that incident still damaged the reputation of Hexahedron Tower." Seungjae's brother sincerely admitted fault. "I admit it was my brother's fault for overreacting, but it wasn't his fault alone." Hearing this, Mo Donghua's movements froze. He turned back and gritted his teeth. The disciplinary committee is interfering in the affairs of Hexahedron Tower. He stood there firmly and said, "I just want a fair judgment." In the end, Mo Donghua could only concede. He sighed. "So what do you want?" He suggested, "Just give him a chance." Mo Donghua firmly made a proposal. 2 months. The decision will be based on Seungjae's WAG's ranking after 2 months. Any objections? He immediately nodded. "No, that's more than enough." With that settled, Mo Donghua immediately turned and left. Soon only Seungjae's brother was left in the hallway. Just then he spoke again. "Song Chun-hee." It turned out she was hiding behind eavesdropping. Hearing him call her name, she jumped and then shyly stepped out. "You knew I was here," he said seriously. "I knew since you snuck into the stands. It seems hiding isn't your strong suit. You know how the match turned out, right? If you fought him, could you win?" She bowed her head slightly, thought for a moment, then replied, "I'm not so sure." This surprised him a little. "Not sure? Did you check his hands?" Chun-hee lifted her face and said firmly, "I did. Not a single scratch on either hand." Hearing that, Seungjae's brother immediately rubbed his chin, thinking seriously. If he used Fire Fist, it couldn't have healed that quickly. Could I have been mistaken? But that arrogant look in his eyes, as if everything was beneath him. It's hard to believe if it's not the same person. Then Seungjae's brother sighed again. "Sorry, but I'll have to ask you to continue with this." She replied firmly, "No need to apologize. I'm doing this because I want to. I'll definitely catch him when he lets his guard down." Week 3 Monday, a notification appeared. Random map, rule 2v2 deathmatch, limit 10 minutes. Lee Sudeok also appeared, seriously explaining the rules. "This time, teamwork is as important as last week. But the objective is different. You might even notice flaws in your teamwork that you haven't noticed before. To fix those flaws, the Academy has prepared a mentorship program. So, think carefully and take advantage of this opportunity. That's all." The crowd started asking each other, "Kim Minho, did you sign up for the mentorship program?" Just then a notification appeared. "Mentorship registration complete." Kim Minho also replied, "I did. There's no reason to hesitate." Minho held up 3 fingers and explained seriously, "They'll pair you with a high-ranking 3rd year, or a graduate, depending on your inclination. Who knows when we'll get another chance to learn from these people, right?" Hearing this, Go Hyunu became more confident. He replied, "Right then, I'll sign up too. Thanks for the suggestion." Then Minho turned and asked his desk mate, "What about you, Seoljin?" She just replied lethargically, "It's too much work, I'm sleepy." He sighed. He thought, she's only just learned how to create aura grenades. To some extent, Seoljin still has a lot to learn, so this mentorship program is very important for her. Isn't there any way to convince her? Just then Go Hyunwoo spoke up again. Oh hey, Kim Minho want to partner up with me this week. He replied cheerfully, sure, let's team up this time. Instantly Seoljin sat up. She drowsily tugged on Minho's sleeve and said, I want to be on your team too. Go Hyunwoo immediately made a suggestion. How about this? Since there are 2 matches this week, why don't we split up and each partner for 1 match? Minho gave a wry smile. So my decision doesn't matter anymore. Seoljin, however, nodded in agreement. That sounds reasonable. Hearing this, Go Hyunwoo immediately stood up. He said, then I'm off to train. You 2 go on ahead. Minho also replied, yes, see you tomorrow. The next day, Go Hyunwoo approached from a distance. He said shyly, sorry, Kim Minho, didn't mean to keep you waiting. He replied politely, I just got here too. But suddenly he looked extremely surprised. He exclaimed inwardly, huh, what is this? His aura is even sharper than yesterday. Go Hyunwoo was now talking excitedly. I'm really looking forward to this, Minho assessed. It seems his mana core has also leveled up to C rank, faster than I thought. Just then he asked, were you okay partnering with Seoljin yesterday? He scratched his head and sighed. Well, we won. But remembering yesterday, the 2 opponents were surrounded by his fireball spell. He recalled yesterday's opponent was MANHWA, the rising star of the Crimson Jade Tower. I knew that Seoljin wasn't a match for a rising star, but the result was more one-sided than I thought. Countless notifications appeared on the announcement board. Seoljin 81%, Seoljin 78%, Seoljin 74%. Minho couldn't help but sigh. In the end, what I was worried about happened. Seoljin has absolutely no defensive ability. With that thought, he stomped his foot hard and then dashed towards the 2 of them. Arriving, he immediately got into a stance. Then he delivered a critical blow. He was hit. He was immediately thrown far away. This made MANHWA extremely surprised, and his face at that moment, but he was also extremely fierce at that time. A moment later, he opened the matchmaking interface and continued, I tried to end that match. I even advised him to join the mentoring, but he didn't seem interested at all. Go Hyunwoo could only force a smile. Sounds like a lot happened. Kim Ho sighed again. He probably needs to get his ass kicked a few times. He looked a bit concerned. That intense. Suddenly, a notification sounded, pulling the 2 back to reality. Found a match that quickly. On the screen was the text, match found. Go Hyunwoo said cheerfully, I'll show you the results of my training. Right after that, the 2 of them were teleported to the training area. Looking around, Go Hyunwoo couldn't help but be amazed. What's this situation? This time, the opponents are Team Jang Sam 572 points, and Celine 741 points. Seeing this, he couldn't help but exclaim, Celine's team. Kim Ho smiled faintly, thinking, perfect timing. This is a chance for Celine to realize how weak her defenses are. Go Hyunwoo worriedly turned and asked, do you think we can win? Kim Ho just smiled and replied, of course. Right after that, the match began. Kim Ho and Go Hyunwoo immediately charged forward. Kim Ho told him, I'll handle Celine. He immediately replied, got it. Seeing Celine's move, Kim Ho thought, she's throwing a smoke bomb. Just as expected, he quickly dodged it, charging forward and shouting, sorry, but that's useless. But very quickly, she had pulled out her 2 guns, but he dodged all of her shots. In no time, Kim Ho was in front of Celine and with a single blow knocked the gun out of her hand. Right after that, he took a stance preparing to launch an attack, but his fist suddenly slowed down right as it reached Celine's face. Instead of punching her, Kim Ho replaced it with a flick to the forehead. Then he smiled and asked, so want to continue? Celine clutched her head and immediately turned away. I give up. Kim Ho thought to himself, looks like her pride took a big hit. Now let's see what's happening on the other side. Shin Byung-chun mentioned before that the Guild Alliance has a hidden talent, that unusual movement of his right hand. I thought it was strange from the beginning, but immediately he shouted loudly, wait, you 2 stop! Kim Ho looked at them and said seriously, hey, I know you're holding back, but can you fight for real? The other guy replied coldly, I don't know what you're basing that on, but I am fighting for real. Kim Ho gave him a wink. If you're worried about the replay, we can set it to private, and I can give you a little motivation. Shadowless Ghost. If you win, I'll give you that information. Hearing him say that, the guy was stunned into silence. Kim Ho thought, if he values it enough to hide his true strength, he definitely won't want to pass up this clue. Jang Sam now stammered back, how do you know about that? Kim Ho smiled and replied, I just told you. I'll give you the information if you win. Hearing that, Jang Sam immediately grabbed his sword hilt and said, if you're willing to go that far, then I'll do as you wish. Go Hyunwoo was a little surprised to see this, but in a flash his expression has changed. Then he immediately said, I'll go all out too. On the other side, Jang Sam took a slow breath. Then he charged at Go Hyunwoo with incredible speed. In no time he had been scratched. A notification appeared at the same time. Go Hyunwoo 87%. Jang Sam continued to slash down. Not done yet. The system immediately announced Go Hyunwoo 73%. Go Hyunwoo 68%. Seeing that he had the upper hand, Jang Sam thought to himself, I'll end it with this move. But surprisingly, all this time, Go Hyunwoo hadn't moved an inch. Even when the tip of the blade was close, he didn't move at all. And in just a moment, Go Hyunwoo ducked, dodging the attack and getting into an attack stance. He said softly, torrent-style swift current. Then he zipped past, leaving a slash across Jang Sam's chest. But at that moment, several cracks appeared on his sword as well. It turned out both of their swords had shattered. Just then, Kim Ho walked over and said in a conciliatory tone, Stop, that's enough. You two should rest here. But just then, they both collapsed. The notification panel showed the following result. Kim Ho Go Hyunwoo win versus Celine. Jang Sam lose. Observing the two of them, Kim Ho silently assessed. Because I'm still standing, the system says we won. But really it should be considered a loss. When Jang Sam showed his true strength, I couldn't block his attack. In that moment, the winner was decided. As expected, I'm still a bit short of reaching the prospect level. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Just then, Jang Sam startled awake. He turned to look at the system notification panel, his face showing a hint of regret. So I lost in the end. Kim Ho's voice quickly replied, As you can see, he immediately sat up, his face still regretful. The result is a bit unfortunate, but please convey that it was a good match. Kim Ho nodded. Yeah, Go Hyunwoo would probably say the same thing. Jang Sam quickly stood up. He continued while rubbing his shoulder. Before I go, I want to ask something. In your eyes, was I showing my true strength that obviously? Kim Ho smiled and replied, a little. The hand holding the sword looked a bit unnatural. Also, the fact that you looked too ordinary played a part. Hearing that, Jang Sam was extremely surprised. Too ordinary, so it was easy to tell. What do you mean? Kim Ho then offered a hint. Think about what kind of place the Dragon Slayer Academy is. Jang Sam rubbed his chin, thought for a moment, then replied, It's true, this is a place where masters from all over the world gather. In a place like this, being ordinary stands out even more. That's helpful. I'll keep that in mind. And one more thing. About Shadowless Ghost? Kim Ho then said I was going to ask after I won. After a slight hesitation, Jang Sam also replied, Yeah, that's right. Then I'll challenge you again next time. Kim Ho agreed. Sure. Anytime. Back at the arena. Go Hyunwoo looked a bit shy. That was a shameful display. I'm so embarrassed. Kim, what did you think of the match? Kim Ho gave his honest opinion. You created an opening with your probing, and your final decisive move was very clean. Just then, Go Hyunwoo took out his broken sword. He observed it for a moment, then said something. I'm worried about my weapon. I can't just keep dodging forever. Kim Ho looked at him blankly. The solution is simple. Just use a better one. But Go Hyunwoo was mortified. My finances are a bit tight. Immediately, Kim Ho handed him a stack of something and told him weapons aren't just bought with money. How many points do you have? Check your phone. Go Hyunwoo answered honestly. I've saved up about 5,000 points. Kim Ho commented, You're quite the saver. 1 E-rank longsword and 1 D-rank longsword. Right after that, a bunch of system notifications sounded. Item purchased D-rank escorts longsword, 200 points. Item purchased E-rank escorts longsword, 700 points. Item purchased thermal catalyst reagent. Quantity 3,000 points. As Kim Ho confirmed the purchase, he added, and with the remaining points, buy 3 vials of thermal catalyst. First, give me those vials. Go Hyunwoo was a bit curious. What's that stuff called reagent used for? Kim Ho replied, It's a crafting material. I'll make some useful items for you, that's all for today. Focus on recovering. Go Hyunwoo was extremely grateful. He bowed respectfully. Thank you for everything, Kim. That evening, as Kim Ho walked down the hallway, he thought, This week's sparring matches are over. Maybe I should prepare the materials in the workshop. While I'm at it, I'll make the item for Go Hyunwoo. As he opened the door, Kim Ho immediately called out, Hello, Sunbae. The other person was a bit surprised, but still replied, Oh, hey. Looking at him, Kim Ho couldn't help but think, I heard he got chewed out by Bong Deok-gu last time because of the blueprint. He probably doesn't like me rummaging around, so I feel even more sorry. But this time I'll take the liberty. A notification immediately appeared, registering target's skill to Magic Engineering B slot. Skill copy 2-2. Magic Engineering B. Kim Ho continued to analyze. Now that I have Warfox, I should probably retire Hummingbird. The kind of luck like the cube blueprint probably won't happen again. But to find usable materials, this place is the best. These are unfinished items that failed for some reason. In other words, the parts being crafted are still intact. Normally, it's easier to find new materials than to disassemble things. Normally. Seeing Kim Ho constantly crafting, the other person seemed extremely surprised. He turned and asked hesitantly, what are you doing? Kim Ho answered honestly, I'm disassembling things to gather some materials. He seemed interested and suggested, If you don't mind, can I take a look? Kim Ho replied cheerfully, Yes, of course. Looking at the test tube in his hand, he couldn't help but be amazed. Whoa, even after disassembling it, the materials are this clean. It's like they're brand new. Kim Ho looked at the solution and smiled slightly, wondering, maybe I should try crafting a batch. Then he asked, Sunbae, would you like to trade some materials? His face immediately lit up. Really, I'd be happy to. What do you need? Kim Ho started listing a cooling unit with a central shaft, reinforced steel wire, and he looked a bit hesitant and said, but what if Bong Deok-gu gets upset about this? Kim Ho shrugged slightly. Just trading materials probably won't be a problem. If you're still worried, I'll ask him directly this time. He forced a laugh and asked back, really? Then I'll send him a message. He's read it but hasn't replied yet. Kim Ho replied calmly. He must be busy. Oh well. He continued. He said it's fine as long as there's nothing special. But before he could finish, the door to the room was thrown open. The person who appeared was Bong Deok-gu. He couldn't help but exclaim in shock, What the? Bong Deok-gu? Bong Deok-gu walked over and asked seriously, did you take this apart? Perfect timing. Take a look at this for me. It's a failed project, but it cost a pretty penny in materials. How did you manage to disassemble it? Kim Ho thought for a moment, then replied, this one will take quite a bit of time. Bong Deok-gu suggested, I know it takes time. I'll pay you well for it. Kim Ho turned and smiled, making a suggestion. I need materials too, so please pay me in materials. Bong Deok-gu immediately nodded. Send me the list and I'll prepare it right away. No rush, take your time, just message me what you need. As he said that, he turned and left. Kim Ho smiled and replied, yes, Sunbae. Just then, the other guy approached and said shyly, by the way, could you do me one more favor? Kim Ho asked, what is it? He pointed towards his table and asked, I have something I need over there. Could you disassemble it for me? He looked at it and replied, no problem. He laughed. Thanks. I'll do my best to get you what you need too. The next morning, the other person's voice rang out again. Is it morning already? I guess I'll have to finish the rest after class. Walking down to the lecture hall, Kim Ho thought, there's still a lot of time before class. I'll take a nap before class starts. Celine. Why is she here so early today? Yesterday she disappeared without a word. Kim Ho immediately walked over and asked, why are you here so early? You haven't had breakfast, have you? Want to get something to eat? But his only reply was an extremely tired, Kim Ho silently assessed. As expected, you don't look fully recovered yet. Then he continued, yesterday's match was a bit one-sided, huh? I did that just to show you your weaknesses. Kim Ho let out a small sigh. You're probably starting to realize that your fighting style is extremely weak when your position is exposed. Since your mana foundation is stable, try investing in support skills this time. At that point, Celine immediately looked up and asked hesitantly, will you tutor me personally? Kim Ho smiled. I'd like to tutor you myself, but it'd be more effective to learn this from another marksman. It's a bit of a hassle, but just accept the mentoring. Finally, Celine reached out and took the pastry. She thought for a moment, then replied, okay, I'll do it. Just then, Go Hyun-woo also appeared, letting out a cheerful, oh, Lady Celine is signing up too. That's a good decision, Go Hyun-woo. Are you feeling better? Thanks to Kim, I'm back in top condition. My body's fine, but I'm worried about the weapon I bought yesterday. I plan to test it in the remaining sparring matches. Kim Ho smiled. He looked straight at him and said each word clearly. All right, then use this too. Hyun-woo looked at the object in his hand, astonished. Isn't this a paperclip? Kim Ho explained cheerfully. It looks like a normal paperclip, but this is an item that protects equipment durability. The paperclip's information also appeared. Durable clipped. Protects weapon durability, automatically restores weapon durability. He had pinned it to his pocket. In the remaining sparring matches, try using it with the new weapon you got. On one side are Hyun-woo and an expressionless Hanseol. On the other are a nervous Suji and Nari. He stared at his opponent and thought to himself, Lady Park Nari, the hope of the Nature Club. Kim warned me to be careful of that spirit beast. Nari petted the cat on her shoulder. Bayo, get ready. Bayo immediately pounced. It transformed into a huge tiger. Bayo, obeying its master's command, lunged forward. Let's go. Hyun-woo blocked the pounce with his sword and said, Lady Baek-gung. Now Baek-gung quickly cast a spell. She attacked the tiger's head. Snow Soul Palm. Baek-gung looked like she was really struggling. Bayo just glared at her. Park Nari, 87%. With just a flick, Baek-gung was sent flying. Seeing this, he shouted worriedly, Lady Baek-gung? He thought to himself, when his sword was broken with an E-rank weapon? Was this the limit? He slid a long way. Hyun-woo said with a worried tone, At this rate, I'm afraid we have no chance of winning. Baek-gung was also very tense. I agree, let's try another way. He looked at Bayo approaching him and thought, It seems the strategy is to have the spirit beast on the front line to recover continuously. In contrast, the caster is completely exposed. A fighting style that relies entirely on the spirit beast. Hyun-woo glanced to the side and nodded as a signal. If so, she also nodded to show she understood. Strike the summoner directly. The two of them immediately attacked Nari. Suji's pendant lit up. No chance. I already anticipated a situation like this. Nari had created a barrier with her power. Gaia's barrier. Soon the vines had covered them both. Baek Gung and Hyunwoo fought together. Ice pole, snow soul palm. Clear stream. Hyunwoo also had to admit, it's not easy to break through. The next blow will deal damage. That bypasses the defensive magic in one shot. But Baeo had already clamped its jaws on Baek Gung. Then came a piercing scream. The scoreboard immediately appeared. Go Hyunwoo Baek Gung Hansol loose. Versus Jung Suji Park Nari win. Time passed. The next day, as he reviewed yesterday's scene, I let you witness a shameful scene. Kim Ho gently reassured Hyunwoo not at all. Facing a prospect, fighting to that extent is great. He looked at him with curiosity. Kim, what would you have done in that situation? Kim Ho also answered very seriously. Actually, it's not a matter of strategy or technique. The stat difference is too big, especially in terms of equipment. Park Nari is a prospect, fully supported by the Nature Club. Not only is her range of skills and traits very wide, but even the life cube she recently traded with me. She's decked out from head to toe in all sorts of items. Hyunwoo also dejectedly accepted the truth. Hearing you say that, it makes sense we lost. The opponent had both excellent skills, and was well prepared. Kim Ho asked himself, maybe it's time to bring this up. He calmly told him, it's impossible to raise your stats to Park Nari's level, but it's not like there's no countermeasure. Hearing that, Hyunwoo's eyes lit up. So there is a way. Kim Ho didn't beat around the bush. A magic sword is a top-tier swordsman's. Mandatory debuff item. He bowed his head, looking quite sad. A magic sword. I didn't even know such an item existed. I've learned something new from you again, Kim. Kim Ho pointed to the clip on his pocket. He reminded him, let's worry about the magic sword later. The priority now is to not let your weapon break. So focus on finding artifacts related to weapon durability. Brank or higher. Hyunwoo still couldn't cheer up. Barank! That probably won't be easy to find. He pointed to the picture behind them and said, you can farm it in the underground dungeon of the dungeon building. Hyunwoo quickly reminded him, but it's sparring match week. Aren't we not allowed to go down there? We can't go down to the lower floors next week either. Kim Ho was quite surprised by this information. Why's that? He also replied sadly. Because we're not qualified. Kim Ho closed his eyes and nodded. The lower levels of the dungeon building are different from the ground floor. It's a real battle. They can't just throw first-year freshmen into a real battle. Where lives are on the line. So right now, isn't there no way? He still said nonchalantly, it's difficult for now, huh? Kim Ho picked up the cup of water on the table and replied, I mean officially. Officially is? Hyunwoo suddenly became tense. We can just sneak in. Kim Ho smiled and picked up his phone. There's an errand service specializing in times like these. He also became curious. Are you calling Shin? Kim Ho quickly confirmed, yeah, he'll be here soon. Byung-chun arrived quickly, grinning from ear to ear. You two are here, so how can I help? We're planning to go into the dungeon for a bit. I'm thinking Monday night. Kim Ho also seemed very satisfied. Monday night, perfect. He was momentarily stunned. What's the dungeon number? As soon as he heard Kim Ho speak, Byung-chun pulled out his notebook. Number 388. He flipped through the pages to check. If it's 388? The D-rank altar of the feathered serpent, right? A 4-person dungeon. Who's going? They both looked at each other in silence. Kim Ho pointed at Hyunwoo. Me and him, just the two of us. Byung-chun looked quite worried. Are you sure? If something happens, I'll be held responsible too. Kim Ho reassured him tiredly. We won't die. If there's any trouble, we'll pull out immediately. Hyunwoo also nodded in confirmation. And I trust Kim. He quickly wrote it down with his pen. All right, it's settled. I'll prepare for Monday night. Kim Ho also asked bluntly, what's the fee for this favor? This time. Byung-chun also smiled brightly and replied, what fee between us? I still owe you from the Benway event. Let's just call it even. That attitude surprised him. He thought, I didn't expect him to be the one to bring up paying back his debt. Byung-chun just scratched his head and laughed. And to be honest, I've only been to the lower floors once. This made him speechless. So that's why you're not used to it yet, huh? Kim Ho quickly reassured him. No, it's fine. Even if it's your first time, just don't be careless. He was still very embarrassed. You don't have to tell me. I'll give it my all. He also added, so, since you're going for the experience, add one more. Add number 104. Byung-chun once again consulted his notebook. If it's no 104, then it's the B-rank Serpent's Maw. This is a deep zone dungeon, so I can't help with my level. Kim Ho replied very calmly. I know, try talking to the department head. He quickly put away his notebook and promised that much should be doable. I'll ask my sister about this. See you on Monday night. You worked hard. Kim Ho turned to discuss with Hyunwoo. Should we make a plan too? His hand gripped the cup tightly. Okay, what do I need to do? He began to lay out the detailed plan. First, we'll go to the D-rank dungeon we booked the altar of the feathered serpent. There we'll get a weapon for you. At the same time, I'll grab some loot for myself. His face showed his seriousness. Then we'll have a few days to prepare. We have to negotiate with the thieving club about the serpent's maw and prepare items. The Deep Zone dungeon is a place where even a small mistake can cost you your life. Hyunwoo, though worried, was still determined. I'm prepared. He opened the system panel to look. Your role is very important. Skill is a given, but teamwork is also essential. Therefore, you have to know the dungeon as well as I do. He looked at the stack of papers in front of him, quite confused. This is, he quickly explained, this is the clear guide for both dungeons. Memorize it, don't miss a single word. At workshop number 1, Jae-sok laid out a bunch of items. These are the things you asked for last time. Floating stone extract solution. A mana core and a weather chip, right? Kim Ho also showed his gratitude. Yes. Thanks to you, I was able to easily find materials that are usually very hard to get. Thank you. He couldn't contain his curiosity. It looks like it's in the final stages. Can I take a quick look? He didn't refuse either. Yes, just a moment. Finally, Kim Ho successfully crafted it. It's done. Jae-sok stared blankly at the item in his hand. I was wondering what you were gathering materials for. Turns out you crafted another strange thing. It looks like the head of a magic staff or scepter. Have you found the main body yet? Kim Ho answered very honestly, not yet. I haven't found a suitable one yet. I plan to look for the body slowly. He was talking to himself. I'll look for it in the basement of the dungeon complex. Hearing that, he also nodded. There's nothing urgent right now. I guess you won't be coming to the workshop for a while, huh? Kim Ho also nodded and replied, Yes, I've been bothering you a lot lately, but I'll still be stopping by often. A little later in Class 1A, the young teacher was making an announcement to everyone. The theme of this week's dungeon raid is annihilation. If you wipe out all the monsters, anyone can get a high score. There's no time limit, so pay attention to where the monsters are hiding. And the important point in this raid is that the terrain and teammates are all randomly matched. This means you'll have to fight with new people in a new location. He closed the book. So, coordinate smoothly with each other and conquer it slowly. All right, class dismissed. See you next time. Hyunwoo looked at Kim Ho with a regretful expression. This week's teammates are randomly matched, so we can't go together. Kim Ho also turned and smiled at him. That's right, everyone has to act individually this week. Oh, and you should probably skip the Mana Bullet lecture for now. Next week is mentoring week anyway, so you can learn a new skill then. This week, let's focus on strengthening your internal power. Hyunwoo found this reasonable. Okay, Zen was as indifferent as ever. The two of them nodded as they listened to his advice. Before entering the actual combat, make sure to try out the training mode first, although he said that he was thinking otherwise. For me, trying the training mode is just a waste of time. The system displayed a notification entering dungeon, randomly matching with a random teammate. Kim Ho's expression was determined. I'll go straight into actual combat. He looked at the system in front of him and thought, I wish I'd get a decent teammate. But no matter who my teammate is, getting 100% completion is a sure thing. So in this situation, a useful teammate is someone whose skill I can copy. I won't need magic engineering for now, so I'll switch to a combat skill. So my teammate will be... Something surprised him. Huh, what's this? The person with him was Janhwa. You again, Hong Janhwa? She jumped, flustered, and asked Kim Ho, why you again? He was also taken aback by her attitude, thinking, what? What a weird reaction. From the placement test to the sparring match, I've faced her as an opponent quite a few times. Well, I overwhelmed her every time, so it's natural for her to be intimidated. Kim Ho sighed and then smiled. But now, my goal is to complete the mission, efficiently. First, sorry, but creating a slightly intimidating atmosphere is more convenient. He urged the girl, what are you standing there spacing out for? Let's go now. Kim Ho's frightening gaze made her want to cry. Okay. Both of them dashed forward. As Janhwa ran, she thought, I should have known better and just done this tomorrow. Why did I insist on clearing this quickly just for a bit of pride? I just wanted to avoid being teamed up with this guy. Why did I have to run into him of all people? Where's he going anyway? There's nothing over there. Just then a swarm of goblins flew out. This surprised her. Huh, what's going on? Monsters are appearing whichever way we go. This can't be this easy. Seeing Kim Ho dash past, she shouted in surprise, Hey, wait, there are still monsters left. His uncaring attitude made Janhwa annoyed. What, you're not even listening to me and just leaving? Are you telling me to clean up after you? Janhwa ran quickly while swinging her staff. The boss monster did a good job. Hey, aren't we going together? Are you planning to conquer this on your own? But he just said one cold sentence. Don't fall behind, just follow me. Janhwa didn't know what else to do. Oh, okay. She kept observing him and thought, but something's a little strange. During the raid, he doesn't hesitate for even a moment. He just keeps moving straight ahead. The goblin was just burned by the flame. Janhwa silently assessed his calm demeanor. This guy is treating this raid as if he's been through it tens, hundreds of times. Just then, Kim Ho held out his hand to stop her. Wait. Janhwa also looked ahead. Huh, is that a dirt cave? He suggested, let's go check it out. She looked at the small cave entrance and exclaimed, "Judging by the size, it's probably a cave made by goblins. It's hard for a person to fit inside." Kim Ho very calmly ordered, "You go check it." Janhwa jumped and said loudly, "Me." He used that frightening gaze again. "You can definitely do it, don't you want to?" That gaze scared her again. "If I can get in, I'll do it." Her action stunned him. "Huh, why did she crawl inside?" "I just meant for her to use fire magic inside." Suddenly, a light flashed. "Oh, this light!" A fire erupted violently. "Whoa, as expected of a student from the Red Jade Tower, so fiery." Janhwa was also amazed at herself. "What on earth am I doing? Something like this? I won't. But maybe I'll have to do it again." When exploring dungeons, things like this are pretty common. She stood up, brushing the dust off her clothes. "Anyway, it was lucky to find the dirt cave. We can wipe them out before the goblins can swarm out." He looked at the system notification. "Looks like this is the last cave. Monsters remaining 1. Now we just need to take down the boss and we're done." Just then an axe came flying towards them. Kim Ho suddenly grabbed Janhwa's wrist. Then he quickly pulled her aside. "You can't let your guard down in a dungeon." Janhwa didn't dare to look Kim Ho straight in the eye. "Sorry." The axe was spinning in the opposite direction. Maybe the explosion from earlier alerted it to our position. That guy is the boss of this dungeon. We have to kill it anyway. Perfect timing. The two of them were stomping on the ground. As long as we're not careless, it'll be an easy opponent. Let's team up and take it down quickly. He turned to look at the panting girl and thought, looks like she still hasn't completely relaxed. This is partly my fault. Maybe I should instill some confidence in her. After thinking, he smiled at her. Try taking it down yourself. Janhwa was startled and asked, by myself. Kim Ho encouraged the girl, try your best. You can totally do it. Janhwa angrily gritted her teeth. Damn it! In the end, she agreed. All right, I'll give it a try. A thought also flashed through Kim Ho's mind. Good. Show me. Janhwa held her staff and swirled a circle of fire. He thought to himself as he watched the very focused girl. Just how strong you really are. The goblin was also startled by the sight. It opened its mouth and let out a loud roar. She was startled when she saw it rushing towards her, wondering, what the? Since when did it raise its axe to strike? But Janhwa quickly jumped up to dodge, thinking, what you think I'm going to lose? She quickly used her staff to shoot a flame orb. She confidently affirmed it hit. It definitely hit. But the goblin opened its eyes and stared intently, making her angry inside. What, this guy didn't take any damage? Could it be that this dungeon has a trait that halves damage, or something? What were they thinking when they designed this dungeon? The goblin swung its axe again. She quickly dodged the incoming axe, silently determined. I have to finish this before the overload effect ends. It swung another axe, startling her. Two at the same time. I've already lowered my stance, it's too late to dodge. Kim Ho had dashed forward, while she was still panicking, screaming in her head, hurry up and put up a barrier or else... He had knocked both axes away. I told you not to let your guard down. She stood up, brushing the dust off her skirt. Ah, thanks. Inside, she also breathed a sigh of relief. I'm alive. I'm alive. He also gently reminded her, don't do that, use that. For a moment, she was dazed. If it's that, then... He cut her off coolly. Use Fire Pillar. She was a bit reluctant, not wanting to remember that past. Janhwa gave a wry smile and waved her hands. It's a strong skill, but its range is too limited. But Kim Ho maintained his cold expression. I'll hold him down. You just focus on the power. She called after him as he charged forward. Hey, wait! Kim Ho just flicked his hand and the goblin flew far away. Seeing him like that, Janhwa also became very determined in her heart. No, stop thinking. Right now, I just need to focus on fulfilling my role. The goblin saw the magic circle. While he looked at her and said, Kim Ho, why you again? Janhwa quickly reminded him. He's noticed the magic circle. He ignored its jumping and seriously advised, don't mind it, just proceed. Kim Ho quickly attacked. Sorry, but you'll have to play with me a little longer. The goblin was right in the middle of the magic circle. Janhwa announced loudly, the magic circle is ready. Get out of the range now. Kim Ho watched the goblin rush at him and thought, thanks to my elemental resistance, I don't need to dodge. He jumped just as the axe came down. But for now, I'll just do as I'm told. Kim Ho jumped behind Janhwa. All right, is this spot okay? She focused on her attack. It's not good. That's enough. Her staff lit up, along with her inner determination. This time it'll end with just one blow. The flame seemed to incinerate the goblin. Fire Pillar. Instantly a flame shot out and engulfed it. Kim Ho smiled in satisfaction, thinking, as expected, the flame created a massive vortex. The system immediately announced monsters remaining, yo. Completion rate 100%, 800 points. Clear bonus 200 points. Total points 1,000 points, 0.8 multiplier is 800 pt. Janhwa breathed a sigh of relief. It's over. Inside, he was also assessing. That ended really fast. She fought pretty well against a boss, even if it was a bit forced. Janhwa cleared her throat. I have a favor to ask. Kim Ho looked at her quite surprised. What is it? Why are you stuttering? Janhwa shyly thought about the earlier scenes. That is... Can you set the replay to private? He also asked back very casually, you want me to set the replay to private? Janhua was annoyed by his attitude. I'll make up for the points you lose. So, this thing is definitely more valuable than a replay. He frowned, displeased, thinking, what, a ruby? Just to change a replay to private. If it were a reasonable reward, I could accept it. But this is a bit too much. Janhua was furious at his indifference, thinking, that expression? Does he mean this isn't enough? Janhua angrily tapped on the system. Then I'll offer a bigger ruby. Seeing this, he panicked and stopped her. No need. This is enough. Kim Ho gave a thumbs up in praise. You worked hard, Hong Janhua. She was startled, her eyebrows nearly touching. Why are you calling me by my name all of a sudden? You did everything yourself from the beginning, and yet... Janhua quickly stepped into the portal. You worked hard, too. He looked at her at a loss for words. You don't need to be that shy. Anyway, Hong Janhua's movements were better than I thought. The rumor that she could rival the prospects is indeed true. What surprised me the most was her close combat. Thanks to that, I was able to choose a skill to copy. Kim Ho recalled the image of Janhua fighting. I don't know what skill Hong Janhua absorbed using Overload, but I also have an extremely strong fire-type skill. Inferno Fist. This powerful strength surely also brings a drastic enhancement to physical abilities. He looked at the ruby in his hand and wondered, anyway, what should I do with this? Tonight I have to go to the dungeon's basement. I'll take it to the Red Jade Tower later to have a look. He stepped through the space gate into the dungeon's ground floor. It seems Go Hyunwoo and Shin Byung-chun haven't arrived yet. While waiting, I'll check my quest rewards first. The system window appeared. Sub-quest 4th week dungeon raid complete. Objective complete the dungeon raid. Completion rate 100%. Reward trait copy slot +1. Kim Ho looked at it and exclaimed, oh, finally I can copy a new trait. It would be great if I could find a useful trait in the dungeon. Basement. Just then a voice rang in his ear. Hey, what are you doing? Byung-chun approached with a chiding tone. If you're going to go ahead, you should say something. I was waiting up there. Hyunwoo also appeared and said, Kim, so you were already here. He smiled brightly and urged, anyway, it's late. Let's get going. Hyunwoo was full of confidence again. I won't let you down, Kim. Byung-chun started fumbling in his pockets. Right. Before that, I have something to give you guys. You two wear these. A second-year student's tie clip and an anonymity badge. It will make the wearer's face look very ordinary, unremarkable. Thanks to this, even if you run into seniors, it'll be fine. Kim Ho looked at him in surprise. Oh, my face really did get blurry. Hyunwoo also grinned. If you just walk past them, there's no way. Your identity will be revealed. He started sweating again, laughing miserably inside. Something feels off. Kim Ho was more than ready. All right, let's go. They started walking down the stairs. Hyunwoo seemed to be losing patience. Are we going down? Is it still far? Byung-chun reassured him. We're almost there. He looked down at the spiral they had just passed and exclaimed, I heard the dungeon was big, but I didn't expect it to be this big. It took this long just to get down to D rank. So the place called the Deep Floors must be, Kim Ho said very calmly. Actually, there are teleporters. But since we snuck in, we can't use them. Actually, if you're good enough, you can even hack those. Hearing him say that, he just gave a wry smile. But we're almost there anyway. They finally arrived. Dear customer, sorry to keep you waiting. Please come this way. This is it, dungeon number 388. In front of them was the space gate. Feathered Serpent Altar. Hyunwoo felt a bit relieved. Luckily, we weren't discovered and arrived safely. Kim Ho was very ready. Everyone must have memorized the strategy guide, so let's start quickly. An annoyed voice came from behind them. What on earth are you doing? The green-haired girl seemed to be going crazy. What the hell kind of skill is that? The boy next to her looked regretful. If it weren't for that, we would have finished clearing it already. He had noticed the three of them, but the young man didn't think much of it. What's this? They're here to raid the dungeon too. Kim Ho let out a sigh of relief internally. The effectiveness of the formation distribution is really clear. Hyunwoo felt it wasn't very safe and urged, before we run into anyone else, we'd better get in quickly. Byung-chun clapped him on the shoulder and laughed. Hold on a second. We still have to deal with the final defense system. He placed a transparent cube down. Done. All the security. Devices around here have been deactivated. For now, there's nothing to worry about. But I'll still be monitoring from the outside anyway, just in case something unexpected happens. Kim Ho showed a disgusted expression. Yeah, we'll be done quickly. Wait a minute. Their feet moved quickly towards the gate. There's no more time to hesitate. Let's move. Kim Ho pointed forward. See that? That's the focus of this dungeon. The Feathered Serpent Altar that you'll be in charge of. There are many barbarians guarding it. Be careful. Hyunwoo also remembered. I remember reading in the strategy guide that Kim gave... A mysterious man rushed forward, a spear, flying straight at Kim Ho. He just shook his head and dodged it. He quickly became guarded. Speak of the devil and they shall appear, the barbarians. The barbarians had chosen them as sacrifices. It's a sacrifice, capture them alive. They surrounded them. It's a sacrifice, capture them alive. Kim Ho couldn't help but wonder, if you said to capture them alive, why are you throwing spears? But they didn't care and charged with their spears. It's a sacrifice. Hyunwoo looked very tense. Should we stick to the plan? He also quickly nodded. Yeah, let's start. Kim Ho unleashed his power again. He swung his arm, knocking down the ones in front. He also quickly drew his sword and slashed 3 of them. Looking back, Kim Ho said, "Well then, good luck." Kim Ho also replied with a "You too." The barbarians became even more excited and charged. Who are these guys? They're sturdy sacrifices. Capture them at all costs. Hyunwoo gripped his sword and said coldly, "Your opponent is me. This sword will be the end of you." Kim Ho borrowed the power of the wind to run faster. Then he thought, from now on, we each act according to the plan. Go Hyunwoo will head straight along the path to the altar, while I'll go through the rainforest, not following the main route. The normal, clear condition for the feathered serpent altar is a raid. After getting past the barbarians and entering the altar, the final boss, the feathered serpent priest, will appear, only by stopping the ritual and simultaneously defeating the priest and the barbarians. Can you clear the dungeon? Kim Ho kept a smile on his face as he followed. The main route raid won't be a problem, but you won't be able to get the hidden piece in this dungeon. Therefore, you have to search in places others don't notice to dig something up, just like now. Looks like there aren't many barbarians left in the camp. They must have all flocked to the altar, even if there are a few. They're no match for Go Hyunwoo. As he ran, he politely greeted, "Hello there." The barbarians' eyes lit up when they saw him. A sacrifice has come to us, a sturdy sacrifice. They immediately threw their spears at him. Capture him alive. Kim Ho was at a loss for words. Besides, those words, don't you know how to say anything else? He quickly executed a technique and said confidently, "I can't be bothered with small fry. Bring out your chieftain." He watched them cough up blood and inwardly said with satisfaction, "So far everything's according to plan." Among the normal tents, there was an unusually large tent. That's the chieftain's personal tent. A light flashed inside the tent. He quickly dodged it. The chieftain lifted the flap and stepped out. It's rare to see someone with such a strong aura. You will make a fine sacrifice. If you let yourself be captured obediently, your moments of pain will be shortened. He prepared to unleash a powerful blow. Inferno Fist. Inferno Fist, overload. Everyone I meet only talks about sacrifices. Is there nothing else to talk about? Kim Ho thought to himself after getting into a fighting stance. To get the hidden piece, I have to keep him here. That's why I had to search the entire forest to find this camp. He jumped back to dodge the opponent's attack. So far everything is going according to plan. I have to hold him off for a while, until Go Hyunwoo finds the hidden piece. This golden light attack isn't an elemental attack, so even one hit would be fatal. But if I use Overload to absorb Inferno Fist's flames, while my body is pushed to its absolute limit. He got closer to the chieftain. Dodging an attack of this level isn't hard. He immediately created a protective barrier, but his fist broke through that barrier. Kim Ho punched the chieftain, sending him flying. He looked at his hand in amazement and thought, Overload, combined with Inferno Fist, it's an incredible power just as expected. Even a D-rank barrier was easily destroyed. But as expected, a boss is still a boss. An attack of this level seems to do almost no damage. He even kindly reminded his opponent, "Hey, you should pay a little more attention to your defense. You're too wide open." A beam of light shot past right next to Kim Ho. The chieftain flew into a rage. "You won't get to die an easy death." But Kim Ho wasn't scared and even mocked, "Oh my, so scary. You look really angry." Kim Ho dodged again and thought, the most important thing for a priest is to conduct the ritual. If I just dodge enough, he'll often leave in the middle of a fight. Want to prevent that from happening. I just need to provoke his anger. The chieftain kept attacking and he kept dodging. Of course, the more enraged he gets, the more effective it is. Although there is one drawback, the difficulty of dodging also increases. He glanced behind him, silently encouraging him. "So do your best, Go Hyunwoo. The rest depends on you." A blood-stained pant leg was walking. Hyunwoo seriously stepped forward. Behind him were the scattered corpses of the barbarians. His face showed his determination. Kim must be fighting for his life, so I also have to act quickly. I will complete the mission Kim entrusted to me without a single mistake and then regroup. Something surprised him. Huh? A large figure was carrying a log, wanting to throw it down. Hyunwoo gently dodged. Then he zipped past it. Hyunwoo glanced at the figure, silently assessing. That's the acolyte mentioned in the strategy guide, the mid-boss of this dungeon. His nickname is Fatty, I believe. As expected, he appeared immediately. But while dealing with him, I have to get the hidden piece, the feathered serpent sword art, at all costs. He saw another mysterious figure there. And according to the strategy guide, he quickly used his sword to knock away the hidden weapon. Besides him, there's another mid-boss. Hyunwoo glanced at the hidden weapon and thought, is this a poisoned dart? Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Another acolyte, nicknamed Skinny. He gripped his sword hilt again and thought, the two of them coordinating will be quite annoying. I wanted to take my time and have a test fight, but he moved all the way forward. Right now I have to end this quickly. The remaining acolyte blew out a hidden weapon. He still managed to dodge it. Just then the other one attacked with the log. Hyunwoo also dodged it very quickly. Now he had to fight both of them. He said to himself, dealing with them really is a pain. At this rate it'll take a lot of time. If so, the only way is to take a bit of a risk. The two of them started to coordinate. Hyunwoo closed his eyes and called out the name of the technique. A moment later his eyes shot open. Even Skinny had to be surprised. Fatty couldn't help but be amazed. With just one swing of his sword he took down... Okay, the two of them are down, one on each side. Hyunwoo sheathed his sword, telling himself, all right, they're all taken care of. But their vitality is really tenacious. I can't let my guard down until the very end. Just then the big one stood up, making him angry. Tisk, of course he wouldn't go down easy. But the hidden piece is the most important thing right now. I'll finish him off later. The big fatty wouldn't give up. Right as it threw a log, Hyunwoo was about to touch the item. The log slammed into the ground. The priest breathed a weary sigh of relief. Suddenly, a line of light appeared through the middle of the log. It looked on in surprise. Hyunwoo had finally obtained the hidden piece. That was a great throw. If I had been just a little slower, it would have hit me. Now let's end this fight. Care to teach me a move? It couldn't take it, and screamed as it ran forward. He coldly landed one final sword strike, then glanced at his opponent lying on the ground. Meanwhile, at the Feathered Serpent altar camp, Kim Ho was staring straight ahead. He was still trying to dodge the enemy's light. Just running away like this is a pain. Go Hyunwoo has probably found the magic sword by now. He suddenly stopped. The chieftain looked up in astonishment. This aura is coming from the altar. Could it be the magic sword placed on the altar? Kim Ho looked at the system notification and thought with satisfaction, you passed, good job. I can rest easy leaving the next dungeon to you. Then he held out his hand again. Well then, before I take you out I should copy your trait first. Using copy. Main trait of the Feathered Serpent Priest. Priest. This is a trait that mixes many abilities, and the boost to mana sensitivity is extremely useful. The chieftain became impatient. Get out of my way, I have to get to the altar. Kim Ho was clearly annoyed by this. Hey old man, we were having fun. Where do you think you're going? He summoned his firepower and smiled. There's nothing left for you there anyway. It's all over. Let's wrap this up quickly too. He was knocked back by the force of his power. Just then the system gave a notification. Feathered Serpent Altar Dungeon has been cleared. Hyunwoo ran quickly towards him. The moment Kim Ho saw him, Kim Ho smiled. Oh, you're just in time. Hyunwoo stared in amazement at the hidden piece radiating dark energy. This is, Kim Ho calmly explained. It absorbed the priest's soul, so its power has been enhanced. And there's that other thing. That's the clear reward for this dungeon. Hyunwoo looked at the hidden piece in his hand, undeniably satisfied. Well, for me this sword alone is more than enough. It will probably be quite useful for a while. So Kim Ho, you should take the remaining reward. Kim Ho immediately agreed. All right. If you insist, then I won't refuse. First, let's get out of this dungeon. After a dungeon is conquered, it will collapse after a certain amount of time. A moment later, the two of them stepped outside. Byung-chun was standing there to welcome them. Oh, that didn't take much time at all, did it? Kim Ho walked with a very confident air. I told you it would be over quickly. Hyunwoo looked behind him, exclaiming, the entrance is disappearing. Kim Ho replied calmly. It's just as I explained before. When a dungeon's core is destroyed, the entrance will close. You can't enter or exit temporarily. When time passes and the core regenerates, you'll be able to go in and out again. He shrugged as if it were obvious. And someone else will conquer that regenerated dungeon. Byung-chun looked rather worried again. The problem is because of this characteristic, there will always be evidence left behind. That the dungeon was conquered. This is the kind of evidence that even the most skilled forger couldn't possibly erase. Kim Ho's face remained emotionless. Before long, someone will come down to check on the situation. So before that happens, let's get out of here quickly. He complained as he climbed the stairs. Finally made it. What's with all these stairs? Hyunwoo laughed when he heard that. Of course, going up is harder than going down. He looked like he was out of energy. I know, but it was just unbearable. But luckily, we didn't run into anyone on the way back. Now give me back the badge and pin. Hyunwoo returned them with a bright smile. Thanks to you, I was able to return safely. Thanks a lot, Shin Byung-chun. Kim Ho also let out a sigh of relief. I hope you'll help us next time, too. He grinned happily at the compliment. It was nothing. This is, of course, part of the service. Seokmi was waving from a distance. Hello, hello. It seems we meet quite often, don't we? Byung-chun looked like he was about to cry and asked himself, why did it have to be right now? Because Chun-hee was exploding with rage again. What? In the middle of the night like this? Were you guys up to something in the dungeon? Byung-chun was shaking, but he still forced a smile. Saying we were up to something in the dungeon sounds weird. Obviously, we came to clear the dungeon. She looked very suspicious. Your group was planning a clear on the very first day. I find that hard to believe. Byung-chun nudged Kim Ho with his elbow, signaling, oh man. Have you been getting scammed your whole life or something? Why can't you just take someone's word for it? And don't just stand there, say something. He looked at him with a disgusted expression. He thought to himself, is this guy really passing this annoying problem on to me? But to get out of this situation quickly, there's no other way. Kim Ho stepped forward and began to ask, did you guys just get back from a clear too? What percentage? Chun-hee quickly replied, yes, and you don't need to know. Byung-chun's sarcastic comment made her furious. Hey, why are you asking things like that? If the score's not good, it's not like you can just say it. Chun-hee, her pride wounded, sparked with electricity. I don't know what percentage. Your group completed, but I'm sure mine is higher than yours. Kim Ho appeared very calm. In that case, shall we bet on who has the higher completion rate? She wouldn't back down either. If it's a bet, what are you putting up? He quickly proposed the terms. The loser has to grant one request, or answer a question the other person is curious about. How about it? Chun-hee looked at her opponent with a frightening glare. Fine. His whole body radiated power. All right, on the count of 3. We'll show each other our completion rates at the same time. She was very determined on her side as well. Fine. Both looked at their system windows and started counting. 3, 2, 1, 1. Seeing her opponent's progress was 100%, she was dumbfounded. Seeing this, Kim Ho sighed to himself reluctantly. Getting 97% is definitely enough to be confident. Even though I unintentionally shocked her, anyway, I should take this chance to scram. Immediately after Kim Ho and his friends started to leave, I'll log that other wish as a debt. See ya. Good luck. The next day, they met again at the cafeteria. Hyunwoo pulled out a chair feeling relaxed. It's been a while since I've had a lunch without classes. Kim Ho just closed his eyes as if to relax. Resting is also a part of training. We pushed ourselves too hard yesterday. It's good to take a day off today. He looked at him and smiled. By the way, what did you call me out for? Kim Ho replied cheerfully. I wanted to show you all something else interesting. After clearing the dungeon. I'm talking about the joy of opening random boxes. The system panel displayed a notification. Githam alter random box D+. Both of them stared as he spoke. All right then, let's begin the box opening session. A stream of light emitted from inside. First up, the first one. All 3 were stunned. Kim Ho seemed quite pleased. E-rank title. Oh, not a bad start, huh? Kim Ho nervously opened the next box. Next up? Hyunwoo couldn't help but be impressed. Inside it is the black bracelet of the priest D-rank. It dropped. He was also quite satisfied in his heart. Got both a title and jewelry with the priest attribute. At this rate, I've already made a huge profit, haven't I? Kim Ho made a suggestion. You guys should try opening one too. Hearing that, Hyunwoo was startled. Is that really okay? He nervously opened the box. Well then, if you insist. Hyunwoo didn't seem too happy seeing the wooden cup of the Githam, tribe F rank. Even he was speechless. You're really something else. Not a shred of luck. He felt very sad. I'm sorry, Kim Ho. Kim Ho immediately reassured his friend. Come on. There's no need to apologize like that. Don't worry about it. I was the one who asked you to open the box anyway. The light from the box next to him was blinding. I'm so embarrassed. I've never had any luck with things like this. Solyan's face was still expressionless. Hyunwoo also stared blankly. Isn't this a hug pillow Githam pillow B rank? Kim Ho was also very surprised. A pillow that's B rank? He broke out in a sweat, stroking his chin in thought. A B rank item dropping from a D rank random box. This is nothing short of a miracle. I can't believe Solyan hit those insane odds. Hyunwoo also felt it was a shame. Looking at the stats, it's clearly an item geared towards combat support. It's a shame it's something you use when you sleep. Kim Ho was still lost in thought. But it's only a shame for us. There's always a huge demand for lifestyle items. Many people would want to buy it. It would be better to sell it and trade for another item. Should I send it to the supply center? Or put it up for auction? While still pondering, he saw Seolyeon staring at the pillow with sparkling eyes. Kim Ho understood and asked, Do you want it? Seolyeon just silently nodded. He remembered her tired moments and thought to himself, wait, on second thought, maybe it would be better to let Seolyeon keep it. If she uses this pillow, thanks to the fatigue recovery effect, her sleep time will be reduced. More time awake means more effective. Training. If I think about the impact on Seolyeon's training, it's definitely worth giving to her. After a moment, Kim Ho finally spoke. All right, it's a gift. Take it. It seemed Seolyeon was very moved. Really? He also gave a friendly smile. Yeah, it's a gift. Seolyeon took it but remained silent. A moment later, she hugged it and said thanks. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket vibrated. Hyunwoo felt worried. Kim Ho, what's wrong? He looked at his phone, curious. Shin Byung-chun's phone. What could it be? As soon as Kim Ho answered, he started rambling. Oh, you picked up. Hey, are you free? If you're not busy, can you come to the club room right away? Kim Ho was quite surprised and asked back. Right now, what's going on? He immediately replied. It's about that deep dungeon matter I asked you about before. Things have gotten a bit complicated, so she wants to see you. A moment later, Kim Ho pushed open the door to the thievery club room. Gujang saw him and smiled. "Oh, you're here. We were waiting for you." A young man immediately noticed him. "This kid is the one. Heard you've been making a move recently, sis." The twin brother next to him immediately added, "Rumor has it you even caused a commotion with the Magic Engineering Club." The other guy sneered, "Forcing us to let our underclassmen go. Wasn't it the guy was busy talking and didn't notice something next to him? Bong Duk. The senior got his ass kicked. And he seemed to love it. Seeing you in action like that is a first for me in my entire life." As he was still talking, that thing wrapped tightly around his mouth. Gujang immediately yelled, "Too loud! Don't butt in, get lost." Then she turned and coughed a few times. "Don't mind their nonsense." Kim Ho wasn't too bothered. "Yes, senior," but Gujang frowned. "Replying so quickly sounds like you were a little bothered." He could only force a laugh. "I'll try to get over it. Let's skip the useless pleasantries." Gujang stretched her arms out long. "Let's get straight to the point. The Black Serpent Gang commission you requested earlier, the receiving party ran into some trouble. It's caught up in a bid." Kim Ho was also a bit curious. "A regular bid or a priority bid?" It seemed she wasn't very happy. "A priority bid." Hearing that, he was also startled. "A priority bid. This is going to be trouble. Deep dungeons, once their core is destroyed, cannot be re-entered until they regenerate. Within a certain cycle, the number of people who can challenge the same dungeon is limited. And for dungeons with good rewards, competition is inevitable. To resolve this type of competition in a fair way, what Dragonslayer Academy implemented was the bidding system. The most basic method of the bidding system is called regular bidding. It's a method of ordering participation based on the successful clear rate of the teams. But there is a system that can reverse that condition, called priority bidding. Each club possesses a certain number of priority bidding rights. If this right is used, all conditions of the regular bidding are waived, and they immediately gain the right to enter that dungeon first. And currently that means the Black Serpent Gang has gotten caught up in this priority bid. She also voiced her concerns. "Of course we're going in unofficially, so entering the dungeon isn't a problem. But once we clear that dungeon, it will close. And the club that placed the priority bid definitely won't let it slide. Oh, by the way, the club that placed the priority bid this time is the Swordsmanship Club. You know them. The Swordsmanship Club is one of the top-ranking clubs, vying for first or second place at Dragonslayer Academy. Even so, you still want to proceed." But he replied very seriously. "Yes, I want to proceed." This made her angry. "Are you serious, really?" He was very firm with his choice. "Let me handle the consequences. Please proceed." In the end, she had to accept. "Fine. Anyway, you're an outstanding junior. You must have your ways, so let's give it a shot." Byung-chun couldn't hide his surprise. "You're going yourself, sis," Gujang replied very casually. "Of course. I'll go with Davin. In return, I get an extra fee." "What do you say?" Kim Ho cheerfully agreed. "If we're going to do it, we should do it right." Gujang suddenly looked at him with a probing expression. "By the way, who are you going with? That cute gray-haired girl from before?" He just squinted back at her. "Ah, you must have seen him during the match between Go, Hyunwoo, and Ibaro." She glanced sideways and said nonchalantly, "Ah, that handsome guy from back then? But if you guys can handle a B-rank dungeon by yourselves, that's pretty impressive." The girl in her group looked puzzled. "Vice Captain, this girl is a first year. She can enter a B-rank dungeon." Only then did Gujang get startled, thinking to herself, "Ah, right, Davin probably doesn't know about this. You saw him when we broke into the temporary storage, but he was wearing a mask back then, with perception concealing magic on it." Gujang worriedly whispered to Kim Ho, "Hey, is it okay to talk about that?" He replied wearily, "As long as you don't go blabbing it all over the place, it should be fine." Gujang cleared her throat to speak more clearly. "Hey, Davin, don't be shocked, listen carefully, he is Inferno." She immediately whipped her head around to look at him. "What?" After a moment, Kim Ho handed over a thick stack of papers. "Well, then I guess introductions are over. Everyone take a look at this." She squinted, flipping through the pages, and asked, "What's this?" "A strategy for the Six Masters' Sanctum." "Where did you find this, hey? Take a look at this. Go back in and just grab the good stuff. Then get out." After reading for a while, all three exclaimed in admiration. "You're no different from a thief." Gujang laughed with delight. "I told you so. He's the best fit for our club." Davin also changed her opinion of him. "Now that I look closely, he's actually quite cute." Kim Ho frankly objected. "I'm open to opportunities, but that doesn't mean I'll accept just anything." She just sighed. "You're really sharp." Kim Ho returned to the main topic. "So, do you think it's possible to follow this strategy?" Gujang nodded at his words. "Yeah, if we follow your plan, we probably won't have to fight. We'll be fine as long as Byung-chun disarms the trigger mechanism." He jumped when he heard his name. "I have to go in too." She immediately reminded him. "You said you were confident." "You're always." "So there is a way." Kim Ho didn't beat around the bush. The young man could only sigh wearily. "Well, I did say that. But a B-rank dungeon is a whole different story. Your life is on the line in there. I absolutely won't do it. No, I mean I can't do it. Kim Ho, standing beside him, goaded him on. Really? You're going to regret this. But Byung-chun didn't waver. Sorry, but no matter how high the reward is, I'm not risking my life for it. Before he could finish his sentence, Kim Ho read out loud, Shadow Ghost. He thought to himself, if you work in a profession that values secrecy, then this is a hidden piece you can't pass up. Even the assassin I met before revealed his identity when faced with it. For a thievery club, this condition is even harder to refuse. Gujong asked skeptically, does that thing really exist? I thought it was just a school legend. He affirmed once again it's real. She understood and winked, adding to the pressure. Yeah, you're not the type to make things up. Well, then we can't pass this up. If Byung-chun doesn't go, then it's just us. He couldn't take it anymore and did a 180. What? A man has to have goals and dare to challenge himself. When it comes to magic mechanisms, isn't Shin Byung-chun here the expert? Kim Ho was at a loss for words with them. If Gujong still trusts him, Shin Byung-chun's abilities must be very reliable. If you come with us, all the better. After that, he parted ways with them to go back. All right, see you on Friday night. Time passed until Friday night of the next week. At the Mana training room, he was sitting in a corner to cultivate. Before entering the deep level of the dungeon, I need to prepare a few things carefully. My skill level has increased, so D-rank items are starting to become insufficient. With the priest trait I just got, thanks to the resonance with the black bracelet of the priest, mana is accumulated, quickly increasing the core's level. Next is the title. The D-rank one I got from the random box. Although heavy cannon is my main skill, it's very difficult to level it up the normal way. Oh well, I'll use this title to rank it up to be safe. Kim Ho looked at the information on the screen. The rank of the skill heavy cannon has increased from E to D. The level of the core has increased from D to C. He smiled with determination. All right, all preparations are complete. I've prepared everything I need. At this level, I probably won't be lacking anything when I enter the deep level of the dungeon, right? Just then Hyunwoo appeared and greeted him. Kim Ho, you're in the training room too, Kim Ho. Kim Ho also smiled warmly in response. Oh, are you about to head out too? Training right up until you enter the dungeon. That's impressive. He recalled his training session and recounted, I'm getting used to my new weapon now. I think I can probably use it proficiently in a real fight now. Kim Ho smiled, looking pleased. Good, it seems like everything is ready. Well then, shall we go? That evening, they arrived at the dungeon area. The three from Gujong's group were waiting. Looks like everyone's here. If you're ready, let us head out. Hyunwoo felt worried again. But Kim Ho, is it really okay to go like this? What about the item you asked for earlier? Kim Ho quickly reassured him. Don't need it. Just watch and you'll see. You'll understand. Gujong had deployed her familiar skill. Shadow butterfly flight. The butterflies fluttered all around. Hyunwoo finally understood. I see. Using butterflies to scout. Kim Ho quickly confirmed. That's right. We just need to follow them. Gujong ran ahead, shouting, Let's go! Daven took the opportunity to check her tablet. Very quickly, flying cameras appeared. A few more approached her. Gujong quickly jumped down below. After landing, she immediately gave an order. Everyone stop. Davin and I will guard the dungeon entrance. From here on out, everything depends on you guys. Ahead, it will be completely different from anything we've ever seen. So good luck to you all. Let's see each other again alive. Everyone then stepped out of the gate. Kim Ho glanced at Byung-chun, who was observing his surroundings, and thought, as soon as we entered the dungeon, everyone immediately became tense and their movements are a bit clumsy, as expected of a B-rank dungeon. Is everyone nervous? If I just leave them like this, the plan will fail no matter how perfect it is. I need to boost their morale a bit. He suddenly called out to him, Shin Byung-chun. Scared, huh? In his mind, he had a plan. At times like this, awakening their manly spirit is the best way. He waved his hands dismissively. Hey, what are you talking about? Who says I'm scared? Kim Ho pointed to his trembling legs. Your legs are shaking right there. Byung-chun quickly made an excuse. It's just a habit. Just a normal habit. Nothing to worry about. So, this is the B-rank dungeon Black Serpent's lair. Hyunwoo felt suspicious. But don't you think something is strange? Normally, with this many people, it should be noisy. I don't understand why the atmosphere is so strangely quiet. Kim Ho analyzed coldly. This area constantly experiences unusual incidents. Unfortunately, we have to take advantage of those very incidents. If we follow the plan and get close to the target, Alliance will achieve our goal. First, let's go to the first rendezvous point. They arrived in front of a shop. Welcome. The young waiter immediately ran up to ask, What would you like to have, sirs? Kim Ho didn't think too much and ordered, 3 duck soups and 1 plate of dumplings, please. He appeared extremely welcoming. Yes, I'll prepare it right away. Byung-chun looked at the man and immediately became wary. You mean? That's right. It's definitely coming soon. Kim Ho closed his eyes and gave the information. In this place, they periodically kidnap hunters. Their next target is that restaurant. A moment later, the waiter brought the food and reported, "Your food is ready." Hyunwoo looked at the food that had been served on the table and exclaimed, "That was fast, we just ordered and it's here." The other man quickly replied, "My father wakes up at the crack of dawn to prepare." "Well then, please enjoy your meal." Just then a masked man entered. "Strange, you have customers today? Business is good?" The other guy immediately clarified, "To the 6 Ox Gate. I'm sure we've paid this month's tribute in full." But the man corrected him. "No, I came for something else today." Hyunwoo immediately noticed the men. "Is that them?" Kim-ho quickly confirmed. "Yes. Low-level fighters from the Dark Shadow Room." On the other side, the masked man threatened, "You're coming with us." The young man immediately started trembling. "About that," an old man suddenly ran out. "No, please, don't take my son, please. Please spare him." The man's hand reached for the old man's face. Right after he elbowed the old man in the stomach, the man fell to the ground in pain. The other thug immediately threatened the young man. "Come along quietly. If you hesitate any longer..." "You know what'll happen, right?" The thug grabbed him by the collar. The old man could only kneel and beg. "No, you can't. My son." At that moment, Kim-ho spoke up. "Hey, old man. We'll go and bring your son back." The old man, deeply moved, grabbed his hand. "If you can really do that, I'll give you everything I have." Kim-ho gave a meaningful smile. "Don't go back on your word later." Then he stepped out of the eatery. He watched the three figures in the distance, assessing them. "Looks like they haven't gone far. Let's follow them." Hyunwoo whispered to the other two. "They're turning into a deserted area. It seems like they've noticed us." But Kim-ho wasn't worried at all. "That's fine. It's better if they're waiting for us over there." As they were tailing them, one of the men pointed his sword at the three of them. "Who are you guys?" "Oh, you're the ones from the inn earlier. Trying to play the hero here." Hyunwoo was indignant. "Seeing a young man get taken right before our eyes. How could we just stand by?" Kim-ho agreed. "Right, to see injustice. And do nothing would make us less than human." The two thugs immediately charged forward. "I admire your courage, but you're fools. That spirit of justice will just get you killed." He calmly reminded Hyunwoo, "Try not to tear their clothes." He agreed. "Got it." Kim-ho summoned the power of wind. The man seemed unaffected. He even yelled back, "Tricks are useless." He quickly dodged the slash. Right after he grabbed the man's face, Kim-ho slammed him down with all his might. He watched Hyunwoo fight and thought, "This side is done. Looks like the other side hasn't been decided yet." Byung-chun attacked from behind, even shouting as he did. He was immediately kicked in the groin by the other guy. Kim-ho sighed in exasperation. "Well, that figures. Go Hyunwoo can't use his sword, so this is expected." But seeing two people ganging up on one made him feel annoyed. This fight is so sloppy. A moment later, he dusted off his hands with a sigh. Byung-chun looked at the two tied-up men in surprise. "What, these guys are low-level fighters? Aren't they captain level?" He quickly confirmed it again. "Yeah, in this area they're the weakest." Actually, he was worried internally. In the lower Dan realm, they'd probably be mid-boss level, but he decided not to say it out loud. Kim-ho turned and smiled at the young man. "All right, the situation is resolved. Let's head back." Back at the eatery, the young man immediately ran to the old man. "Father!" The old man was overjoyed. "My son!" He hugged the young man tightly, expressing his gratitude. "Thank you. Thank you all so much." Kim-ho scratched his cheek, flustered. "Sorry to interrupt this touching moment, but we still need to settle the score." The old man then remembered his promise. "Ah, yes. How can I ever thank you?" Kim-ho pointed to a statue in the distance. "I'll just take that." The old man seemed surprised and asked, "Isn't that a Daruma statue?" "Please take as many as you like," Kim-ho replied politely. "Thank you, I'll just finish my meal and then be on my way." The old man happily offered, "Then I'll heat it right up for you." A while later, Hyunwoo was observing the statue and wondered, "But this statue doesn't look like an ordinary item." Byung-chun pointed at it and guessed, "That seems to be used in formations, right?" Hyunwoo looked quite surprised. "A formation? You mean this statue?" Kim-ho had to confirm. "Yes, it's used in a formation. To be precise, it's a confirmation key, used to break a special type of formation." Hearing that, he broke into a sweat. "Kim, this statue? To say it's just a formation key?" Before he could finish, Kim-ho stood up and cut him off. "It also contains the martial arts principles of the person who carved it. You should keep it. You'll probably need it sooner or later. Now that we're full, let's get serious." A moment later, the three of them went to another location. Kim-ho turned back to remind them. "I'm sure everyone has memorized the strategy map, but let's go over it one more time. How to conquer the Black Snake's room. Overall, it's quite similar to the Feathered Altar map. While I keep the Black Snake Master and the main forces busy, your mission is to split into 2 groups and collect 10 target items. However, the biggest difference from the Feathered Altar map is the Black Snake Master is too strong. He can't be killed, so we'll finish this a different way. The items listed in the strategy book You all brought them right. Byung-chun answered immediately. Of course, Hyunwoo also smiled brightly. Of course we did. He presented 2 items along with their information. Emergency escape scroll B, in-ear communicator set B. Kim-ho instructed them. Put on the communicators and hold on to the escape scrolls. All right, I'll be acting alone from here. If anything happens, contact me immediately. If you stick to the plan, there shouldn't be any problems. But still be careful. Hyunwoo smiled encouragingly. Good luck. A moment later, the guard on watch opened his eyes wide. He looked at Kim-ho walking up the stairs and wondered. Who the hell is this? I asked you who you are. But besides Kim-ho's hand flaring up, there was no other response. The guard drew his sword and threatened. You think staying silent will save you? Then I'll shut that mouth of yours for good. Huh, what's that on your hand? Kim-ho clenched his fist and flames erupted around it. He threw a casual punch. It instantly sent the masked man flying deep inside. He clenched his fist again. Black smoke billowed out from inside, growing thicker. Retracting his hand, Kim-ho glanced at the fire and clicked his tongue. It's burning quite well, since it's made of wood. Even though he was the one who started it. Watching the flickering flames was mesmerizing. Suddenly, from behind Kim-ho, a scream was heard. What's that? What's going on? Which way is the fire? Put it out quickly. He glanced behind him, thinking to himself, oh, they're noisy. They still haven't noticed me after all this commotion. Their reaction time is surprisingly slow. Maybe I should help them a little. Kim-ho took a deep breath and shouted loudly, enemy attack. Immediately, a group of assassins appeared out of nowhere, surrounding him. Kim-ho thought to himself, there's quite a few of them. Are they trying to overwhelm me with numbers? Well, it's not like that'll... One of them shouted, who are you? He shrugged with a nonchalant expression. You can't tell by looking. I already told you it's an enemy attack. The masked man tightened his grip on his sword, frowning as he spoke. He's insane, get him! Hearing the order, the group leaped towards Kim-ho in unison. He didn't flinch, just smirked. Insane, yeah. That's probably right. Well then, let's begin. With that thought, Kim-ho bent down to gather his strength. He leaped several meters into the air. Fire erupted from his hands. Kim-ho said maniacally, let's play and see who's really crazier. He struck down with a powerful blow, so fast they didn't have time to defend themselves. The ground around them shattered under the immense force. The masked men, every single one of them, fell to the ground panting heavily. Kim-ho stood in the center of the circle and smiled faintly. At this point, he should have noticed me by now. Maybe I should break a little. More to make him show himself sooner. Just then, next to Kim-ho, a cold voice rang out. Looking at your techniques, could you be a disciple of the Flame Tyrant? You've truly made a mess of this place. Kim-ho immediately recognized the man's voice. He thought to himself, you're earlier than I expected. The man looked straight into Kim-ho's eyes and warned, naturally you will pay the price for this. Destruction with your life. This man was known to Kim-ho as the Black Snake Master. His gaze became extremely wary. The Flame Tyrant. Did he misunderstand because of the Hellfist technique? Whatever this is actually good, it'll make it easier to get his attention. Kim-ho smiled mockingly. I have no reason to answer. A lowlife from a demonic sect. Claws emerged, Black Snake's dark aura extending. Seeing this, the man said coldly, how arrogant. If you truly are a disciple of the Flame Tyrant, then answer me with your strength. As he finished speaking, the Black Snake swung his arm towards Kim-ho, attacking. He leaned back slightly to dodge and clicked his tongue, attacking without a single word of warning. That's really unfair. At least let me finish talking. The man looked at Kim-ho and snorted. You dodged that. Not bad. Staring at the Black Snake's claws, he lamented internally. His technique is a combination of claw arts and poison arts. So vicious. Just a single scratch would be fatal. Of course, the man wouldn't stop there. The Black Snake roared. You're good at running, just like a slippery eel. With that, he lunged forward to attack once more. And this time Kim-ho dodged again. All I have to do is avoid all his attacks. The Black Snake grew impatient, gritting his teeth. Stand still, he shrugged provocatively. I've always been quick on my feet. Oh, and by the way, you should probably wash your hands. Look, they're completely black. His words made the Black Snake pause for a beat. What did you just say? As Kim-ho dodged with his agile movements, he clicked his tongue. Once you've washed those hands, I might consider having a match with you. But as you are now, I can't be bothered to get close. The Black Snake's body trembled with rage. He hissed, you bastard! I will grant you a most painful death. However, the Black Snake's claws were once again a beat too slow to touch Kim-ho's body. He smiled regretfully. You seem a bit slow to be granting death to anyone. He continued to rush forward, attacking relentlessly, constantly asking, how long are you going to run? As Kim-ho dodged, he thought to himself, until I get the signal from Go Hyunwoo. I just need to keep the Black Snake Masters full attention on me. As soon as I get the signal, I'll just retreat. But if I drag this on too long, The diversion might be too obvious and get exposed. It seems the Black Snake Master is starting to get suspicious. With that thought, Kim Ho made up his mind. I guess it's time to land a blow on him. A calm smile remained on his face. Kim Ho slowly began to speak. If you really want it, then I'll show you. The power emanating from his hand also caused the system to sound a warning. Hell Fist. Overload. The Black Snake could finally confirm it. So, it's true, you really are a disciple of the Flame Tyrant. Clenching his fist, Kim Ho shrugged. Think whatever you want. Seeing him once again gather strength and leap high, the man exclaimed in shock. Are you trying to destroy this place again? However, jumping up like that is a foolish move. In the air, those fancy movements of yours are useless. The Black Snake's claws were about to touch Kim Ho's face, but at that very moment, with his agile movements, he leapt behind the man. Kim Ho smiled arrogantly. Is that so? With that, he swung his fist forward. That was the Wind Force technique. Hell Fist. Slowly pulling his fist back, Kim Ho frowned and guessed that was a direct hit. But this is still too weak to take down the master. The Serpent Dance Priest is only a D-rank leader. The reason why the leader of a common dark syndicate is ranked B is because the Black Snake Clan isn't just any common dark syndicate. His true identity is a survivor from the great war between the righteous and demonic sects of the past. While deep in thought, the Black Snake's low voice rang out, pulling Kim Ho's attention. I said it before, your technique is quite good, but I didn't expect you to have learned Void Step. It seems I've underestimated a disciple of the Flame Tyrant. Kim Ho frowned with caution. Is he getting serious? Not just the Black Snake Master, but the Black Snake Lord of the Heavenly Demon Cult. The Black Snake's body transformed, becoming much more muscular than before. He roared, if I don't tear you to pieces today. Meanwhile, inside the building, the masked men were running around in chaos. Unknown voices overlapped with each other, echoing nonstop. The main gate? What's happening? There's a fire. Put it out, hurry. Go Hyunwoo frowned and whispered to Shin Byung-chun. Looks like we slipped past without being detected. He nodded in agreement. If things keep going this smoothly, we might not even have to fight. The two of them ran forward together. Go Hyunwoo voiced his speculation. That door seems to be the entrance to the treasury. Shin Byung-chun shared the same thought. Yeah. Seeing the guards, there's no mistaking it. After communicating with Go Hyunwoo, Shin Byung-chun suddenly shouted, Hey, can't you hear? It's the main gate. The main gate? There's an intruder at the main gate. Go Hyunwoo, from behind, had to glance at him with a surprised look. His acting is really impressive. The burly man standing guard looked straight at the two, sizing them up, from head to toe. After a moment of silence, he smirked slightly and said, So it's you, the intruders. I have to commend you. You have some guts to have snuck this far, but your luck runs out here. Shin Byung-chun gritted his teeth and frowned. Damn it! How did he find out? This disguise was supposed to be perfect. The man drew the sword at his hip, speaking with a mocking tone. So many have set foot in here, only to lose their lives. As a member of the clan, there's no way you wouldn't know that. And another thing, he pointed his sword at Go Hyunwoo's face and yelled, I don't remember ever seeing a pretty boy like you before? Shin Byung-chun was startled. He glanced at Go Hyunwoo and thought, he got caught just for being too handsome even with his face covered. I wish I could get caught for that reason. He didn't feel guilty at all. Instead, he smiled cheerfully. So it was my fault. I'm just grateful for being called handsome. Hyunwoo lunged forward, decisively slicing the burly man's body apart. He said with a cold voice, I hope you understand. I have no choice but to cut you down here. While Go Hyunwoo dealt with him, Shin Byung-chun was struggling with the door on the side. This is such a pain to open. I wonder who designed it, to be locked so tightly. Go. Hyunwoo looked on helplessly and called out softly, Hyung, why did you run all the way over there? Taking off his mask, Shin Byung-chun sighed. Even though I don't like it, I still have to do my job. I wasn't called here to use a sword. They asked for me because I'm a technician. Hearing that, Go Hyunwoo smiled brightly. Of course I know that. I heard you're an extremely skilled expert. Hyung, I have high expectations for you. Hyung. Shin Byung-chun couldn't help but chuckle. If you say so, then let me show you what real class is. Watch carefully. This is the masterpiece performance of Shin Byung-chun. As he spoke, he rushed towards the large door, frantically working on it. A moment later, small pieces of wood fell from the door. After a sigh from Shin Byung-chun, the door was finally opened. Go Hyunwoo, watching this display, was so surprised that he stuttered, It's done. He smiled and nodded. Yes, you can go in now. The two of them entered together. Go. Hyunwoo looked around and said softly, This is the main path to the treasury, but there are no security devices. Shin Byung-chun snorted disdainfully. Geez, you can't trust these amateurs. Places like this are ideal for hiding hidden traps. As soon as he finished speaking, Go Hyunwoo's foot stepped on a tile containing a hidden trap. He quickly noticed something flashed from the side. As soon as it was fired, Go Hyunwoo managed to lean back and dodge it in time. Looking at the sharp arrow embedded in the wall, still vibrating, he nodded in agreement. You're right. I didn't expect the trap mechanism to be hidden so well. Without you, we would have been in danger. Shin Byung-chun frowned and asked, Now do you understand? If you let your guard down for a second, you'll die instantly, Go Hyunwoo quickly replied. From now on, I'll only trust you. Shin Byung-chun readied a few small tools on his chest. Shin Byung-chun declared loudly, Good, then stick close to me from now on. Go Hyunwoo immediately replied, Yes. On their way, Shin Byung-chun constantly gave him orders. Step here. Press here when I give the signal. Pull this. Now pull. He nimbly jumped over the traps without a scratch. Once they were safely on the other side, Shin Byung-chun smiled and said, Done. You can cross now. Go Hyunwoo quickly followed behind him. He couldn't help but praise him. I had only heard about it, but your ability to control mechanisms is truly amazing. Shin Byung-chun see, people need to know how to use technology to get things done. Understand? Shin Byung-chun stood before a solid stone wall, frowning. But this is a dead end. I've concealed the entrance to the treasury with a false wall to hide it. Go Hyunwoo held his sword firmly and said, After I cut through the outer layer of stone, I'll leave the rest to you. Right after, he unleashed a flurry of sharp slashes. The rock and stone around them fell. Shin Byung-chun stood to the side, applauding in admiration. Go Hyunwoo said flatly, All right, please step back a bit. Shin Byung-chun looked at the result of his work. He asked quietly, Is this enough? Shin Byung-chun nodded. Good, that's enough. From here, it's my turn. First, let me borrow that Daruma statue you got earlier. A moment later, he used his small tools, trying to find a way to disable the door's mechanism. His brows furrowed in deep concentration. You mean this? If this is one of the keys to breaking the barrier, then it must also be one of the important components here. After dismantling all the other parts, and finally if I insert it into this slot, the door to the treasury will open. The two of them entered together. Shin Byung-chun looked around and let out a sigh. Just one item in this pile? How much would it be worth? Go. Hyunwoo clicked his tongue and said quietly, Just a glance shows they're all precious items. He nodded in agreement. I think so too. But we can't risk our lives, just for them. Do you see the black talisman on that chest over there? As it says in the strategy guide, that's the Black Snake Master's special anti-theft device. If a single finger touches the talisman, poison will be sprayed out instantly. So absolutely don't get greedy and touch it. Don't do it, snap out of it, Shin Byung-chun. Go Hyunwoo stood to the side, watching him act it all out. His expression became helpless. He's talking to himself. Glancing in another direction, Go Hyunwoo continued. By the way, the strategy guide clearly states that there is only one item without a protective talisman. Suddenly, his eyes caught a glowing object in the room. Go Hyunwoo picked up the master's black chest. His face couldn't hide his surprise. A small black chest, exactly as described in the guide. Found the chest. Let's get out of here. Shin Byung-chun happily agreed. Right, staying here any longer is pointless. The two of them quickly ran out. As he was leaving, he said, Hey, I've disabled all the trap mechanisms on the way in. Getting out of here and into the safe zone should be no problem. It would be more fun if something unexpected really appeared. Go Hyunwoo anxiously reminded Shin Byung-chun. Don't say such unlucky things. You know that words can become reality. He immediately replied, Right. Right, my mouth really runs away with me sometimes. Suddenly Go Hyunwoo froze. He stammered, That's... Shin Byung-chun next to him glanced at him with a confused look. What's wrong? What's with the sudden stop? But then, he himself adopted a similar expression. Wait a minute. It's really working. Could it be... That's the person mentioned in the guide. The old man with white hair and a white beard looked at the two and asked in a low voice, Your work is very clean. Was it you? Go, Hyunwoo stammered in reply. Yes, that's right. I have something to ask. Are you the elder of the Heavenly Demon Cult Senior? Baekhui Yusil the White Snake. As he said this, he frowned and thought. White Snake. He was the vice leader of the Black Snake sect in the past. He was a high-ranking elder of the Heavenly Demon Cult, and one of the two who held the titles of Black Snake and White Snake, an existence that even the Black Snake Master couldn't completely control. He wanders aimlessly within the Black Snake sect's territory, following no rules, and only with extremely bad luck can one encounter him. Go Hyunwoo swallowed hard in shock. That means the current situation is the absolute worst luck, meaning we're facing the worst possible opponent. His strength is beyond any measure. If we fight, we will surely be defeated. Power was channeled into the sword in his hand. Go Hyunwoo reminded Shin Byung-chun in a low voice. If you can stay away from him. Shin Byung-chun frowned and asked, What about you? Go Hyunwoo thought to himself. The gap in our strength is too great, so escaping is also impossible. If so, there's only one way. Then he said in a firm voice, "I'll try to handle this myself." Baekhui Yusul looked at the two of them and praised them softly. "It's commendable that you've achieved so much, before even turning 20, Go Hyunwoo replied coldly. "It's all thanks to my master and my close friends." The old man reached into his clothes and drew a sharp sword, saying, "Indeed, you have a worthy master and precious friends. However, what a pity, how sad, that with my own hands, I must send a promising junior like you to your death. Blame your own unlucky fate for meeting this older man today. Out of a shred of pity, I will allow you the first move." Go Hyunwoo tightened his grip on the sword. He agreed without a hint of hesitation. "Then I shall take you up on that offer. I hope you're ready." He unleashed the blue stream sword technique, aiming straight for Baek Hyukseol. He watched the old man silently assessing him. He's not just controlling the wind, but also the very flow of ki. This is no ordinary technique, but the sword in Baek Hyukseol's hand bent in an impossible way. Go Hyunwoo was instantly stunned when he saw it. This is the way of the soft sword A, unique killer move. The corpse blood serpent was unleashed without any mercy. Its immense power successfully knocked Go Hyunwoo backward. He gasped, a single move with such terrifying power, but with a complete disregard for the consequences. Seeing him cough up blood in pain, Baek Hyukseol's cold voice rang out. "This is a technique suitable only for dying together with your opponent. Surely you didn't expect this old man to go easy on you, did you? Now prepare yourself for the next move." Shinpyo Ung-cheon stood to the side, shuddering just from watching. Just a single clash shook my entire body to this extent. Go Hyunwoo had completely collapsed. Fresh blood poured relentlessly from his mouth. He trembled, trying to think of a way. With such a gap in our strength, a clumsy counterattack is completely meaningless. If that's the case, my only choice is to use the strongest move I have. Go Hyunwoo struggled to his feet. His eyes shone with a resilient look. Baek Hyukseol found this more and more interesting. He laughed with excitement. "Excellent! However, it's still not enough to block this old man's ultimate technique." With that, Baek Hyukseol once again lunged towards him. In his heart, Go Hyunwoo made a resolution. "Therefore, I must succeed." Suddenly, his eyes widened in realization. This movement it looks exactly like the endless carvings on the Daruma. Statue, a single line that perfectly matches the sword's trajectory. That's the point. A great source of power welled up, creating the blue stream sword technique. Go Hyunwoo gritted his teeth and charged forward, dodging the attack from Baek Hyukseol. The old man nodded in satisfaction. "Incredible! I never thought someone as young as you could execute such a perfect move. You have every right to be proud of that." Go Hyunwoo panted heavily. He maintained his stance, thinking to himself, that last blue stream sword technique was almost flawless, and it still wasn't enough. At that moment, a sharp glint appeared in Baek Hyukseol's eyes. He said in a low voice, "If I keep holding back, it would be an insult to you. It's time for this old man to show a little more of my true strength. The power from within." Baek Hyukseol's body radiated outwards once more. Go Hyunwoo immediately recognized this aura. Just facing it makes my skin tingle. It's as if a giant serpent is staring me down. Go Hyunwoo faced an immense power, without flinching. He carefully formulated a plan for himself. The next move must be his strongest technique. With my current strength, I absolutely cannot block it. But I cannot fall here. I must fulfill the generations-old wish of my school, the last wish my master entrusted to me. The faith of my fellow disciples, those who have placed their hopes in me and are waiting for me. Thinking this, Go Hyunwoo gritted his teeth and roared. "You expect me to fall here? I'm not ready for this to be the end," Baek Hyukseol said coldly. "Then take this with everything you have. This is the final blow." Go Hyunwoo looked towards him with determined eyes. He was like a true warrior, standing alone against that giant python, watching his movements. Baek Hyukseol could somewhat guess his intention. That technique, it's a style that uses softness to overcome hardness, employing pure flexibility to neutralize a killing blow. You don't think? That alone can stop that attack. Do you? If you're counting on a shred of pity from this old man, then you will be buried here. Baek Hyukseol unleashed his fatal blow, called White Serpent Ascends to Heaven. He lunged, attacking him head-on. However, Go Hyunwoo appeared strangely calm at this moment. He seized the perfect opportunity, gathering momentum to leap up and dodge the sword strike from Baek Hyukseol. The old man's face turned incredibly sour. This was a true battle between the two of them. The ground was imprinted with a deep mark after Go's move. Hyunwoo's body had reached its limit, causing him to let out a painful cough. Baek Hyukseol glanced at Go Hyunwoo, lost in thought. That kid, he used the longsword strapped to his back, and he still stood his ground against that ultimate technique. The moment the two swords clashed, it was as if an invisible force tore apart the space. between them. That sword must be an absolute masterpiece. So what in the world is that sword, and the identity of the boy who owns it? Sheathing his weapon, Baek Hyuk-seol thought to himself, but the fight ends here. I have countless questions I want to ask, but asking now would only make this moment seem trivial. Finally, he slowly turned back to look at Go Hyun-woo. He said coldly, "You may leave now." I recall saying that the last move was the final blow. This old man never speaks empty words. Go. Hyun-woo instinctively remembered his words before he delivered the finishing blow. Then take this. This is the final blow. Only now did he realize. So that's what you meant, Baek Hyuk-seol said in a low voice. Take him and leave. I won't give chase. Shin Pyo-eun hurriedly expressed his gratitude. Thank you very much. He quickly helped Go Hyun-woo leave. After taking a few steps, he looked back at the old man with a wary gaze, whispering, Hey, don't tell me that old man is letting us go, just so he can stab us in the back later. Go Hyun-woo looked forward without turning his head, but his voice held a resolute tone. I will visit you again next time. Baek Hyuk-seol nodded in agreement. I will be waiting. Only after leaving that place did Shin Pyo-eun let out a sigh of relief. At least that old man didn't trick us. Thank goodness. It seems no one is following us. Let's rest and regain some strength before we continue. He held out a potion bottle in front of Go Hyun-woo and said, Here, drink this. He widened his eyes in confusion. What is this? Shin Pyo-eun explained. This is something called a hyper potion. It's a high-grade recovery potion. I made an exception and took out one bottle that I had stashed away in my inventory. He downed the bottle in one gulp. Go. Hyun-woo wiped his mouth and said gratefully, Thanks to you, I feel much better. Shin Pyo-eun smiled slightly. Of course. After drinking that, you should be feeling better. Go? Hyun-woo tilted his head and asked, Giving me such a precious item. You must have taken a big loss, right? He turned his face away, smacking his lips with a reluctant expression. It was a huge loss indeed. But what could I do? The situation had already become like this. Oh, Hyun-woo put on an excited face. You're surprisingly generous in crucial moments. I'm discovering something new about you every day. Shin Pyo-eun was crying on the inside, but he had to puff out his chest and play along. I'm the type of man who knows when to step up when needed. Remember that. Returning to a serious demeanor, Shin Pyo-eun asked in a low voice, By the way, are you really planning to visit him again? Go Hyun-woo nodded affirmatively. Yes. Hearing this, he let out a slight sigh. The next time you visit, he might not even remember you. The dungeon has been put up for auction by the Swordsmanship Club. That bunch will surely clear out the White Serpent House. You'll see. Once it resets, all the memories inside will be wiped clean. Clenching the sword in his hand, Go Hyun-woo smiled faintly. Whether he remembers me or not doesn't matter. What matters is, the fight between us is not over yet. With his eyes sparkling, he stared at his sword. Go Hyun-woo had completely understood Baek Hyuk-seol's intention. The reason he let us live, using the final blow as an excuse? It must be the competitive spirit of a martial artist, hoping that one day, he could face a more mature version of me. In other words, this match has only been postponed. The day will come when I will definitely return to settle the score. Martial artist to martial artist, back to Minho's side. At this moment, he was still fending off the storm-like attacks from the Black Serpent. He gritted his teeth in anger. Your footwork is truly impressive, but I heard that the Flame Tyrant is a mighty and tyrannical being. You are tarnishing your master's reputation. Minho leaned over once again, dodging the Black Serpent's attack. At the same time, he smiled in response. I told you. I never said I was the Flame Tyrant's disciple, right? Just then, in his earpiece, Shin Pyo-eun's voice came through. It's done. Get to the safe zone. Minho's spirits immediately lifted. All right, I guess I should wrap things up here. He looked at the Black Serpent and said coldly, I think I'll be leaving now. Of course, the man didn't want to let him go. You think I'll let you leave so easily? Minho shrugged nonchalantly. Yep, you can't catch me anyway. Right. That provocation successfully enraged the Black Serpent to the point that he hissed, you, but he paid no mind and turned to dash away. He said, see ya. Take care. The Black Serpent gave chase while shouting, Stop right there! You think I'll let you leave in one piece? Finishing his words, he channeled all his strength to unleash the Heavenly Net technique. Minho, who was running, suddenly screeched to a halt. His hand absorbed fire, key activating, reinforce. The level of Hellfist increased. C.A. Hellfist, wind power. Just as the Black Serpent's Heavenly Net was about to touch Minho, he managed to neutralize it in time. He even retaliated against him with the reinforced Hellfist. The heat radiating from it was so intense that Minho had to stop due to the pain. He looked down at his smoking palm. He thought to himself, I expected this, but I still got burned. I used Reinforce on top of Hellfist, which already has a high degree of recoil. So taking this much damage is to be expected. But even with this much power, I'm afraid it's still not enough to kill the master of the Black Serpent House. I knocked him far away and bought some time, so I should head back now. Just as he turned his back to leave from the cloud of smoke, the Black Serpent's voice rang out. Stop right there. Minho chuckled reluctantly while calculating. Look, he's already recovered. I need to get out of here before things get complicated. A moment later, after running a good distance away, Minho decided to stop. All right, getting this far should be fine. They will surely scour the area after we leave the dungeon. He's going to be so pissed when he can't find us. Looking towards the small house, Minho wondered. That abandoned house over there is the safe zone. I wonder if Go Hyun-woo and Shinpyo Eung-cheon have arrived yet. He gently opened the door. Seeing two familiar faces inside, Minho exclaimed, "Oh," while smiling. "You two got here fast." Go Hyun-woo saw him and called out, "Kim Hyung, you're here." Minho noticed something unusual and quickly asked, "Why do you two look so awful with your skills? There's no way you'd struggle against some mediocre warriors. Did you two fight the White Serpent?" Go Hyun-woo smiled awkwardly and nodded. "Yes." Minho clicked his tongue. "Bad luck. Anyway, you both worked hard." He spread his hand, materializing a B-rank emergency escape scroll. As he ripped it in half, Minho said, "We've been in the dungeon longer than I thought. I'm also worried about the two waiting outside. Now let's head back." The three of them stepped through the spatial portal to return. Shinpyo Eung-cheon excitedly waved and shouted, "Nuna, we're back." Go Hyun-woo seemed worried. "We have to scram before we get caught." A strange black smoke spread throughout the room, startling him. Go Hyun-woo quickly asked, "What in the world is this black screen?" Shinpyo Eung-cheon chuckled and replied, "Geez, don't overreact. It's Nuna's skill, so don't worry. It's called Shadow Pouch. It's a skill that conceals those around you, within a shadow space. So don't be tense. Just relax." After hearing his explanation, Go Hyun-woo felt a bit more at ease. "That's Shin Hyung for you. Thanks for explaining." After that, the group moved to a magnificent place, like a castle. Kang Gu-jong led the group and said, "All right, just a little further up here, and we'll reach the ground floor. There are a lot of people upstairs, so let's just walk." After walking for a bit, she turned her head and asked, "The break room, I presume?" Minho answered honestly. There were no major issues. Hearing that, Kang Gu-jong snapped her fingers and smiled contentedly. "That's our junior for you, a true professional. You know no one would believe it if they heard a first-year student cleared a B-rank dungeon." Suddenly her eyes widened. The smile vanished from her lips. She looked ahead. Kang Gu-jong said in a low voice, "Wait a second. It seems something has entered the range of the familiar I sent out to scout." Minho frowned and asked, "Who is it?" "Don't tell me it's a teacher." She replied, "No, it's Washington J." Kang Gu-jong's voice instinctively became quieter. "We just went down to the basement for a little stroll. We didn't even touch the dungeon. Got it?" From the portal above, a figure appeared. Guk Seung-jae nodded slightly and said, "Hello." When Kang Gu-jong saw him, she cheerfully exclaimed, "Seung-jae, hey, long time no see." In his hand, he was holding a small cage. Washington J coldly dismissed her greeting. "Skip the pleasantries. I found something like this on another floor. I came to check, but it seems that finding you guys was the right move. A first-year student coming up from the basement, and he's accompanied by second- and third-year students. And that third-year student is even the vice president of the theft club." Washington glanced over each person one by one and then requested, "Please follow me to the disciplinary committee's room for a moment." Kang Gu-jang immediately accepted. "Sure, no problem." Later at the disciplinary committee head's office, Song Chun-hee crossed her arms and said coldly, "Everyone please come in." Washington approached and whispered into the ear of the man sitting in the center of the room. "I saw them near the basement entrance and brought them here." Osahan asked in a low voice, "Were you planning to go down?" Washington spoke up and answered, "No, they were coming up." He glanced at Washington with a suspicious look. "Really?" Washington nodded slightly as if to confirm. He turned his face back and stood with a straight back. Then Guk Seung-jae turned and headed towards the portal. Osahan silently assessed the group before him. The fact that they were coming up means they've already finished their business in the basement, so it's best to verify things clearly. Thinking this, he spoke amicably. "Everyone please sit down first. Would you like anything to drink?" A student sitting opposite him said without any ceremony, "Just water for me is fine." Kang Gu-jang also added, "I'd like honey water." Shinpyo Eung-cheon, standing behind them, waved his hands in confusion. "We don't need anything." Suddenly a hand came down and pulled out a chair. Minho sat with his legs crossed and a confident expression. "Good. I happen to have some honey water right here." Osahan remained pensive and silent. After a moment, he finally asked, "Is he a member of your club now?" "I get that feeling." Kang Gu-jong draped an arm over Minho's shoulder and grinned. Something like that happened. However, he shrugged and denied it. "No, I'm trying to stay independent for a while." Osahan nodded in agreement. "Changing clubs is a hassle, so think carefully. So tell me, why did you take a first-year student down to the basement? Like that?" Kang Gujang answered frankly, for no reason at all. I just wanted to show him around. A sharp glint flashed in Osahan's eyes. He asked, you didn't enter the dungeon, did you? Minyo immediately replied, no, we didn't even get close. Only after hearing that did Osahan restore his gentle demeanor. I see. You know that first-year students are not allowed in the basement. Without permission. Right, that's a violation of the rules. Minyo obediently nodded. Yes, I know. He continued to question. Then why did you go down? Minyo shrugged and replied, I couldn't help being curious about what it looked like. Osahan sighed softly and asked everyone, curiosity is normal, but did you have to go down, even though it meant breaking the rules? He replied, no, sir. I'm sorry. After thinking for a long time, Osahan finally continued the conversation. First of all, Sungyun went down to check the basement. Hold on. I just got a call from Sungyun. He said, there are no records of any unauthorized dungeon. Clears tonight. Minyo and Kang Gujang secretly glanced at each other and smiled. Both of them had the same thought. The disciplinary committee isn't stupid. He knows we used an emergency escape scroll. But since we didn't clear the dungeon, they won't be able to know which dungeon it was. That means they cannot hold us any longer. On mere suspicion. Osahan let out a weary sigh. Regardless, the first years went down to the basement, and the other two took them. I will deduct 1 demerit point from each of you. Be careful next time. You may leave. Kang Gujang immediately agreed. It's best if we don't meet again. A moment later in the hallway, Guk Sungjae's cold voice rang out. Song Chunhee. She bowed her head respectfully and replied, yes, sir. He asked sternly, tell me what you think of today's situation. Song Chunhee thought for a moment, before carefully answering. First of all, that formation was too conspicuous, drawing too much attention. If they were really just observing the area, Senior Kang Gujang alone would have been enough. There was no need for Vice President Kang Gujang to personally intervene. Not to mention Shinpyo Eungcheon was also there. Looking at that 3-person team, it's highly likely their target was a dungeon. And if they were aiming for a high-level dungeon, they must have found a way to bypass the dungeon's security system. Furthermore, Go Hyunwoo is currently ranked in the top 10 of the first year. Clear rankings. First year. However, just now he looked like he was suffering from an internal injury. Hearing this, Washington J frowned slightly. For someone with his level of skill to sustain an internal injury, it can only mean that he challenged a dungeon of high difficulty. The difficulty would be in the range of D rank to C rank. A very low probability, but it could even be B rank. Did you check Kim Ho's hand, Song? Chunhee scratched her head and looked away. I only glanced at it, so I didn't get a chance to check it carefully, Washington J said coldly. He had a burn on his right hand. Of course it's difficult to connect the temporary storage incident with this one. But one thing is certain. That burn is recent. In that case, even if someone else enters the dungeon that they visited today, that will be the moment we catch their trail. Traces of them. A moment later outside the castle, Kang Gujang waved goodbye to everyone. She squinted her eyes and said with a smile, that's all for today. Everyone get some rest. Shinpyo Eungcheon was just as friendly. You all worked hard. After everyone had left, Kang Gujang glanced at him, cleared her throat, and then said, hey Kim Ho, you and I need to talk. Minyo immediately agreed. Sure. The two walked together on a quiet path. It was a while before Kang Gujang finally stammered. I'm sorry, I bragged too much, and ended up getting caught red-handed. Minyo clicked his tongue. Yeah, it was a little disappointing. She quickly explained, no, but honestly it was because Washington J handled it so well. Are you messing with me? He laughed and waved his hand dismissively. I don't mind. 1 demerit point. It's no big deal. Suddenly Kang Gujang's face scrunched up. Let me see your hand for a second. Minyo was confused about what was happening, but he let her do as she pleased. Staring intently at the burn on his hand, Kang Gujang made her judgment. Sungjae must have seen this. Minyo nodded. I thought so too. She asked in a gentle voice. Did you use Hell Fist a lot in the Black Sand room? He replied sheepishly. Actually, I made a bit of a mess. Kang Gujang stroked her chin, looking pensive. If this keeps up, we might get found out. The key is whether we can separate the Black Sand room's records, Minyo said sincerely. I would really appreciate it if you could use some of your influence in that matter. Hearing that, Kang Gujang let out a cold huff. Let's do that then. We didn't provide adequate service either. And if you get caught, we'll be in trouble too. But Kim Ho, there's something I want to ask. Why do you always do such reckless things? This question made Minho pause for a moment. A hint of confusion appeared in his eyes. He thought to himself, it's only been a month since I came here. In that time, I've broken quite a few academy rules, both big and small. And I haven't shied away from clashing with all sorts of factions. Maybe she's asking, what are you trying to achieve by doing all this? Thinking this, Minho replied, I've graduated from Dragon Slayer Academy over 200 times. Kang Gujang frowned in dissatisfaction. Stop joking. Be serious. He sighed and asked nonchalantly, during that time, do you think only good things happened? In my inexperienced days, more bad things happened than good. Things like people dying or getting injured. Kang Gujang, hearing this, became embarrassed and stammered. I'm sorry. I think I asked something I shouldn't have. Not knowing what to do next, Minyo continued speaking. I made a firm decision at that time. What belongs to me, I will never let anyone take away. Whether it's an object or a person. Kang Gujang looked at him inquisitively. Is that what you want? That goal is truly difficult. Minyo replied with determination. That's why I have to get stronger, until it becomes easy. After understanding the whole situation, Kang Gujang couldn't help but think to herself, it sounds far-fetched, but if that's the reason... Then she smiled faintly and said, all right, I like that. It's late, go get some rest. I'll see you on Monday. Minyo asked in confusion why Monday. Kang Gujang playfully stuck out her tongue and teased him. I'm not telling.